Welcome to the ESA Finals. We have waited for this day for a long, long time. Teams have been clashing out through weeks of group stage to just go for the playoffs, fight it out there, and here we are. The best of five final that we've all been waiting for is finally starting up. And obviously, I cannot really do this on my own. It would be a little bit too much of a task to ask for. So I got Arya as well as Pasta here with me to find this one out. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fine today. How are you doing, Uncle? Are you ready for this?
Oh, I'm absolutely ready, and a little sneak peek behind the scenes as well. We will have player stats for you with ratings and all of that. That's going to be my job throughout the stream. So, yeah, you get
That sounds
for
quite nice.
you, Ari, on the post map. You get a little bit more insight.
A little bit more, just to make my job a little bit easier. You have to try and make that job.
Right, let's directly dive into it because we don't want to waste any more time. We know we're a little bit late. So let's directly go into the bracket and take a look there on what actually happened. Because to be very honest, right, I was talking a little bit to Pasta and we had this kind of conversation where, hypothetically speaking, we could have had a rematch of last season's grand final. But we didn't get that.
No, we didn't. In fact, because obviously Entropy made it here, they're the previous season's champions, and we could have had MVG UK here as well. Unfortunately, Minions did beat them in the lower bracket final after losing to Entropy in the upper bracket final, so there's a lot of swipping and swapping of brackets there, but this is a rematch basically. Upper bracket final was a 2-0 to Entropy, and we get these teams here again.
Right. I mean, let's directly dive into it, Arya. I think most importantly, we have a team that is near undefeated in the form of Entropy, a team that is looking to make it back-to-back work. Give me a bit of your expectations of Entropy, considering what we should see today, out of them in the best of five.
Entropy should look very strong today, in my opinion. They're a very strat-heavy team. They rely mostly off, bringing the utility, bringing all that's needed for a setup. Whereas Minions, they kind of rely more on the gun skill side of things. They don't strat as heavy as what Entropy do. So this definitely could be a very interesting matchup, as I don't know if they're going to be able, if side Minions can deal with the amount of utility that Entropy will be bringing to them.
Right, I very much see it happening, and we're talking about Entropy, especially in that interview file we had. They're talking about how much they were methodical. They're trying to really approach it in a way that they stick to the core that they have with a few changes here and there. But then on the other side, Pasta, we have to say that Minions, they appear a bit more cocky in a good way. This kind of dry, classic British humor. What are your expectations for them regarding the best of five?
Well, to be honest, even though it was a 2-0 Entropy winning, it was 8-7 in overtime and then 7-5 max regulation. So it was still a very, very close series. Combined with the fact that, Minions went flawless in their group. And one of the players from that team that we saw really, really stepping up to the plate was Axie. But through the playoffs, he's been a little bit silent, a little bit in the background, but in that series versus MVG was again the MVP for the team. So hopefully Axie is just going to be, in that forefront yet again.
Oh, even a proper rhyme you chimed in there. Very good. I enjoy that. But going further into it, we don't want to really waste your time anymore. Let's actually jump into map bans because I think whatever predictions, who cares? Yeah, you have one favorite team.
Bank, Oregon, Villa, Cafe, and Theme Park. Those maps, honestly, for the kind of more strategical side of Entropy, those maps are somewhat of in a favorable position, especially Villa and Bank, being picked. But Oregon, is kind of, one of those maps. Uncooked, we always do say, is one of those maps that, you can kind of rinse and repeat. It's one of those, you can kind of frag on it. It's, the
Yeah.
utility isn't the highest on that map. So minions might have a kind of leg up in this one for Oregon. But in terms of the rest of the maps that have been picked, I think Entropy are looking quite good in this map pool.
Well, I mean, Theme Park is the obvious. It's a map that you don't really get to see, and with it being the decider and being one of the rarer maps in the pool, it just is that sort of perfect storm of just the climax of the game. Not to mention as well, we do have, at least we should have infinite overtime with this grand final, if I recall correctly. So potentially we can see, very long maps where these teams are battling it out. It doesn't have to just end at 8-7 like we saw in the upper bracket final. We do have that chance to get a little bit further on with things.
Right, and the graphic is doing its own little thing. Don't worry, I got you covered. Okay, so help me right here. Help me right here to be 100% sure right here. Please, Arya. What kind of maps are we seeing right now?
So at the minute, we are going to be looking at Bank, Oregon. And 1 second there now. My Discord is just lagging. So we have we have Bank, Oregon, Villa, Cafe, and Theme Park. Definitely a very interesting map pool, to say the least. It's very strategical heavy. Right. In terms of which doesn't exactly favor minions, who are more meant, to take the gunfights. They don't exactly bring the utility that, most other teams do typically like to bring. Yeah. So I think they might struggle a little bit. Oregon might be the only map there that, they can kind of just run and gun, and they don't exactly have to rely on that heavy utility gameplay.
Right. I mean, fair play. I've seen, most importantly, you talk about them not really favoring minions, and I saw them filling out in that cheat sheet, in a little interview file saying, you know what? If we don't have the strategical things, whatever. We're just going in, guns blazing. And you know what? I'm excited for that. And this is the great part where I can introduce you to two fine gentlemen who will be capable of running us through this game. Of course, it is the wonderful duo of Max and Chamberine. Please take us through that.
Hi! Thank you very much, everyone on the desk, for taking that through. And it was a little bit higgledy-piggledy, but that's just because we've had some issues with the graphic, but it is what it is. We'll fix that out, we'll iron it out, and we'll have it sorted for between the maps, and then we'll revisit things and whatnot. But we're ready to go. Everybody's in the lobby. We're excited. We're amped. It's exciting, but Max, isn't it?
It's going to be a great match. This is like the moment we've been looking forward so much, and the lobby should, the players are ready. We are ready for it. It's such a big day. And this is this moment we've been working towards for so long. And I'm very excited to finally do a BO5. It's the only thing we have specifically reserved for this grand final. And then there's also that unlimited overtime. I'm not sure whether others already talked about it, but unlimited overtime will be a thing. Yeah. It doesn't happen that often, but if it happens, it's going to be great.
Yeah, we're just waiting on the game to start. Of course, we have a little bit delay behind things, and we do apologise for that. It does happen. It's just a little bit of tech issues, but it wouldn't be a siege. Wouldn't be a siege stream if there wasn't a tech issue somewhere. But we'll get it sorted. We'll get it ironed out, and we'll get into the game just shortly. But we do have the prediction just below if you want to have a look at it. Of course, we have minions 41%, 59% in favour of Entropy. I'm not surprised at that now, Max. What about you?
I mean, I heard, especially during the season, that so many people were rooting for minions. But of course, like you're saying, Entropy, they're the grand finalists, the champion of the previous season, and they've just been together for so long. The roster barely changed. It's just mostly still those same people. And this gives me the idea that they're really a professional team who can really do big things. And of course, they have gotten this far. They are in the grand final. This is what was one of their targets. We did a little interview with some of the players, asking what they're expecting, and they expected to get this far. But the question is, will they actually pull it off again? Will they be the second team, or the first team to win two finals in total, or will Minions actually be stronger this time?
The thing is you know, obviously things were a little bit quicker on the desk there and whatnot, and you know, like I say, we'll come back to that after this map, and we'll, you know, look at things a little bit closer, and I think the desk will have a bit more to discuss. But the thing that, you know, is jumping out to me, and maybe we'll be a little bit biased, maybe we'll just a teeny tiny bit, and that is just because, of course, we do have a PlayStation versus the Xbox final. Of course, you do have Entropy trying to defend that title that they've already got, so there's a few storylines that are kind of set up to be grasped at least, and I'm hoping that, you know, we kind of get a good game from it. But the game has technically started in the background. It's just a case for us waiting up because the way the delays work and whatnot. So we know it's already started, but it's just a case of waiting for it to actually arrive in front of us, and then we'll get into the lobby. Of course, the first map is Bank, and the way the Bank plays, I'm happy to see it being first. I'm happy to see us getting a good map to start and not being like an Oregon or Club or what stuff. I don't know what your feelings are with that, Max.
Well, I think it mostly has to do with the fact that Entropy did get that first pick before anything was banned at all. And I think this is a great opportunity for a team to just pick up one of those maps that are getting banned by default so often. So if you have a map that you're good on, that you like to play, pick it first, because probably maps like Oregon, those will be in the pool for a bit longer. So that's a very good thing to indeed start with Bank, because the ban rate of Bank is quite high. It's one of the lesser played maps. The least played map at the moment is Border, but for now, yeah, we're going to see Banks. I'm very excited for that one, and we should be popping in anytime soon. But it will be a very cool one to start with. Indeed.
Yes, it certainly will. And, you know, of course, the fact that, you know, Bank is Entropy's pick as well, they'll have some deep strats, I imagine. They are a very strat-heavy team. That is generally how they play. I can hear the game ticking in the background as well, so it's a case of us getting into the game just now. It's about to start. Of course, we'll transition over to the game, and we'll get ready to go with the grand final of Season 5 ESA Cup. It is certainly Entropy versus Minions.
Yeah, it's time. We can finally start with this first map of today. It's Bank. We're just seeing it loading right here. It is Entropy as Team Blue starting as the attacking team, and Minions as Team Orange starting as the defending team. Operator bans are going to be popping in right here. And yeah, the first operator ban to come in right here is Nuk. Nuk, I mean, not too surprised to see her, to be honest. It's one of the most banned operators up to this moment. And I mean, yeah, she's just so good. It's not too surprising.
Yeah, I don't think there's any like deep strategy to actually discuss for that. It's just a very comfort ban that really for people at the moment. You know, it's very good. To be fair, Bank is one of the maps where you actually probably would benefit from a knock ban. You know, stops people from sneaking in that garage area and whatnot, that kind of stuff. But you know, not surprised to see it. What I am surprised to see though is an Ayana ban coming through. You know, again, very high presence currently in the meta is playing, so never a bad thing to ban.
Yeah, indeed, she's being played quite often. Only been banned 6 times in total during this season. So we didn't see these bans quite often. But she's just indeed, like you're saying, she's there quite often and just very strong. Can scout ahead very easily with her holograms and also have those nades and a great gun. And is then followed by Warden, operator that we're seeing being played more and more these days. Followed by the Azami, kind of like the architect operator. Sorry, excuse me, Solis. The most banned defender of this moment, the newest addition to the game, and yeah, I'm still saying it feels like a comfort ban. Teams not being comfortable to play against her as they're not very familiar with her yet. But at the same time, she is strong. I can agree on that. She's just IQ on defense, and that can be a big problem for the attacking team.
The thing is there's some maps where I think there is a merited ban, and Bank is one of them because of the way that lobby does play out. There's a lot of cams that can be hidden in there with the drones and whatnot, so it's really good to have the Solus ban there so that no one can kind of go on the hunt and get them shut down early on, because that's generally how it's played. You know, there's some maps where it's a little bit, you know, less relevant, like Silly Oregon and whatnot. There's maybe some slightly better bans that you could come up with, but it's never a bad ban, the Solus, I think. It's just, again, like you mentioned, it is very much a crutch ban at the moment just because of the way that, you know, she's new to the meta and, you know, people are still getting kind of used to playing around it and whatnot, and she can really change around because, of course, you know, if you lose all your drones early on, it's really a detriment to the rest of the round after that.
Yeah, there's those drones, but then also the many other bits of utility she could potentially find. Like, that's unfortunate that we do see her being banned so many times, that we do not get to see her that many times in action. Like even Brava, Brava is of course a new operator to the board. We even see her being picked way more over Solis, because Solis is just being banned so ridiculously often. It's just a bit unfortunate. I would have loved to see her get a bit more of a chance to at least enter the meta a bit more, but for now we won't see her again.
It's nice to see the Mira. I like seeing the Mira getting a lot of game time. She's banned quite often. Well, she used to be banned a lot more, of course, before her nerf and whatnot. So I like to see the Mira getting played, and you know, they'll be really creative with it on this map and stuff like that. So I like to see it coming through, and we'll see what they come up with. Another interesting thing to point out is that the Valk is up as well. So because they've decided obviously to ban away the Warden and the Solus, it leaves open Valk, especially on a map like Bank. That's a massive operator to have available to you.
Yeah, right. And as meanwhile, the attackers are trying to make their first way in. One of their priorities is going to be to take that top floor. From the top floor, the majority of the ceiling of the floor is breachable. By having the Buck playing there, he can just make so many verticals and make it so incredibly difficult for the defending team to play downstairs. I'm even surprised that we don't see any defender presence upstairs here, really, because at the same time, in the hands of the defenders, this top floor can be extremely strong to just hold down the attackers from above. In this case, it's just being given towards the attackers, and they're just making so much use of it. Blame already getting a bit of trouble, even though he's trying to fight back, but those verticals are going to make it very difficult for them to hold on to these positions.
Yeah, we never talked about the actual site. Of course, the site is open area. That's where they've decided to go through first, which is quite a peculiar choice to start with, but it is what it is. Some teams like to go for these kind of off-sites and the tertiary options to start with. And so a minute and 30 seconds left on the clock, and that's them just getting enough control to do the vertical. So I don't know how much time this is going to be, how good this is going to be in the time management for Entropy, though. And speaking of Entropy, they're able to get the first opening pick of the map. That is Vasi to find Prison, but there's an immediate refrag. It's UK drop, courtesy of Elazard on the main staircase, and now it's a 4 versus 4 scenario, but Brisk is about to get himself in a little bit of a gunfight inside the Tellers as Vasi sneaks round the back towards the Tellers side of things in that main lobby area, and Axie just going in for the swing, doesn't quite land the shots. Double kill for Brisk on the other side of things. 3-3 as the trades come back and forward. A minute left on the clock, and now things are starting to get spicy, Max.
Things are getting spicy. Only 3 people alive on each team with 45 seconds and ticking, and the time is just going on. Actually, first attackers are making their way inside of the bomb site as we speak. They're just getting ready to to establish the right bit of control to actually go for the execute here, and especially as Anti gets a kill on Alex. This is the call for Koala to go for the defuse. He has perfect control. He can easily put the diffuser down, and as the timer goes on, he gets it down. It's now a post-play situation for 2 defenders left alive. Finds the first, Blame with a kill there on Vessi, and now it's a 2 versus 2. It's an equal man count, but the timer is now working in the disadvantage for the defending team. They need to be very careful with their actions, because it can be over very soon from here.
Still has the C4 in hand and just rips it, but it's not enough to get them an opportunity to get the kill, as NT is able to get the kill onto Brisk. And there's a 2 versus 1 as Elazard is left with it all to do on side, but it's actually Koala who gets the final shot as Elazard deals with that. Now, that's first round on the board for the attacking side of Entropy.
Yeah, that's indeed the first round going to Entropy, something you could kind of expect, as this they picked this map for a very good reason. I can imagine a lot of thought has been gone behind this, because they have known for a few days about the ban format they have decided to take, that it was available to them. And of course, you're gonna pick a map that you're very comfortable on, that you have a feeling that you can make a very good opening for this first map of the day. So not too surprised there. Of course, their opponent Minions did get the side of the starting sides to be playing on, and they picked the defense. But at least Entropy seems to be very capable on attacking this map, and I'm very curious to see how the remainder of this map will go.
Yeah, I mean, Entropy are a unit. They've been together for quite some time, and they tend to play off of one another really, really well. And we've seen that time and time again. And the Bank is that type of map that does require quite a bit of team play, and that's exactly what we'll see from, I imagine, on this side of things.
No. Okay. Meanwhile, the attackers are just trying to get some offensive. Defenders are setting up their defense for this second round of the day. Echo's being brought along, which is an interesting one to see. We do tend to see him quite often on this bomb set like these, but especially towards the later bit of the rounds, we will see him in action a bit more.
Apologies for that brief bit of silence there. We were just catching up and making sure that we were in sync there. Apologies if our voices were ever so slightly ahead of the action. It does sometimes happen. It's just a case of the clean feed working out, but we're now all synced together. But I believe we can now make sure we're all on the same page. So again, apologies for that sleep at tech issues. Again, we've had a few issues starting things up, but we are now sorted and ready to go. NT with the entry here on the Amaru, of course, and just going for that main stairs push, trying to come down to try and put some pressure to the bottom area, of course, and very quickly into the map. Of course, that is the way that it usually works with the Amaru. Into the map as soon as possible. And now the drones will come out from Hassie just to try and find any information towards the archive side, which there is quite a lot to be found inside of that open area. As Enti is poised to take this gunfight onto the player inside of open area, but it's just a little bit of a Mexican standoff as they kind of go back and forward here. And now the Echo Drone will come out to put some pressure onto Enti, who opts to retreat up the staircase, but the perspective will betray them and they'll take a little bit of damage to their foot there. 5 versus 4 as Hachi is able to get the kill onto Elazard, and now that brings us into a situation that favours that attacking side of things on Entropy. Axie knows that there's a player close by next to the beepers area and is just waiting for the swing and the push to come through.
Yeah, with finally everything synced, I'm here back as well. It's now 5 versus 4 situation, with just the first defender losing his life within that first bit of the round. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. It's a 5 versus 4. Alex getting a bit of trouble, but also Liaxel currently playing here in the open area, trying to find someone to wear towards Detailer's area, where Hachi then gets a kill on Blame. There's a lot of damage there being done on the defensive side. Both Axie and Alex are very low HP, and to get the kill on Axie, it's a 5 versus 2, with only Alex and Prison alive. The Mute and the Echo in this very difficult position. 1 minute and 10 seconds on the clock. Plenty of time for the attacking team to get further information, to open walls, to open hatches, deal with bits of utility, and it's going to be a very difficult run for these 2 remaining defenders.
It's been a little uncharacteristic from Minions so far. They're usually hyper-aggressive and swinging as much as possible, but currently they've just been a little bit passive and inviting the pressure on from Entropy, and Entropy just seem to be that little bit better. They're not as lethargic as what we're seeing from the side of... I apologise here. From the side of Minions there. That's just an issue in the background of my side of things, but it's sorted. It's all good. But in terms of the actual game now, of course, 30 seconds left on the clock, and it's a 2 versus 5, and it looks as though it's a 1 versus 5 now as Vasi pops down the staircase, gets the kill onto Alex, and now it's left all the way to Prison. But Hachi is able to get the final kill on the board, and that is a second round going towards Entropy.
Yeah, it's a dream for Entropy to start off like this, very dominant these first 2 rounds, how they've been able to beat Minions. So I can imagine that Entropy is very happy with the position they are in at the moment. And of course, winning those 2 rounds is just a good start. It really boosts their momentum and boosts their morale. And it's going to be very good for them for the remainder of these rounds. For this third round, we're going back to the same bomb site that we just saw. That's Locker CCTV. It's just Minions. It's going there for a second attempt. Just going to try to do things a little bit better. Maybe some little adjustments, different picks. And hopefully they will be a bit better that round.
Yeah, retrying things, just seeing if they can change things around. Pretty much the same operator lineup on both sides, so I think that's, you know, it's kind of an issue with there. They've maybe identified that they just played slightly wrong. I like to see people, you know, just changing things around them and things, and we'll probably see a slightly different hold come out from the side of Minions when it comes to this things. And we do have the castle as well, just to slow things down a little bit, because Entropy were very quick into the map to make sure that they took as much map control as soon as possible. Of course, they do have that Amaru again in the hands. Venti was so crucial in taking the top floor so quick the last time.
Yeah, with this third round now approaching, the defenders are just rounding up their defense, the preparation for this round. And yeah, if you just manage to stay a bit alive longer, of course, very early on, it was already 5 versus 2 situation with the two remaining defenders very low on HP. If they can just manage to stay alive a bit longer and also save some of the HP, they will be going into much fairer gunfights, and will just be able to waste so much time on the attacking team, which will make it more difficult for the attacking team to get the proper control and go for an execute. And hopefully this time Minions will have a bit of a better chance here. There could be Logical already coming out very early, maybe just to find a bit of information, maybe any defender just hiding around of one of those places where the attackers are now entering towards the top floor. But for now, I don't think it will be too useful yet. Of course, also the cameras cannot be viewed during this moment, so that might also be one of the reasons why they do such kind of Logicals at this moment. But for now, there's not too much happening yet.
Yeah, a little bit quiet as the top floor is now taken, at least for Entropy. They're pretty quick usually to get this control, but there isn't really anything from the defense on the top floor. That, you know, they popped out a couple of Mozzie Pests just to show that there is some presence there. It's almost a ghost roam. They're just showing that, yeah, there might be someone up there. You're going to have to take the time to actually check, and that's exactly what they're doing. Though C4 goes out from Elazard and gets the first kill and the first entry for the side of Minions, and that is going to at least be something, you know, semblance of a momentum pusher for them to go through the rest of this round, and hopefully they can get this first round on the board for them.
Yeah, also the fact that it's Jekyll who has been taken off the board means that the defenders will have a bit more roaming space, a bit more freedom to just walk around being without getting tracked the whole time. Because of course Jekyll can just easily pinpoint where the defenders are playing, and just with him don't need to worry about him any further. Personally, with a kill there on Yuki, that's another Entropy member of the board. This time it's the Ying, one of the operations you just want to have on the board towards the remainder, the end of the round, as he will of course throw her Ying Candela. So just exhort the defenders so much, flash them, stun them, and just make him able to just create so much chaos. And with her off the board, again, that's going to be more easy for the minions here. 3 versus 5, 1 minute and 5 seconds on the clock. Things finally seem to be going the way of minions.
Yeah, Vasi just trying to get that long angle in towards open area, waiting for the peak to come, but they're being patient here, minions, and this is what I'm saying, they're playing a little bit uncharacteristic. Generally, they like to swing things and get aggressive, and speaking of aggression, Alex gets right into the face of Enti and gets that kill and brings it to 2 versus 5 situation, with Vasi and Koala left with everything inside of this round. They're the ones that have to try and put it on their shoulders and get the win here for Entropy, but I think this looks like it could be shaping up for the first round on the board from minions. The swing comes from behind inside of open area, a second one, but it does get the kill. Alex with a double on the round, and now we're down to a 1 versus 4 situation. Vasi left with it all we do on side for Entropy.
Yeah, Vasi's position likely known as he just shots in the direction of some of his opponents. So his position is known. You see various shots pointing in his direction. He actually managed to find one. That's the castle of the board, but it's still 1 versus 3. 15 seconds on the clock right now. Just very little time for him to clutch this out. Even getting stunned by the Echo Drone, as things are already not bad enough for him. And this is going to be very difficult. He doesn't have the defuse on hands. Defenders are all over the place, just completely surrounding him. And as Alex then gets the final kill there on Vasi, this round is going to minions, and the score gets put on 2-1.
Yeah, minions, they finally get that round on the board and they get started on bank. So that's good. It's, you know, the first round is one of the hardest ones to win, and make sure that they get that done. They've at least got themselves on the map and on the board, and that will, you know, they'll wipe some sweat from their brow. They'll, you know, they'll feel a little bit better with themselves, and then they can start to kind of claw this back a little bit and see if they can get a couple more rounds. But the first round, definitely the hardest one to get. You know, as the rounds tend to tick on, it tends to get harder and harder and harder, but at least got it done now. We're going to see an open area defense this time. Not even interested in going for the top floor at any point at all.
Yeah, indeed, the top floor is one of those bomb sites that you often see being picked as one of the first ones, so that's indeed an interesting thing to point out. So far, open area seeming very popular here for the members of Minions. They have attempted it once before, they're just going to do it for the second time as well. I mean, if we will follow the same trend as what we saw on the basement bomb site, they could potentially win this one as well, turn things into 2-2, because also the bottom basement bomb site also took 2 attempts in total before them winning any. And yeah, this could just be their round as well. So this could become a 2-2 very soon. We'll just see how things goes, how they set up their bomb site, and then eventually how Entropy goes for their attack.
It's a very similar setup on the top floor. You've seen the Mozzie Pest going up there, and again, it's, you know, this kind of ghost roam that I mentioned in the last one, where they don't really put too much effort into holding the top floor. They just pop a couple pieces of utility just to, you know, warn Entropy they're going to be around that area. Even though they're not, they're actually going to, you know, they all play there now, of course, because they're playing one of those middle sites. You know, they don't have to have, you know, as much of a hold across the full map. It is only the 1 floor difference this time, instead of being on that bottom floor. But again, they don't really want to actively hold it as much. They tend to sit around the staircase and just wait for the opportunity for, you know, maybe to send a couple of pop shots out, and then they'll drop. Usually that's generally how they're playing it, except from Elazard, of course, making me eat my words, getting right up onto a window to try and catch anyone on this rappel, and I think he's going to go out and get it, but he doesn't really realise he's on the other window, and he gets the kill. Elazard just doesn't realise that they've been able to move across using the rappel there. Oh my word. First kill on the board for Entropy.
Yeah, next one might be Liaxa. The Capcan was playing on top of the wild stairs as I'm talking about. He does get taken out by Hachi. That's one more defender of the board. It's the 5 versus 3 in the advantage of Entropy. Entropy seems to be reclaiming their momentum that they just lost for the previous round, and they're back in a very good position. In the lead with a 5-3 with 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock. Just plenty of time for them to get further control, to open those soft walls, to breach those ceilings. You just need to be careful for the pre-play T4 of Blame, but for now there's not much to worry about, as every single defender is playing on the bomb site or near it, and therefore they do have a proper opportunity here to put some pressure from above.
Yeah, this is what I mentioned. The minions tend to just be a bit more aggressive. Usually, that's their playstyle. But today they're being a little bit, you know, reserved. And maybe that is just because they're starting on the defense. Maybe that is the case of it. You know, this of course is Entropy's map pick, so you need to take that into consideration. It is one of the kind of off-standard picks as well. We know that we see Bank quite often, but we don't see it as often as maybe we see the Oregon and Clubhouse and whatnot. So that's maybe what is kind of feeding into the situation that we currently see in front of us. But speaking of a situation, Brisk finds himself in one, taking quite a bit of damage from a vertical plane. Eventually is killed off from Hachi, who's stuck in from behind is going to try and get themselves into the boards. Archives, but Alex Northe has at least 1 kill back to get onto UK, and now it's a 2 versus 4 scenario, but Prison's HB just is not in the greatest situation for them.
No, it's certainly not working out well. The Castle's not having the best gun in the game, so having any gunfights, winning those will be very difficult, and especially as his teammate loses his life as well. That's Alex Norby off the board, and just Hachi would have got a kill there, and just Prison here all alone, playing on the white stairs, getting fouled by Anti, getting taken out, and it's a round again going to Entropy. Great teamwork. I want to point out there by Entropy how the Buck was putting so much pressure from above, making it very difficult for the Valkyrie to play on tethers, and just the IQ just coming from the square skylight area, just trying to shut down any rotation, falling back to the bomb site, not allowing that, and taking out that Valkyrie. So beautiful play there from Entropy.
Yeah, Entropy have looked strong the entire time. They look great in terms of their attacks. They're really playing fluidly together. They're making sure that they shut down any roam game that there is. And the thing is, for me though, I think I need to see Minions just go back to some basics. And they're going to go to that top floor, and I want to see them just bring things like like the castle, like they've got, like the echo, and just pop the shields in the places that standard areas, and just see if they can really put a lock into any of these anchor positions, and just make sure that they're holding on to these things and not giving up too much. And I know that they want to get aggressive, I know they want to get in the faces of Entropy, but it's just not been working so far. So I want them to just tick some boxes and go back to the basics, I think.
Yeah, it's also cool. Maybe your viewers are noticing that sometimes some pop-ups are coming up on the stream, just giving some cool fun facts from people behind the scenes at the moment. Just sharing some cool information about these two teams, about previous matches. So it's a very fun thing that we can actually have those on stream as well. So thank you, Epsilon, for our producer who's making those possible.
Yeah, that's always nice to have. I feel a little bit of extra lore behind the teams, of course, and whatnot. And like I mentioned that in a tweet earlier, that there's quite a lot of storylines to be found here, and the desk will cover off most of them anyway. The main one for me is that it's a PlayStation versus Xbox final. It's the first time that it's been cross-play for ESA, so it's nice to see an Xbox team get all the way here, because they're one of the only Xbox teams, and it was great to see them get all the way to the final. I know it would have been nice to have a rematch from last year's final, but at the same time, we've got something new, we've got something fresh, and it's good to see, and it's good to see that kind of expansion into the cross-play and using it to our advantage has meant that we've been able to see some talent that we haven't actually seen in ESA before.
That's something we haven't seen it before at all, and right now the round has been starting. We do already see the first attackers getting a bit of control, taking control. 0 cams being placed in smart locations just to find and gather enough information on where the defenders are playing. And Lazard also being hunted by the drones, just trying to get information on him as well. And anytime soon we'll see attackers making further control. They're already at ATMs, and soon they will likely start getting control over the stairs all the way up to Banana, from where they will try to put further control and more pressure onto the bomb site itself. Also, Anthony already repelling on the windows, not being contested whatsoever. You would expect at least some shots being pointed in this direction, but the Anti's just repelling there and staying alive and just getting information.
I do like the pick of the 0. I like that. Hachi there takes the head of Axie off and completely decapitates him as he just pushed into that doorway. Tellers is certainly their grotto. They want to be safe and secure behind that Azami barricade, but the pinch comes from behind this time. Yuki is trying to shut down anyone inside of Tellers, but didn't actually realise the player's still in there. He's got the kill onto Elazar, but doesn't realise that Axie's still lingering around the archives and Tellers area, and he's going to rotate himself out towards the other side of things. Vasi takes a peppering of damage from above as well, and now Yuki trying to get the pinch from the other side in open area, and it looks as though they're going to eventually shut down this Valk. Axie just doesn't have anywhere to go. There's so much pinch potential coming through from here.
Yeah, that's just a passive for the 1 minute mark. The time is ticking, and literally Axel just going for the flank from behind, finding Vessi, who's completely unaware about the position of this Valkyrie. There's 1 attacker down. There's a 3 versus 5 for Minions taking the lead or taking the advantage in terms of man count right here. And especially since the timer is just ticking on, there's 40 seconds remaining. The time works in the advantage of the defending team. And then another kill there coming on Yuki. And another one from Blaine on Koala. It's just Anti all alone, repelling in, finding 2 players actually. Alex and Prison both taken out, but then Blaine with the final kill on Anti, winning the round for the team. And that's just another defensive win here, putting the score on how many out? 3-2?
Yes, 3-2, and compliments to Axie there. Beautifully played inside of Archives and Tellers. Really used the map to their advantage, even though they were getting pinched from every which way. It was the communication was lacking there from Entropy. We spoke about their communication and their fluidity, the first couple of rounds at the map, and they've looked good. That was just an example of it, where they kind of maybe got caught in the comms a little bit there. Didn't make the call out. Kind of lost where Axie actually was moving around, and he was able to rotate through, got himself in towards that lobby area, and got the kill on towards 0. And then it was just essentially snowball effect from there. Triple kill on the round, and then they take the round out from under them. So really good round, specifically from Axie there. That's what they needed. They needed someone to kind of take control of one of those rounds and really try and build momentum from the team.
Yeah, and as we're now proceeding to the final defensive round here for Team Minions, this is the final round that they can play as a defending team, because after this round, the roles will swap and they will be playing as the attacking team. They will be going towards the basement bomb side, one they have played 2 times before. They won it once, they lost it once, so this will be the third. And, well, I mean, ideally, they picked the starting side. They decided to go as a defending team here, so it will be ideal for them to at least win one more round to turn things into 3-2. Sorry, 3-3, but at the same time, Entropy, they picked this map, so 4-2 will be very desirable for them as well. But just to see how this thing goes.
I'm quite surprised at that, from that taking that side. Minions are known for being a bit aggressive, and of course Bank is known for being a bit more attacker-sided, so quite surprised that they didn't go for that attacker side. Maybe just one of those ones where you just want to try and get the rounds on the board, because you can usually do that with the defense. You know, it doesn't matter which map it is, you can usually try and collect something here. But look at Elazar, just lingering on the top floor inside the conference room, knows that there's someone going to be coming from that window. And it's interestingly enough, it's an Amaru on Repel, which is definitely a peculiar choice, since he'd not want to use that Gara hook as of yet, just because on the Repel I'm going to hold it. But they seem to know someone's lingering on that top floor, and I think that Elazar could not be long for this world.
Yeah, it will be very risky for Ant to just hop into building using his launcher, as there's just 2 defenders currently playing up there, so he needs to be very careful. Meanwhile, likely his team is gathering information with the drones, and also Hachi just getting ready to cut off any defenders to fall back. There's Liaxo gets a double kill. He gets Vessi and Anti off the board. That's the Amaru and the Dokkaebi losing their lives. And this is a very good start for Minions here. 3 versus 5, excuse me. But Hachi still playing here on top, just trying to find Elazar, but nothing happening so far yet.
Axie firmly has this game by the scruff of the neck the last couple of rounds, really wanting to build momentum from the rest of the team, and it's been able to get quite a few kills on that scoreboard, and it's been a great performance from them. They're still on the top floor. Entropy just can't deal with that at all. Hachi has been joining up with his teammate on the other side of things, trying to find Axie and trying to close them down, but they just can't seem to move, and Entropy are just backs against the walls just now. They don't really know what to do, and it's a little bit of a stalemate. Yuki, though, is going to get aggressive in towards open area, drops those Candelas in to try and find anyone, but there's no one down in that area, but eventually just spots someone in the cafe side of things. That is Brisk dropped out of the round. The castle is dead and buried, and now it's a 4 versus 3 situation, still in favour of Minions.
Yeah, still in favour of Minions. However, there's still the 2 floors don't available, and the last Nico was just being used. Flashbang's coming out, and actually going for drop Koala, just going for entering the bomb site, finding Prison. There's Yuki with the kill there on Prison. It's a 3 versus 3, but Hachi is just watching the flank, finds Liaxo, who's trying to go for a flank there, and Koala meanwhile trying to get the Fusel down in the 3 versus 2 position. Yuki with the kill on Lazard, and it's just Alex all left alone. I'm not even sure whether the Fusel went down in the end, but it doesn't matter. That's the last defender losing his life, and therefore this round is going to Entropy with a 4-2 score.
That just shows the experience there from Entropy. They realised that Axie was on that top floor. They realised that they weren't going to win that gunfight. They didn't want to give him the 1v1s, and they just thought, you know what, we're going to bypass you. We're just going to, counter blessings and hop through these hatches and just pray that you don't come for the flank yet. And that's exactly what they did. They were able to take the site control without even entertaining the gunfight with Axie. They did that. They didn't have the man advantage. It was really successfully done. Of course, Axie then makes the flank, and they're ready for it. Tries to get through the rotate, gets the kill. It's beautifully done, and a great round there from Entropy to steal that out from what should have been really Minions' round, let's be honest.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I'm getting a bit scared here for Minions, because what does this mean for the second round? Like, there's a good chance that they're just doing very well on attack as well. They're very capable on attacking on a map such as Bank. But yeah, just losing your preferred side, that doesn't mean too much good. Like, losing it can also have heavy impact on your morale within the team. I can imagine some of the players are not feeling too happy about their about the performance for this first half. But hopefully they can get things back together and work things around to actually also win some rounds in the attack as well.
The thing is, of course, this is followed by Oregon, which is in Minions pick, and then we've also got Villa right after that. So it's 2 of the most common maps that we see in the map pool, or throughout the regulation season that's going to be coming up next. Anyway, so not going to be too worried for them if they lose this map, especially with it being Entropy's pick. I feel like Entropy were just comfortable on Bank. They know they're a good Bank team, and that's exactly what they're going to do. I would be very surprised if Minions even get a couple more rounds on this. I think that Entropy will really shore up the site, and it looks as though they are going to do that. They do have the Tachanka coming alongside. There's no one really out on the roam, and I think that they're going to just play for that full turtle strat. And again, the thing is with Bank, big map, so you have to go for the clear from the top floor. 3 floors, of course, you need to go through the entire thing regardless of how they play, so it wastes its own time just with the design of the map, and they're a minute gone on pretty much already before they've even got to that middle floor.
Yeah, I think his size bank is one of the biggest maps we have in the game, if not the biggest. I'm not entirely sure about that trivia, but it's getting close to the top level. So yeah, just clearing this map can be so extremely time consuming. Like earlier we did see the Jackal, it could very much be useful for teams to bring along, as you can easily check certain staircases to see if any footprints were placed there at all. Because if there's none, then it's very likely that there's no defender on the roam, unless there's a Kavira, but those chances are fairly slim. But for those you got drones, and then you can easily still find her. So bringing him aboard would help them very much. But in the meantime, those drones are doing the job as well. So they're getting the first bit of control, just getting close to those staircases, hatches, and walls they want to open up. From there, they can put the first bit of pressure.
Yeah, Entropy are going to be playing off of the utility that they have. They've got quite a lot of that time wasting and denial utility with them. They've got the Echo, they've got the Tachanka, and of course the Goyo as well. That'll waste quite a bit of time, and they have the C4s as well to back things up, and they do send that out early. Elizabeth takes a little bit of damage off it, but nothing that's going to be too concerning yet. Of course, 50 HP, but this, your Ash player, they don't really care about their HP anyway. They just want to take a gunfight no matter what, and that's generally how players tend to play it. Koala sending out those Shumaka launcher charges, if you want to call them that, and just making sure that they can prevent anyone from pushing into that server point just yet. And I think that they're really stalling out here, Minions, as they try to open up these hatches using that Mav.
Maverick is not the most effective one to open up hatches. Like Hibana would be a more preferred choice, and usually do see her Bendament up by bank, but this time she's not, so she could easily be picked, but they decided to not bring her. Meanwhile, Yuki just going for the first kill on Prison. Another player just dropped the elevator, I believe it's the Ash. Yes, it is Ash, but that one gets found by Anti. Anti getting a kill on Elazar, bringing things to 5 versus 3, but as we speak, it's Anti getting injured. He seems to be in a very safe position at the moment, but as Haji also gets injured, things get very dangerous for HP here.
2 versus 2 situation, and it looks as though it's going to drop to 2 versus 1 as Axie again is going to get himself another triple kill inside of this round, and Yuki now left in a 1 versus 2 scenario wants to take the gunfight, and Alex Norte comes out on top. That's a round on the board for the attacking side of Minions, and it looks as though they are creeping up behind Entropy and the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's Minions finally winning another round. I mean, that's something they really need after going with a 4-2 split, 4-2 into these splits when we pass the 6th round. So it's a good thing for them to at least win attacking rounds as well. The defense didn't go too well for them. They got only 2 points out of 6 they could potentially get. But it's a good thing to see that they can also do well on the attack. So it's a 4-3. Things are getting a bit closer. We could easily see things become a 4-4 score. But it's just the members of Entropy just going for the same bomb sites, just like Minions did in the previous half. Just going to redo it, just try to improve, do things better. And hopefully they can also win this bomb site eventually.
Not a single change from the side of Entropy. They want to go for pretty much the exact same lineup, and I think they're just going to try and, they probably likely know where they went wrong in that last one. Whether it was a gunfight, whether it was just a position, disadvantage and whatnot. And the thing is, for me, is what I'm kind of missing out, and actually this happened yesterday as well with the Talent League finals, is that people aren't quite using the Echo. Like, they had the Echo drone available there. UK instead opts to take the gunfight, and this is kind of a reminder of the meta that we're in. The fact that we're in that kind of TDM and aggressive style meta where players will tend to take the gunfight when maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they could play that utility. UK had the opportunity there, and I think it was almost like, you forget what operator you're actually using. You have the Echo drones to waste the time and whatnot, and there was only 30 seconds left or whatnot, so they had the time to drop onto those Echo drones and use them. Hoping to see some more out this time though.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have the Echo drones for intel, then there's better operators. Valkyrie would have, of course, been an excellent pick instead. So it will be good indeed to see some Echo action happening. The defenders just rounding up their defensive setup. Meanwhile, the attackers already just trying to get the first bit of control. Here, Zero already hopping into building this blame, but Anti already getting the first kill, but also getting traded immediately. That's Eliaxil with a kill there on Anti. It's a 4 versus 4, and it's just 2 attackers already, 2 players already very quickly off the board. The Jackal versus the Goyo. I can tell which one is the worst one to lose in this case.
Yeah, actually really putting in a performance so far on this map. Just being able to be in the right place at the right time, win out their trades, and of course they're going to use that Decay there just to make sure they can snatch those cams from the defenders and utilise them for their advantage. We'll likely see that come into play later on in the round. Still 2 minutes left though, and we're in a 4 versus 4 situation, and of course we're just going to have a little bit of a stale part of the round where both teams kind of try to figure each other out after that. After losing a member each, they kind of try to suss each other out and figure out where they really want to go from here and see what kind of setup they're going to come from. Of course, last time we seen drops through the hatches, we didn't really see any pushes from the CCTV side, so I would likely think that we'll see that again just because it will work for them, so wouldn't be surprised if they go for some of these hatches drop.
Yeah, the hatches now being opened there by Blame, having those secondary hard breaching utility. Therefore, they don't even need to bring a single really dedicated hard breacher. Just having the Maverick as a little backup there, as he's like fairly slow and not too effective on opening hatches. But at least you still have him as a backup, and luckily the Zero is very effective when using his utility there. So this way, the hatches are being opened up. Soon, the final hatches will be opened up to give the attackers more entry points, more lines of sight towards the defenders playing right below them. And with the 1 minute mark approaching any second here, it's things are about to go down very soon.
Yeah, I think we're going to reach the spicy point of the round in just a few seconds. I'm quite surprised that they keep bringing that Maverick, you know, especially when the fact that Habana's open and there's no Cade being played. So it's definitely a choice. I think it would be a little bit easier just to bring that Habana. Maybe it's just a comfort thing and they prefer to play the Maverick. Maybe they just want to make sure they have some, you know, I'm not even 100% sure. I was going to go into the segue of maybe they want to bring nades, but of course we're long past that. You know, we don't have that on Mav anymore, and it looks as though this is now reaching that spicy point of the round as Vasi gets the kill onto Elazar, drops it to a 4 versus 3 situation in favour of Entropy. Sends out the C4, doesn't land anything, and then deals with the drone, and now it's a case of holding on to whichever angle they can find. Goes prone here, Alex Northey, that can't quite find shot, sends out the flashbang, but it won't go off in time as Yuki on the other side of things kills off Brisk, and it leaves Axie in a 1 versus 4 situation. Finds one, can't find the second, as Hatch is able to swing it out and gets the kill. It's actually Koala that finishes it off at the same time now, and that is another round on the board for Entropy.
Entropy is also doing very well on their defense as well. I mean, they didn't get to pick the starting side, so I'm also not sure what they've decided for a potential overtime side. Could very much be defense. But so far, being on a 5-3 is a very good score for them to be on. Of course, 1 round to go, and they will be on the map points, and 2 to go to actually win this map. But only their opponent is only 2 rounds behind, so they need to be very careful as well, because they could easily be caught up, and it could be easily turned into an equal 5-5 score from here.
Could certainly come back at any point, but you know, I'm still thinking the Entropy are going to edge this just because of the way their setups tend to be. Entropy are a bit more of a defender-sided team just because they tend to have quite a deep strat book. They're known for that. They're known for really scrimming and, you know, really bringing out the strats and having quite a lot of range when it comes to the operators that they can play. And, you know, that's given by just their composition for this one. You've got the Azami, they've got the Frost, Castle, Mute, and the Wamai as well. So there's quite an array of operators that they're going to be bringing. And I think that that'll make for an interesting kind of round. And, you know, I mentioned in the last round that I was surprised you hadn't seen the Habana and it'd be the Mav. And, of course, Alex has heard me through the ether and is going to bring that Habana.
The reason they bring Habana, of course, is some walls you can really breach easily from a long distance. Hibana is one of those who can do those. The Ace will be another one. Hibana is also often picked on this map just for the hatches, as Hibana is just like the most effective for hatches. Hatch to be breached. Of course, on this bomb site, there's no hatch to be breached, so that's not the reason which she's brought. It's just mainly for those the long reach that she has with her utility. So it's a good thing to see. And it's likely one of those walls that we will be seeing open is the elevator hall where currently the Wamai is playing behind.
Yeah, bringing that IQ, I like to see it. I like the IQ being on board here, and that'll make sure they can try and find any utility could be around this map and dotted around the place. They don't have much that you would really need it for, that being said. You know, there's no Valk cams or anything like that, and of course, it's maybe just the ever-looming presence of the fact that Valk is actually open that they're bringing the IQ. I like also the usage here of the zero cam, just make sure they have as much intel as possible while they push up that banana side of things. And Alex attempted to open this wall but can't quite get it because of the mute jammer on it, so Yuki's still safe and, you know, not really concerned with the positions there inside of elevator.
Even Yuki getting a kill here on Axie. That's the first attacker being taken out is the Dokkaebi of the board. It's a 5 versus 4 now. Attackers will certainly start struggling soon. I believe I'm even seeing someone repel from the skylight. Did I just see that for one moment? I'm not entirely sure. But with 1 minute and 35 seconds on the clock, it will be a good time for the attackers to start putting up some pressure. We do see some of the attackers being inside of lobby, right below the balcony here. And it's the Jackal who's going to be the first to just walk up these stairs, just try to find any defender, but needs to be very careful because he's surrounded. There's lines of sight from every single direction, and it will be very difficult to establish any control here.
It's an absolutely horrifying challenge that to push up that staircase. There's just so many angles that you have to try and cover. It's not really good. The perspective doesn't favour you either. They can slightly see you just before you get up. Elazar finds Koala. Enti with another one on the other side. Immediately trades that out. Gets Elazar as well. 4 versus 2 here. 3 versus 2 is Prison. Pops up the staircase to find Hachi. And it's still in favour of Entropy for now. And now it's down to a 1 versus 3. But Yuki knows exactly where Alex is and gets the kill. That was another round on the board for Entropy, who looked to take us on to map point.
Yeah, Entropy doing very well on just making sure that every single entry point is just being watched. Like every single point where the attackers could potentially come from was being watched, or or attackers could easily reposition themselves to watch any of the stairs they could come from. So very well positioning, a very good teamwork there on the side of Entropy, and just not allowing the members of Minions to just get onto the top floor, just not allowing them at all. Very well played by Entropy there.
Yeah, it really was, and I think this is indicative of their map and the fact that they took us to bank. I'm not surprised to see it going this way so far. They are a very good defender-sided team. They got enough rounds on the board on their attacker side to really kind of shore things up on this side of things, and I suspect that this map will likely be closed out pretty straightforward for them. And again, I don't think that Minions will be too concerned with it. That's the thing for me. It's bank. It's a surprising first map to go to, considering the kind of state of Siege. Generally, we see people go to that Oregon or the Clubhouse thing. So I think this maybe probably caught them out, or caught them off guard and whatnot. So not surprised that it's going to go this way, or well, it could go this way. Of course, Minions could come back at any time, but we never know. And again, not surprised. Don't think they'd be too concerned if they lose it. It's only really when they get to that Oregon, and if they lose that, that's where the concern would come, I think.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like, if they would lose the Oregon, it would be a 2-0 score for Entropy. But if you just think back about the previous seasons of ESA, and then talking about season 3 and 4, I believe both of those finals actually started out with a 2-0 score in terms of map points, and then the other team winning 3 maps in a row to just completely bring things around. So even then, there's still opportunities. But yeah, ideally, Minions will win the following map.
And he's going to hop out a window, but doesn't even get the chance to do it, as Alex kills them off before they can get close enough to go outside. Brisk is going to find one onto Hatchie now, and it looks as though we have at least a little bit of a bite back here for the side of Minions, who are able to deal with 2 of those members on that roam for Entropy, and at least get them into a position where they can begin this vertical play and start opening up a lot of those floorboards using that buck, and make sure that they can create those angles and start to put pressure down onto the site and down towards the archive side.
Yeah, within 35 seconds, the attackers are here, able to establish control over this top floor, just going like absolute ham with the on-the-barrel shotgun on the buck, making it extremely difficult to play on side. But I believe as the camps are actually hacked by the Dokkaebi, I guess the Maestro Evil Eye is being destroyed by Vessi here. I believe they could have just easily smacked the glass instead of destroying it altogether, but that's an interesting choice. But either way, it's now... yeah, it's just President is Born being injured. He's likely to be revived. I'm not entirely sure where he was injured just now, but with a 3 versus 5, I think the attackers still have a pretty good chance here.
A cheeky wee angle here from Vasi, just waiting for someone to come down that staircase, and of course, while we discuss that, on the other side of things, Brisk gets a kill onto UK and brings it to a 2 versus 5 scenario. And Koala's downed on the main staircase, and now it's left to Vasi to try and clutch this round out, but isn't able to do anything. A flawless round is a response from Minions as they get themselves another round on bank, and that's 6-4 on the scoreline inside of this map.
Yeah, the flawless round they can use very well, of course, because they were on a 6-3 score, and just turning that into 6-4 just makes things a little bit more possible. Yes, they're still 2 points behind on an opponent, and yes, their opponent is on map points, but just having that run round just brings the momentum a little bit back to Minions, and hopefully for them, they can just continue to build up on that and win some further rounds as well. So 6-4 score right now. We're going to the locker CCTV room, the basement bomb site, going to be played by Entropy. And yeah, just a similar lineup. The lineup, just a similar one. We have seen him play by Entropy twice, and the first time it didn't go in their favor. The second time it did. The question, will it do for a third time?
Yeah, they've changed it up a little bit though. They brought that mirror. They didn't have that last time, and we'll see if that makes a difference. And of course, they have decided to bring the Tachanka again. It's been changed hands though. It's a different operator. It's in different hands for the player in terms of who's actually on that operator. So I mean, slightly different. Just ever so slightly different, but we'll see if it makes a difference for them and see if they can win this one out. I suspect that it's going to get spicy. It's definitely going to get hot because, of course, there's quite a lot of flames involved. You've got the Goyo and you've got the Tachanka doubling up together. I don't know how beneficial the Tachanka has been. Maybe it's just a preference for the gun that they want to bring it instead of the smoke. But, again, some teams just like to play different operators just because it is something that they've tried out and they've tried it in a scrim and it's worked. It really does. We don't 100% know what the choices are. But we'll see if it works out inside of this round. 2 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. The first 30 seconds is pretty much going to go by without anything happening.
Yeah, just attackers just trying to get some information. Also, they hear the Brava drone just entering the building, just going for the hacker on those cameras. Don't drive away yet, because otherwise you might not be able to hack it. But in the end, she does. I believe the camera just did get destroyed, or the drone, I would say. And There's at least a nice attempt there to see Bravo being in play. Meanwhile, Tech is just trying to establish control, just finding where the defenders are. We already see Hibana going loose with her Hibana pallets, just trying to open up some walls or hatches, which can be very useful later on in the round.
Certainly can, and I like that the Hibana is now coming through after they've made that adaptation. They have brought it along after what was kind of not working for them really with the Maverick. It wasn't ideal for them. I prefer the Hibana, especially when there isn't a Cade being played. Cade is open and can be played. They're not opted to really defend the hatches, so it's straightforward. It's easy peasy for them to get them opened up, and that's exactly what Elzer's going to do just now. Opens up that hatch in towards the elevator side and gives them that avenue for a push from that area. Still, again, 6-4 on the round count, and it looks as though we're getting this execute started inside of round 11.
Yeah, right. I think they're just trying to get a control here. They just open up the final hatches. Ying is still in play. Ying can be very strong on those executes. And both Blame and Ying, so that's Blame and Alex, both bringing those harboring utility, just by giving so many opportunities for the attacking team to just destroy those hatches, open them up, and just having even some other utility left to just breach some of those walls later on if they desire so. But for now, attackers have established enough control to go for an execute, or at least put some pressure on the bomb set below, and just by repositioning themselves soon and gathering the last bit of information, I think it's about time that they will start initiating their executes.
Yeah, just taking quite a bit of time, making sure that they have everything ticked off before they activate that aggression there. And it looks as though Vash is going to just waste all of the flames pretty much in one go, just sends them in there, knows that they're going to be pushing down there from that side of things, send the Candela in, and knew, pretty much read it, that they were going to be coming down that side of things and come down that hatch there. But look at the swing's going to come out from Enti. Knew there was someone on that hatch, gets prison, deals with them, but the Candela will blind them. Surely they're going to be dealt with here, courtesy of the other Candela as well. Axie finds one, another one for Axie. That's 2 on the round, and again, there is a player alive in the server to try and find as many kills as possible. It is Axie, but eventually he is dealt with. Hatchie with the one onto that gets the kill, and now we're in a 2 versus 3 situation. Can the attackers bring this one back as Hatchie now goes for the flank all the way around to the side of things? Alex North is now down but not out, and it will be eventually killed off at some point, but misses the shots at the end as Yuki gets the kill onto Elazard and takes the map for Entropy. Bank 7-4.
Map indeed going to Entropy, maybe as expected, as indeed due to the band format, Entropy picking this map for a very good reason, and yeah, it has paid off. The choice was a good one in the end, and with a 7-4 score, they have now been able to manage to win this first map. Yeah, so here we're going to see the end scoreboard, 12 kills, 11 kills, beautiful amounts there on Yuki and Enti, nothing too crazy. Axie with 13 kills. But that's the first round for today, or at least the first map of today. As you can see right below us right now, it has already been updated. Also above us, you can see the first map point has been going to Entropy, and therefore they have just they've now put themselves on a 1-0 score against Minions. And yeah, they will start out really well.
Started off pretty well. It was a good map from Entropy, of course, is their pick. However, we're not going to be discussing that much longer. We are just your casters for today. We do have a desk to break that down. I'll throw it across to our host, Zesh, and they'll take you through that.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, gents. It was a wonderful first bank. It was a wonderful first map, and we're starting off with a, let's say, very interesting performance. Entropy was starting wonderfully here, Poobel. And just once we're taking a look at the map, it never felt like it really slipped out of their hands, really. I fully agree on that. And coming into it right now, we have to talk about one thing that, was starting off way earlier, right? When the game was defined. We're talking about operator picks, Arya, and this is something where you noticed that things were a little off in a sense. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I absolutely am sorry for that. I think chat and everyone in Discord is telling me that you both made great points, but everyone was lip reading and trying to figure out what you actually said. So I think from that point on, we're just gonna wait until our production is telling us that you both can be heard, or if I even can be heard, because most importantly, we don't want to waste your beautiful, wonderful knowledge. Okay, I'm gonna start with you, Pooble. Say a word. Just one
well, I
word.
was just saying.
No, one word.
Entropy
We need to fix that. We need to look for sound. Give me one word.
Minions.
Perfect. Awesome. You're going to do the same. Arya, give me a word.
Entropy.
Okay, tell me. Now, chat, did you hear them both? That is what we need to know. We need to know right now if we heard them both, because otherwise we're going to be like sitting here and be like, yeah, you know what? They. Okay, we heard them. We heard you both. Okay,
we heard?
good. Okay, summing it up. You have both 30 seconds to once more. I'm starting with you, Arya. 30 seconds for your point you just made to once more go through it. Go.
Right. So the Yonaban, amazing
Yes.
operator, solid kit, great gun. She brings nade. She brings the Gemini clones. Amazing amount of intel. So taking her off the board, it's reducing the amount of fragging capabilities that the side of Entropy can bring. Or not Entropy, Minions, I should say. As you know, Minions, they're not the team that brings out all those utility operators. So, bringing that Yana, she has pocket nades. She can pocket clear things if need be. And, she's also got a great kit to back it up.
Perfect summary. I couldn't have done it any better. Pooble, talk about it. Roamers, info gather. How did that work? This is your time.
Well, Entropy seemed like they had a much superior intel game, both on their attack and defense. They always seemed like they knew where those minions players were, which led to them pinching out these defenders and shutting down these early entries. And when you compound that with just the superior gun skill they showed, it led to a lot of early picks coming from the side of Entropy that really just sealed the round in their favor.
Perfect. Look, we had 2 minutes of speeches when nobody heard us, but we directly summed it up. Perfect. I couldn't have asked for much more. Brilliant. So now, getting into our next map, we are taking a look at Oregon. And I have heard from you, Arya, that there is a few interesting things we need to mention, particularly regarding that map, as it could have been the decider in the previous series those two teams had, but it was not played.
Yeah, it was not played. So seeing Oregon being played today is not unusual to see it in that map pool. And honestly, it's a map that is going to favor minions. Hands down, it will favor minions here, as it's one of those maps you don't need to bring the heavy utility to win rounds. Every round doesn't rely off a hard breacher. There is rounds you can kind of flex around that. So, and that will play into minions' hands, as they do typically play, your fragger operators. And in terms of operator bans, I would not be surprised if we see a similar kind of setup for operator bans coming out to Oregon, taking off the Ayana again off the board would be something that I genuinely think we will see.
Right. And I mean, coming to you, Pool, regarding expectations of Oregon, it is a map that might be not overall the most popular in that sense. What is your opinion regarding... No, let me start again. It is a map that overall has not been banned too much. Actually, when we take a look at it, I can start again, that has been picked the least over in ESA. God, that took very long. What is your expectation regarding that map? Because particularly from a momentum perspective, Entropy is absolutely carrying that.
Yeah, well, Entropy, we went into this saying are a very strat-focused team, and Oregon doesn't really favor that kind of gameplay, and that is kind of reflected in Entropy's results here. They lost Oregon in playoffs to Team Black 7-4, but they did win it against MVG UK 7-3, and MVG UK are the third-place team at ESA Cup this season. So they've certainly beat it against good opponents. It's just going to be a case of seeing whether or not Minions' core aggressive playstyle really helps them in this map.
Mm-hmm. Okay, easy as that. Look, I mean, there we have all figured it out. And I think a lot of people in chat, and I was reading chat a little bit during the break, and I saw a lot of German there. So I think the Entropy side of things is most definitely happy. And talking about the Entropy side of things, I think there's one personality that we need to mention, a man who most definitely, time and time again, has showed us how good he is. Hachi, right? I mean, he has been a man that consistently was on top of the scoreboard. This game, once more, he showed us how solid, most importantly, solid he was.
100%. And as far as I'm aware, nearly all the games he's played in ESA, he has been the MVP, which is just an insane statistic to have. And also that last game, he started off a little bit rough, a little bit choppy in the waters, but once he got into mid game, end game, Hachi was absolutely just slaying people, and it was just game over for the side of Minions.
Yeah. So I mean, this is where I'm going to ask you both. I'm going to start with you, Pooble. Expectations of Oregon, our least played map. What do you personally think? Who's going to take that one home?
I think it does edge in favor of minions. And on that topic of Hachi, I think we also need to look at Axie here. He had a very slow start into Bank 0-3, but finished it 13-8. So if he can keep that momentum rolling into Oregon, he could have a steamer of a match there. It could be incredible for him if they just keep that momentum going.
Right. What is your opinion? All right, who are we going to see on top for that map?
I'm definitely gonna favor minions here, as you know. I think we're gonna have a dual analyst minion vote here. But minions, they didn't have the strongest of first maps, granted, but that's also because, in my opinion, Bank is one of those more strategic maps. You need to play a lot more utility, play into that more, and it's just they didn't really seem like they were able, or didn't seem it worked in their favor. But going into Oregon, as we mentioned before, it is very frag heavy, so this definitely should favor minions coming into this.
Absolutely. So most importantly, we're speculating. We're trying to figure out who's going to win and who's going to actually come out on top. But we're not going to answer that. We have two wonderful casters who's going to answer that. So I'm going to throw it back to our wonderful gentlemen who are going to solve this riddle. Who's picking up Oregon?
Thank you very much, Zesht and the desk there for breaking that one down for us. Of course, we're going to be heading into Oregon. The game is ready to start imminently, and then we'll head in and see how this is going to go. How are you thinking it's going to go, Max?
I gotta go with the analysts. Like the fact that also like here was minions. They picked this as the first map for today. That's Oregon. Oregon's just a bit of a smaller map. It's really about the gunfights here. It's a bit more. I'm sorry. It's a bit more about the gunfights here, and I think minions can really be successful here. They have played various times before, and we've seen them being very successful on this map. So, yeah, I think it will be a minions map, and I'm also hoping so we can kind of have that even map score and just go even eventually all the way into map 5.
Yeah, I'm hoping so as well. I hope we get there. I want to see it as being as even as possible. I want to see some competitive play. Of course, that's what you want. You don't want a 3-0 from a final. If it happens, it happens. That's the kind of case. But you want to get 5 maps. You want to get every single map played. You want to be coming to the spicier maps, of course, especially given that the decider is theme park. It's a map that we've very rarely seen. So I would love to see that map played at least at some point today. Again, the game is pretty much ready to start. We're just waiting for a couple of players just to sort things out, and then we will get ready to go. Again, of course, Entropy 1 map up after winning on Bank, and I'm not surprised that they won Bank. They were really good, and of course is their map pick, and I don't think I'm surprised at that. However, Oregon will be a little bit more even, and speaking of Oregon, we're heading in, we're ready to go again. Map 2 in the ESA Season 5 Cup Final, Entropy versus Minions.
Yeah, Entropy is still on Team Blue. At least it should be Team Blue, and therefore playing as a defending team, while then it's Minions as the orange team playing as the attacking team. First, again, we're going to start with these operator bans, just like every single map. And there's a few operators that we can expect. Those high default band operators like a Solis, a Nuke, Valkyrie, Mira, Jekyll, whatever. But we'll see how things are going. And
Liana. Ooh. Well, it was banned last map. I'm not surprised to see it get banned away as well. I think I've seen this a couple of times. This has been a lot of an uptake actually the last couple of weeks when people are banning the Iana. And again, it's just to remove that crutch opportunity. A lot of people just use the Iana just because it's a religious kind of tactic they want to always have. It's kind of days of old when you had the Ashe and Zofia. It would never be a surprise when someone banned the Ashe or banned the Zofia, because everybody would have at least one of them in their team at all times, and that's usually the case with Iana ban. Ying as well. Not surprised at that. I think it's a good strong operator on Oregon, but it does leave the Flores open, to be honest, Max.
Sorry, I didn't catch you there for a second.
It does leave the Flores open as well.
The floors being open, that's certainly providing some opportunity here. Flores being extremely strong on destroying certain bits of utility and clearing areas. And it's one that we do tend to see quite often on a map like Oregon, especially towards those the basement bomb sites. You do have to see him quite a bit. Azamian also being banned leaves a bit less things to destroy for the Flores. But at the same time, then there's also coming the Malusi, the last operator to be banned. Very annoying to play against. But with the buffs, the nerfs that we have seen with her in the past, she's a bit more easy to be dealt with compared to when she launched.
Yeah, I like a little bit of spice in my ban phase, like something different. Of course, they've banned the Malusi. Don't really see it banned that often at all. The Azami, a high-ish ban rate, I would say. She's banned, over the full season, 29.9%. That's 40 times she's been banned. 30% of the ban rate, of course, people opting usually to go for that Solos ban, which will be left open, and of course, Hachi is going to snatch that one right up and hop onto that operator. So I like to see something different. The Malusi ban, I don't think has really been that prevalent. We've seen it a couple of times, six times in total across the whole series, the whole season at least. So I'm quite surprised to see the Militia ban come through, but again, it's one of those operators where it's not a bad ban. It's never bad to get it banned.
Yeah, I think Yana's just one of those operations you tend to see pretty much every round whenever she's available, or at least almost every round. Like basically like how Jaeger and Ash used to be like in the early days of Siege, and Termite and Thatcher, of course.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see her being banned. At least it forces the teams to just be a little bit more creative with their picks and not go for their default ones. So I'm very happy to see those. I'm very curious to see how this will impact the game. I don't think it will be impacting the game too much, really. I mean, there's plenty of other ways to just fulfill their job. But yeah, again, it's going to just force its creativity. Yes, interesting interaction here.
Yeah, they know exactly where each other are. They have the IQ and, of course, the Solus. So both of them counter each other. You can spot each other's gadgets. So it's still have a teabag through the wall just to say, yep, I know exactly who you are and where you are. So you better be careful moving around this map on that operator. Hachi will have at least some player to keep track of them. They are. And I don't know if that's the reason they brought the IQ. Maybe it is. Maybe they just want to go on the IQ. They were on it quite a few times on the last map. So I'm not surprised to really see it. The IQ is, again, never a bad operator to bring, just because she can spot out so much utility is there. And he seems to be wanting to get a little bit aggressive here. The C4's going to go out early to try and find Axie, but it's not going to find anything as he's able to dodge away from that, and now drops off of the staircase as well, so no pressure really there anymore.
No, indeed. And with the first minute passing, the attackers are just taking their time to just get the proper bit of control. We do hit the floor as drones being in action in the background somewhere, just trying to deal with certain bits of utility and just making it a bit more difficult for defenders to play on that position. You also still Hachi using his utility just to his best, just finding the drones who are approaching him and just denying the bit of information to be gathered from the defenders, first of all the attackers, as he's still causing a bit of disturbance here on the top floor. They don't want to leave him alone. They want to take him out as soon as possible, because as long as he's left here, he can just go for a flank anytime, and it's Axie. This is the first one to actually go for an attacker and actually finds Hachi, takes him out, and it's a 4 versus 5 from now on.
Yeah, Axie goes straight onto the hunt there, using the Decaybe logic bomb to make sure that they can hunt down and get the pinpoint precision accuracy onto where Hachi was. Got the kill, shot them down. A minute left now on the clock, and it's just a case of ticking the rest of these boxes and making sure they open up the hatch and making sure that they put the pressure in the right places to start this execute off. NT still has a control of the boiler side of things, and we'll be waiting for anyone to come down that back stairs and try to take any gunfight they possibly can. Of course, shotgun available to them, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start pushing up that staircase. Koala has control of elbow on the Mira as well, and now we'll start to see these nades coming down to try and put pressure onto the player inside the boiler, but immediately drops the hatch. Elazar's able to get the kill, looking for a second one, can't quite get it. Eventually does get it across the board. It's a 2 versus 5, 2 versus 3, as the C4 is able to get a double kill from Koala, but it's Brisk to get the final shot, and the attack inside of Minions are able to get that on the board.
An explosive round, and just so many deaths in just such a short time. There's such a bloody way to end this round, but in the end, it went in the way of Team Minions. The orange team, they managed to win the round as the attacking team, and that's the first point going to them. Something they could really use on their second map after they lost the map on Bank, and it's just a good opening for them as a team.
Very good opening, very good start for Minions. That's what they wanted. They wanted a good start. They wanted something to get, something to shout about, something to get hyped about after what was a relatively poor performance on Bank. I mean, I say poor, but I would more put that in the ballpark of Entropy were good. They were really good. Yeah. Whereas I don't think that really anyone would have beat them on that. That's competed so far just because of how well they did. They had the strat set up. They played together. They were really well done. So I don't think there was anyone anyone else that would have really won that map against them. So we can kind of say that they were poor, but at the same time, were they really? We'll find out, of course, on Oregon. Oregon will always find people out. That's the good thing about Oregon, and because it's essentially such a balanced map, everybody plays exactly the same. It always catches people out. If there's a poor team to be found, they will be found on Oregon. Yeah,
it's indeed. Here you really get tested. It doesn't really come down to the strategy that much because everyone basically already knows them. There's nothing really new here to try anyway. Well, things for Entropy, they're just going for the same bomb site for the second time. Just going to try to improve things a little bit better and hopefully go for a better execute this time on the defense. Staying alive longer, and Vessi actually working towards a very good start here. It's Alex getting taken off the board. That's Hibana lost the one and only hard breacher for the team. And this is certainly going to make things way more tricky for the members of Minions.
Absolutely massive pick there, to be honest, getting that hard breach off the board. 5-2, 5-3, 5-1. Koala goes massive, gets himself a triple kill, and it was down to Prison outside, who was able to at least get the kill onto Koala and stops them getting more. And just eventually, the round does go towards Entropy. Yuki pops out with the final shot, and immediately with the aggression, Entropy find one back and even up the score inside of Oregon.
Yeah, that's Entropy winning their first round. I mean, it was a very aggressive attempt there from Minions, and it just didn't work out for them. They just ran straight into the arms of Entropy, just waiting for them with their guns and just taking them out like so fast. And it's just a really, really good run for Entropy and a nice attempt from Minions, which unfortunately did not work out as the way they were hoping for. So a 1-1 score right now, up to round 3, where we're now heading towards a different bomb site, and that's going to be Kids Dorms, Dorms Main Hall on the top floor.
Yeah, something slightly different. Of course, they didn't really change the method there in terms of the operators the last time when we retried that bottom floor. What they did do, though, is they changed how they approached the round. They got super aggressive there, Entropy. They just brought it. They realised that that's how minions play, and we're just going to play them at their own game. We're not going to sit back. We're not going to let you guys run over us like what you've done in the past and different maps and whatnot. What you've done to other teams, we're just going to take the fight to you, make sure we get in your faces, and that is why they've evened up the scoreboard here. But again, back to we're going to the top floor. We're going to something different, and we'll see if they can come up with another performance on this defense.
Yeah, it's Entropy now winning one, losing one defense. This is the first one, so we'll see how things go. Interesting operators being picked, but nothing too out of ordinary here. Again, a very aggressive, risky attempt here from the side of Entropy, just trying to go for those opening kills already very early on. Attackers not even making their way towards the building, and already need to be very careful because the defenders are just waiting for them. So the members of Minions need to be very careful here as they approach the building, because Entropy is just ready for them, just waiting for them to come in and just take them out.
Yeah, they're just essentially going to bring as much aggression early on as possible. The Habana just popping in here. Of course, we lost them early on the last time, and Alex is still alive and kicking, and will opt to open up that attic side. The C4 was ripped there and teased to send it out. Won't send it out as of yet. Elizard is now going to get the drone in, just make sure that they can find some information, but I suspect that C4 would pick up the kill on the drone, but it doesn't. It's able to bypass that, so it's a wasted C4, not used to its full potential. Doesn't get the kill or any damage onto anyone on side for Minions, and now it's a case of just setting things up inside of that master side and making sure they can open up that main breach and then begin this execute.
Yeah, once those walls will be open, they will have proper opportunities, new lines of sight to be created, and entry points towards the actual building, or actually bomb site, sorry. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Vezi therefore needs to relocate himself, can no longer play in the safe haven there, as the wall behind him is literally being torn apart. And he's therefore very exposed. Meanwhile, Alex just trying to scout a bit ahead. I guess he's not trying to find any utility, but though purely information. Luckily for them, just not finding anyone. But you need to be very careful because someone is coming up those armory stairs and then playing with a nade from below. And Liax with a kill on Hachi. 3 people down in total, but Yuki with a kill on Blame. It's a 3 versus 4 in the advantage of the attacking team at the moment. But things can still go either way. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining, and attackers just getting closer and closer.
Oh no, he doesn't know. He just pushes in, doesn't realise there's a player still on the wall. So 2 versus 3 situation as Alex is able to get the kill onto Enti, and now Vasi starts to get aggressive inside of Attic, but it's dropped all the way down to a 1 versus 3 situation as Alex gets a kill, and it's now another one for Vasi. Pops one into the head of Alex as well, and now Vasi just going to patiently wait inside of Kids and see if they can play a little bit of time. Of course, there's a minute still left, and it's just want to move around and try and sneak away from these attackers and try and escape their clutches as the drones come through. And I don't think they realise how deep that Vasi's actually went. Eventually will give away their position just by peppering some of those shots in towards that main breach, but doesn't land any shots on any of these players, and still just trying to pre-fire. Doesn't realise that Axie's got aggressive inside of the site, and now that's third round is going to go towards Minions.
Yeah, Dokkaebi luckily still having one logical available to herself. So very useful to bring it out towards the end of the round when they were in a 1 versus 2 situation. Just pinpointing the position of the Wamai. And yeah, for the Wamai, just such a tough position to be in. His phone constantly ringing, making noise, exactly telling the opponents where he is. And that's not a good position for him to be in a 1 versus 2. So good play from the Dokkaebi as well.
Yeah, of course. And a cheeky wee replay there as well, just showing that nade that came up from below in that previous round. There was a really, really good start there from Minions, and they just seem to be in the right places at the right time. They were able to get themselves that round on the board, and I think 2 rounds already on the start of Oregon is much better return on investment than what we've seen on Bank. So I suspect that they will at least be a little bit more competitive going into this. And the thing for me is that we're seeing these operators that are generally banned on Oregon being played quite a lot, and that's it's indicative of how bans work. If you ban the knock, there is a reason that the knock's usually banned. Of course, if it's open, we're going to hop on that knock and make sure we bring those nades, bring that 1.5, and make sure that we use it to its full potential. The same goes for that Flores as well, making sure these drones are utilised to the greatest that they can be and getting rid of those shields. And I'm not surprised to see both of those operators here.
No, indeed. And as the preparation phase is about to end, we do see various Entropy members again just trying to just position them very aggressively, very open towards the outside of the map, just looking out of those windows, trying to find any attacker as they spawn. Yeah, again, there's just something minions need to be very careful here at this moment. But luckily, they're managing to just find the building very safely and just getting ready. So the defenders are still doing the last bit of setup. Vessi here, one of those, just making some holes in case someone wants to breach that walking across the wall. He can easily throw his impacts to deny the breach. So hopefully, or potentially, we'll see some of that action later on. But currently, one of the first lines of it's Hachi and Enti who are currently playing towards the shower corridor and the dining small tower.
The desk did highlight Hachi's performance in that first map here, but they haven't quite been able to hit the heights we've seen in Bank and the rest of the competition inside of Oregon so far. 0 kills, 2 deaths, not been as effective on the roam as what we would like to see. Is able to get a couple of shots onto Brisk there, but they'll not be too concerned as yet. Zaxi on the other side of things, able to get that kill onto Fassi, and that's how the opening kill is going to go to both Axie twice. He's able to get the kill onto Enti as well, just pinches from behind, and this is a great performance so far from minions who just seem to be all over the place when they attack with the shotgun in hand from Koala. Shuts Axie down, there's another one there, just switches guns at the wrong time, but is able to come out on top somehow. It's a 3 versus 3, Yuku with the C4, it's a double kill, and Brisk has it all to do on side for minions.
It's all coming down to Blame, and as Hachi then finds the final one, that's Blame taken off the board as well, and that's a round going to the attacking, sorry, the defending team, which in this case is Entropy Gaming, adding another point to their score. And just a very again, such an explosive, such a bloody round end right there, putting the score on an equal 2-2, where Entropy just has made the score even again.
Wow, well, that was definitely a round to remember. That was a full swing all the way. The shotgun work there, the double C4. Oh, we love to see it. This is what we're here for, Siege. This is exactly what we want. We want these rounds to be tight. We want it to be chaotic, and that's exactly what we do. Of course, we've got that replay there just showing the shotgun play coming through, and it was just beautiful. Beautifully done. I like to see it. Of course, slipped through the fingers there from Minions. So really great start, and unfortunately, they slip a little bit away, and Entropy are able to sneak that round from them and even up the scoreboard to 2 each.
Yeah, clearly our analysts are working very well on the behind the scenes. Again, another fun fact coming out, just popping there on your screen. It's just a lot of very nice analytical data that's just being captured real time as we are just proceeding through these maps. It's very cool to just see how the information is brought to our viewers.
Yeah. Highest KPR. We like to see that kind of stuff as well, and of course. So, and this is what I want to give a shout out. Of course, we are live and we are watching the game. Me and Max, we are the casters for today. But there is a lot more in the background. We do have a producer who is in charge of moving things around. We have, of course, got some analysts as well, and we also got a host in the background watching the games, making sure they're gathering as much information as possible that they can discuss between the maps. And we really want to, have a good day together as a team and whatnot. And it's been fun and so far. And I'm definitely enjoying myself on Oregon, despite it being Oregon. It's been a good map on Oregon. So it's always the case. It can be a little bit stale at times, but it certainly hasn't been the case for this map so far.
Yeah, indeed, Oregon is one of the maps that we have seen so many times, especially back in the previous seasons of ESA. It was just the #1 play map. Luckily, that picking rate has just gone down a little bit, but still, there's one of those common maps that you at least to see almost every week or so. So at least the map is interesting. It's going well. It's very well matched, and action is just starting. It's Enti playing on those backstairs, finding someone with a shotgun, but unfortunately not doing enough damage. It's Elazard getting that opening kill there on Enti, taking the mute of the board, and that was a kill there coming from the neck, bringing it to 4 versus 5. With now 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock remaining. With plenty of time for the attackers to work on their attack. I'm not even sure whether there's any roamers left to this point. If there's any roamers at all.
I doubt it. Entropy usually tend to just send the one player out on the roam. They don't really like to be too aggressive with it. Sometimes they have the double up, but it's not often that you really see it. So it's usually Hachi that does it anyway. So, but they change things around. They've got Hachi playing an elbow, and you can see it now in the overlay there. There are 4 members inside of sight for Entropy, and I think that's just indicative of how they play. They like to be a little bit more reserved and chill thing out and hold these kind of positions and be a bit more turtle kind of strat heavy. That's generally how they play. They do a couple of roams here and there, but it's not really their kind of play style. What we've seen so far though is they have been aggressive. They have at least got on the faces of minions, not allowed them to kind of run over them at any point in time. So I like that they are adapting to their opponents at times.
Yeah, that's one of the important things. Adapt to your opponent. Just try to figure out what their weaknesses and strengths are, and try to just find a way around those, or to actually use those in your own advantage. Right now, there's 1 minute remaining. Attackers are just trying to get in anytime soon. Hachi's still in this very strong position there in the blue bunker, behind his deployable shield with his own on my disc. He's just strengthening the position. The lots of flashbangs coming out, and nades will likely follow soon. But Yuki with the first kill there on Blame. That's the first one down on the side of the attacking side. So the 4 versus 4 attackers make their way in. Actually getting taken out by Yuki. And then, unfortunately, Yuki also losing his life there by Alex.
Yeah, not quite looking to the fact that there was feet holes there. Not a great setup, not ideal, and gets to swing either side of that pillar. Eventually is dropped out. It's a 3 versus 3 situation. 30 seconds on the clock though, and there's not really anyone established in favour yet though. But as we speak, we get the push all the way in from Alex, who's able to get that kill onto Koala. Hachi finds one onto Prison, and now it's a 2 versus 2 situation. The C4 will go. Surely that's going to land at default, but it's not enough. He's on 5 HP, but it wasn't close enough to get the kill. They know he's wedged it in the corner. Spots the gun, the head for just a second there. Eventually, he's going to get the kill. Surely land the shot. Vasi, what's going on? Can't quite land it. Eventually, is going to get himself back towards Freezer. Elazar gets the kill onto Vasi, and surely not. Hachi left in a 1 versus 2. The diffuser's going to go down. Eventually, well, 1 versus 1. Who's going to come out on top? The diffuser's there, and the attackers have dropped it. Triple kill for Hachi, and the diffuser will be reclaimed. Entropy take the round.
So many questions on what just happened there, but only thing that matters is that Hachi managed to clutch things out, just getting the final kill right before the defusal went down, and then of course having plenty of time to go for the defuse here to secure the round for a team. But holy shit, what a round this was. What an unfortunate position to be in with a DMR shotgun. Just on the close range, not letting me the shots. Very unfortunate, but at least things still went the way of Entropy here, just adding another point. And therefore gaining the lead, a 3-2 score right now, after which we're now about to head into round 6.
2 massive rounds there from Entropy in a row. Minions look to have the control. They look to be in the driver's seat, and they just slip away a couple of times there. And, you know, I like to always be positive about players and stuff like that, but that is almost unforgivable from Vasi there. Just can't convert, despite the player being on 5 HP. Just can't land the shots enough to get the kill. Whether it's a ping issue, whether it was some sort of outside issue, we'll never know. But just unfortunate there eventually. Of course, though, they get it done. That'll be a sigh of relief for Vasi as they get that round under their belt, to be honest.
Yeah, that would not be a good way to go down if you end up losing a round. But yeah, now talking about this final round, or at least the 6th round for this map, where Entropy just go for the last defense. We're actually going to one of the bomb sites that we haven't seen yet, and this is Meeting Hall Kitchen. One of those bomb sites where you can either choose for kitchen dining or kitchen meeting. I do think that most teams in the end tend to go for the meeting one, as it's just a little bit preferred, and likely an extension happening towards the top floor is very likely, as it's both very strong in both the hands of the attacking team and the defending team. So the defenders want to use it in an advantage to defend from above, but also want to keep it out of the hands of the attacking team, who can make it just absolutely a nightmare to play on the bomb site itself if they have the control.
Yes, tertiary site though, Max. This is my concern now. Of course, we've just seen 2 good performances on the top floor and the bottom floor, so standard site. Then we're going to go to the middle site, like you highlighted.
Yeah.
This is where teams will get found out. You know, the off sites and whatnot, that you don't play as much. Everybody plays the top floor all the time and round. Everybody plays the bottom floor all the time and round. But you don't really play these middle sites as much, especially when it comes to the kind of more casual side of things. It's really on the scrims and really in the competitive play. You'll get to see them a lot more. But, you know, the way that Oregon plays is pretty balanced. Every site is winnable at best of times, and it looks as though Entropy have quite a lot of utility brought in to try and defend this. They've got the Maestro Cams, the Castle Barricades, as well as the Bandit as well, just to deny that main breach. And it looks as though we're going to have a bit of a setup from this north side, from the side of Minions, and they'll start to try and open up that main wall and get the setup for a plant onto that stage.
Yeah, Impact EMP about to come out, and this is the call for Thermite to place his hyperthermic charge to try to open up the wall on the stage, which will likely happen as a second one comes out. And to come to any potential tricking, this is with the wall just opened up. There's a lot of lines of sight established for the attacking team towards the bomb site, and also new entry points, and those track stairs from the equipment make it absolutely a nightmare for defenders to flank from those basement stairs. Those are some very good placement there.
Yeah, I'll certainly give away the position if they do opt to go for that flank. It's, of course, the Bandit of Koala that dropped down there, and he'll just look to try and solve the puzzle of getting up that staircase and putting on the flank at some point. And Enti's really feeling the pressure here as so much flashbangs and projectiles get sent in there just to pressure them. They know they have to get rid of Enti before they can even make an attempt on that diffuser, just because of the position there. But Koala has been able to make their way up the staircase through the track stingers. Doesn't really matter. They're able to get that kill onto Alex, and now it's a 5 versus 4 situation. Somehow, Koala's got back into the site.
the suffering of the bandit just paying off in the end, and as Elazar against the kill and Hachi, we're back to an even man count. It's now 4 versus 4 situation with 45 seconds on the clock, so the time is starting to run out. But luckily, Preston gets a kill now. Koala and Elazar with a kill of Vessi, a 2 versus 3, but then Elazar falls to the hands of Yuki. It's a 2 versus 3 with the LMG in hand. Meister can be absolutely destructive in these last seconds. It's going to be very, very close, but Blame in the end shuts him down, takes him out, and then Axel with the final kill on NT wins the round for Entropy, putting the score on 4-2, right?
No. No, that was a round for minions there, so 3.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes. No, it's because of the colour. It's just because of the colours are reversed. That's why.
Right.
It's a little bit strange, but we are now back to the right way round, so that's why. It's because we had the starting round being on the defence for blue. That's why. Just
Well,
habit. But 3 each, of course, is where we stand, and even split heading into the defence. And I think that this smells a little bit like it could be Minions map, just because they've looked pretty good, and I think that them going on the defence now will be a little bit better for them.
Yeah, like always, you have the preferred side to start on, and just getting at least 4 points is like kind of the desired what you want. At least go with a lead into the roll swap, which is going with a 3-3. It isn't terrible. It's at the end. It isn't the end of the world, but you just want to have that advantage, and that's something that the members of Entropy just currently do not have at this moment, and therefore they just need to perform a little bit extra in their attack to still be able to win this map, which might be a bit tricky. But we have seen how strong teams sometimes can be on the lesser preferred side as well. But now, for now, it's up to Minions to go for the defense, and for this one, starting off in the basement.
Yeah, certainly. Down to the bottom floor, of course, we're not quite surprised to see us go there. I don't think anyone would be. I'm quite surprised that we haven't seen the smoke as much. For instance, you have seen it only once or twice on the other side of things. Of course, Brisk is going to hop straight onto that right away. Will likely play in that elbow position. You do, of course, have the Warden as well. And with having the solos open, Axie's going to hop straight onto that operator and make sure that they have that available to them and they can utilise that information game that they can just play back to the rest of their team. Vassi, on the Amaru. You know, I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest.
Well, we'll find out anytime soon. I believe he's getting ready to use his launcher to just hop into the big tower. Just information being gathered, other people positioning themselves, but in the end he goes in, but there's no one there, I guess. Just a rotation towards the attic area. I think that's the only thing that we're being a bit careful with at the moment. But so far, yeah, Amaru just doesn't have that much potential, especially on a basement bomb side. Like, let's say they were on the ground floor, top floor, she could even use a launcher to go up a hatch. But besides entering the building, I do not think Amaru has that many opportunities here.
Yeah, it's a bottom floor defense. I think they'll just want to use it to get in the map quickly, and it's not really had that much of an impact. Now it's just going to diminish throughout the rest of the round, just because, of course, we're going down the way now, so it's not really going to be useful. Maybe they can use it to pop back up on the top floor if they need to at some point, but they're not going to really need to. It's quite surprising to set up for Minions. There's no roamers at all. They're all just inside the site, just going to play and wait. And I think that's actually kind of caught Entropy out, because Entropy were expecting there to be a roam, especially that they spotted that rotate, but there wasn't a roam. They just went up there, opened that rotate, and it's again what I like to always call a ghost roam. And it just shows that there is maybe going to be some presence. There's maybe going to be someone around there, and you just need to be mindful of it at all times, and that is really going to be in the minds of Entropy as they start to set up this execute.
As long as the members of Entropy don't make sure no one can actually go for flank later on, then those won't be of any impact. But Koala, however, opening the rounds in a beautiful way, taking out Blame and Axie as two defenders losing their lives in a very short amount of time. And then it's followed by Koala with another kill there on the start. Triple kill for the ace player. But unfortunately, that's gotten shut down by Alex Norty. But then Fassi luckily being picked off, just going for the refrag, taking him out. And it's all coming down to Prison, the Jaeger, playing in the supply closet versus 4 attackers, getting spotted out, getting damaged quite a bit. And then Yuki going for the defuse, after which Anti finds him from behind, takes him out, and secures yet another round there for Entropy.
Yeah, just activated it. That is all it was. They just take their time, you know, make sure, and then as soon as they realise, yep, there's no roamers, right, let's go for it. Everybody, balls to the walls, let's all just send it through bunker, let's just make sure we win our ones, and that's exactly what they did. They turned on the pace, to say the least, and they made sure that they just went through the rest of that round and won it out 4-3. First attacking round on the board, and I think that Minions are going to go back there and see if they can make amends and change things around to see if they can come up with solutions to that attack.
Yeah, certainly something they should be doing at this moment. They just lost their advantage, the even 3-3 score, and they're playing on the preferred side, so winning some rounds here is absolutely crucial for Minions. They're already down 1 map point, and it just, it's just Entropy gaining the lead the previous round. So it's very important that they start working things around, just do a little bit better, just win these rounds and bring things back to 4-4, and eventually after that win more defensive rounds to, in the end, gain the lead.
little bit of a roam game here from the Warden of Belazord, who's going to pop up towards that Dignian side of things. Of course, has a 1.5. Why wouldn't they on the MPX? And will be a little bit of a nuisance towards that side of things as the attackers try to come from the west side, but it just really depends on whether they want to go from that side. It looks as though they are setting up to go from the northeast side and try and take the backstairs and that bunker side. And again, they're going with a Maru. They seem to think that this is beneficial to them. Vasi's straight in the window this time, a little bit quicker than they were the last time towards that T3 area. They seem to know that there's someone floating around inside of that tower and do spot out the Wamai of Axie and gets the kill. That's the first opening frag for Entropy. They knew exactly where Axie was and they went on the hunt and made sure that they got that across and got that kill done, as Alex now is trying to claw something back for this round. What's the player? What's going on here? Doesn't realise it's a player as they both kind of go back and forward. Eventually Vasi is dropped out of the round. Alex gets the kill and just a little bit of a confusion there for both sides of the team. Didn't realise there's going to be a player up there.
No, a questionable decision there from Alex, which in the end did pay off very well, and he's just making his way out of the place as the attic wall has been opened up. So very nice rotation capability for him there as well, and just it's likely that Entropy members don't even know where he is by now, as he probably already gotten away towards the other side of the map. So that's also a good bit of time waste. Attackers now need to worry about a mute on the loose who's currently roaming around somewhere. They need to find him, and the first 1 minute and 50 seconds already passed, so the time to just find a player like that isn't there that much. And for this reason, they're likely now starting to just focus, okay, let him be, let's just focus on the bomb site itself and try to find those who are still left there.
Yeah, they don't want to entertain it at all. Alex has eventually made the rotate all the way around there and doesn't quite realise that there's a player that close, but does get the kill somehow. Well, flash shotgun in hand now. Still has a C4 if they want to use it. Dropped Entropy all the way down to a 2 versus 4 situation. NT and Yuki have the impact to make inside of this round, and NT is able to make at least some part of an impact and finds the life of one member of Minions. And now it's just a case of trying to figure things out. A minute left on the clock, and NT and Yuki have to try and suss out where they can push from. They don't really know where these players are. I think Alex is the only one that's really shown exactly where the position is. Yuki pops around and finds the life of Briskin. 5 HP is what Alex has, but it's Prison to find one, and it's trades across the board. A 1 versus 1 situation develops as now Yuki versus Prison, who's going to come out on top there. Spots the shoulder there. Yuki knows exactly where Prison is, but he's going to evacuate the dance floor and move all the way around and rotate. And Yuki still seems to think that he's going to take the gunfight, but it's not going to happen. Spots the head and still peppering in the shots, can't land anything, and I think he's going to go for the rotate, and Yuki now knows that's exactly where he is, and it's a ring of roses. Who's going to come out on top? Yuki surely knows he's there, but it's Prison on top, gets the shot. That's the defense of Minions to come out on top inside of that round on Oregon.
Yeah, classical cat and mouse game, how the two remaining players just dancing around certain places when they cannot see each other. Very beautifully played there. But I just want to talk back about Alex. 2 magical kills. One where he just went up in the big tower, didn't spot the player at first, and where he should have been easily taken out, just still getting the kill on the player back up on the beam. And the second one, back on those back stairs, even while getting stunned, still with the SMG in hand, probably spraying around. Even we didn't get to see how he exactly got the kill, but he managed to take out the player there on these back stairs as well. So 2 very impressive kills.
Yeah, really was a good performance there from Alex, and I like this, you know, when you see your team drop something early or whatnot, and they just take a grip of the game. They go, right, okay, we've lost that opening pick, I'm going to go and try and recover it immediately and get aggressive and see if I can get in the faces there. Granted, a little bit of luck and a little bit of fortune where the Maru didn't quite realise what was happening, and it was almost like they both didn't realise where each other was, and Alex just was a little bit quicker on the discipline and was able to get the kill, and that meant that they could snowball it through the rest of the round. Alex rotates back down, gets himself another kill while flash, which is always great to get, and despite being on 5 HP, wedged firmly into that Harry Potter spot at the bottom of the backstairs, they're able to survive the entire round essentially until the very, very dying embers of that did play out. And of course we've got the 1v1. Prison knows exactly how to play it and plays the remaining member on side of Entropy like a fiddle, and is able to get that on the board. 4-4 now is the situation we find ourselves in on Oregon.
Yeah, and as we're now proceeding to round 9, it's Minions finally winning their first defensive round, and therefore they need to go to a different one. We're seeing Aruni laser gates coming in, an interesting one that's always causes some very, very interesting interactions. Of course, attackers will need to waste certain bits of utility to deal with those, or just suffer the consequences by walking through them. That's something you don't want. But Elazard, he's playing offside and already getting found by Anti. Anti just barely not taking him out in the end. Elazard about 5 HP left, just hiding inside of security at the moment. But he already goes for the maze from below, trying to find someone, but nothing yet.
just absolutely sent it in his sight there, Entropy, trying to just get on the hunt very early and almost gets the life of Elzad. As a result of that, Alex opens up this round with a kill onto Hachi and deals with the sledge. That's all of the needs gone and quite a bit of utility with it as well. Axie, a little bit of a stalemate here. Knows there's a player around that area towards security and is just going to wait for the call or a little bit of a sound cue to go for that movement. And of course, it is NT that's there, and of course, just as I was mentioning, Axie does make the move, gets the kill onto NT. Elizard does not have a lot of HP, but Axie's going to find another one onto UK on the other side of things and sends out the impact onto the main breach there, is able to get the shield dealt with, but it's a triple kill. Axie finds it. Koala in a 1 versus 4 situation now.
Yeah, it's only Koala. He needs to do it for his team. It's a 4-4 score, and there's he's in the 1 versus 4 position. So with 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining, there's a good chance that he might be able to pick off some of the players left standing, but it will be a very difficult one to clutch out. He does still have a bit of utility. There's claymores, there's drones, there is his harboring utility, but he needs to be just very careful. First smoke killers also came out, which is just slowing him down a little bit here on the white stairs, but he might just be able to mask his position. But no, it's actually getting that kill on Koala. I believe them, therefore, actually just got his fourth kill for this round, I believe.
Yep, quad kill.
But that's a round here for the defending team. That's
quad kill. Yeah, one of those ones where the observer unfortunately catches none of the kills.
Yeah,
just comes off it. It's one of those rounds. Just unfortunate luck. 4 kills on the round. They didn't see one of them. It's like the last one, but it is what it is. Minions are in the driver's seat now. They have a round advantage, and it looks as though they are poised to maybe get themselves this map because of that. They just need 2 more rounds. That's all they need to get it done. But of course, it's still ever so close inside it all. I suspect that Entropy aren't going to lie down and let this go away from them.
Yeah, maybe if we ever can do a LAN finals or anything, we could have potentially 2 observers. That's one of the options that you have if you do in a local match. But for now, indeed, it's always just a bit of predicting for the observer on where it's actually going to take place. Because there's 10 players to be keeping your eyes on whenever those kind of actions can easily be missed out on. But yeah, with a 4-5 score, the attackers of defenders, of Team Minions are now going towards the kitchen meeting bomb site. One that we've seen before on the side of Entropy, but now it's up to them to go for the defense.
Yeah, of course it's a tertiary site, and we usually see quite a few kind of creative holds and whatnot. I think that is exactly what we're going to see. We see the mirror upstairs, half wall opened up and towards that attic area, so there is quite a bit of options that they can bring in. We see the gridlock as well for Entropy. They played this the last time, and I was not surprised to see the gridlock coming through, and it was really it's always a good operator to bring. Again, it's never bad to have the gridlock. Maybe, there's maybe other operators that are better, but at the same time, it's never a bad decision to have. It's always good, to have the option. They're really loud, they cover the plant. You can also pop them in positions where they can deny that flank as well. So they have quite a few uses. NT seems to want to try and attack this relatively quickly, as they've already got at least a position set up towards that south side and into the main lobby in the double door and split area. It looks as though they're going to open that wall up very early on, and Axie has a mirror window to defend inside of the tower.
Yeah, the defense of Team Minions really seems to be focused on a northern push, especially from the big tower. And it's something Minions is for the Entropy is avoiding for now. But Koala getting that first kill, taking out Elizard. That's the one my taken off the board. I believe that was somewhere towards the big tower, but then Alex will kill Koala, taking out another member of Entropy. And that's the Ace Lost, who might not even have used any of his charges yet. I'm not entirely sure. But this brings us to a 4 versus 4 position situation with 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining. When the timer now goes for a second breach, the left side of that same side where you already did breach before. You give it a kill and blame. It's a 4-3 in the advantage of the attacking team now.
They don't want to even entertain this Mira push. They're not interested in pushing onto that tower area. Axie's holding onto it for now and has an angle as well that you can just turn on a dime and make sure they cover it. The plant will go down. There's quite a bit of coverage though. The smokes will come through there, but Alex knows exactly where they're going to be and gets himself a triple kill on this round. It's a 2 versus 3 situation. Now he's rotated towards the main stair. Still has the C4 available to them. It's of course 2 versus 3. Left with it to do though. Alex is just going to decide to rotate away from it. 2 versus 2 now, and Hachi finds the kill onto Axie, and now it's a case of he just pushing up the green hallway and trying to find anyone inside of kitchen, which is exactly what he's going to do. It's Prison dropped out, and a UK with the final kill for Entropy onto Alex, and that's the scoreboard now even up again, 5-5.
Yeah, Entropy really doesn't like to be behind on points, and equalizes it once more. And this is just an interesting position that I always like to point out: the 5-5 score. The upcoming 2 rounds are going to be very important. Either we'll have a winner for this map, or we're just going to overtime. And just bear in mind again, overtime is going to be limited for these grand finals on every single map. So there's not just the standard 3 rounds extension if we go to overtime. It's all about getting those 2 rounds difference, the 2 points difference, no matter how many rounds you need to get there.
Yeah. So we could potentially be here all night.
Sure,
Yep. It could happen. I've never actually done it. Never actually been in any overtime. I've done quite plenty best of 5s, but I've never actually done any of them where they've went to the unlimited. Or went past regulation, at least. It's just the case. I think, and if they do, I would imagine that one of the teams would eventually just give up just out of the energy, to be honest.
I mean, I have seen unlimited overtimes go all the way to around 40 on a map like Coastline. Luckily, Coastline isn't there anymore. That was one of those doomed maps to go to unlimited overtime, as it just keeps going on and on a map like that. Yeah, I think we did have one unlimited overtime last season. I believe we had a total of 3 extra rounds or so. Nothing too crazy, but whenever it happens, it's of course a very cool thing to see.
It's always fun. It's always fun. And speaking of fun, that's exactly what Minions are going to try and have down on this bottom floor as they set things up inside that elbow hold. Of course, got brisk ground there, and as that gone 6 here, this is a rush all the way in. They've got the blitz and they send it straight through. Punches are coming around. Brisk is able to get 1. Elzar with another. It's actually a team kill that comes through on the Brisk. UK with a pistol in hand gets himself a triple kill inside of this round, and that's Blitz just singing so high above every single person on the round. And Koala shuts it down. And 6-5 on the round count on Oregon.
It wasn't even a minute round. This was an absolutely fast round, so explosive, so aggressive there for Entropy, just rushing in and just finding kill after kill. And I mean, it just wasn't ready. Entropy just found the player after player and established so much control and just absolutely destroys Team Minions and therefore regained the lead, put it on the 6-5 map points for this map here. And this upcoming rounds, it's very advisable, or at least we hope for Minions to win this upcoming round, to still have a chance to win this map in the overtime. Because if they will lose this map, their own pick, then things don't look too great for Minions, as they will be down on 2-0 points.
Yeah. Not ideal for them in this kind of scenario, especially considering that they've looked pretty good on Oregon. They've had a pretty decent couple of rounds. They've led at times as well, and in the middle part of the map, and just at the end there, just not expecting the rush. It's a very common rush that we see, the blitz rush through bunker. It's something we see a lot, but it's perhaps just the timing of it. We've not really seen that from Entropy, that real big change of pace at the start of the round, the real quick rush. We haven't seen that at all across both maps, and that's probably what just caught them out. They won't do it again, likely. They won't even try it, so it's just the way that it's going to play out, I think.
Yeah, and that's just now this potential final round is starting. It's a 6-5 score, of course, here in the advantage of Entropy. All eyes are pointed at the members of Minions. Will they be able to win a defensive round here on the side that should technically be in their favor? We'll see how things go. Of course, the first split was a 3-3, so technically they've now won 2 out of 5 rounds. And it would be nice to see them at least win 3 as well, just like their opponent, Entropy, did. But we'll see how it goes here. And actually already entering the building very quickly from Armory. Lots of drone work happening. Just gathering the information for him to make it happen. And the stress players are going to prevent any flank from behind, making it very difficult to lose this position.
Yes, very, very quick here from Mahachi. He just wants to make sure that no one can flank up from behind, and there's no hold at all towards Master. There's no one really there to put any pressure on him. It seems as though Minions are quite reserved, and they want to just sit on these shields and make sure that they cover off things inside of sight and be a little bit more passive with it. They haven't really gotten the faces, and this is the thing. I keep mentioning that they haven't gotten the face of Entropy enough, and that's just their style of play. They generally are a bit more aggressive and rely on a bit more like gun skill, and it's not really something we've seen that much. Elazar, of course, has the Solus and can spot out a lot of these drones and some of that utility, and will want to get aggressive off the back of that, but the Flores drone's going to come through, and this is the key part of the bans. The Flores is such a big banned operator on this map, and it hasn't been banned at all as it is able to get that shield dealt with, and now the wall will be opened up, but Prison has a nice angle to see if anyone comes through that doorway.
Yeah, very nice line of sight indeed. Just anyone pushing through there doesn't know exactly where to look. There's probably multiple eyes looking at that breach. So it's very difficult to get in from there. So it will be advisable for the attackers to just take out some of the defenders first, just to try to also approach from a different side, like Anti is doing at the moment. Playing here on the big window, just shutting down big paths which are often used for rotations. But also Hachi playing on the rooftop, just suspecting someone to be in the top in the big tower, and hopefully avoiding any death there.
Yeah, it's showing a little bit of patience here, just because both teams are trying to figure out how they want to go about the execute and how they want to move things. There is a bulletproof cam spotting exactly where Koala is, and Prison reacts straight off of that, gets the kill up through the floorboards, and that is the first kill on the board for Minions. So it looks as though they are poised to get themselves into a situation where they can even up the scoreboard going into this overtime. But 4-4 now as Hachi is able to get the kill onto Alex Northe, and now he's going to drop downstairs, and another one for Entropy as Enti gets a kill onto Elazar. That's the Solus gone, and the information with it. Another one! Hachi finds Brisk. That's a double kill for Hachi on this round, and Axie and Prison left with it. All to do for this map. Can we clutch it up? Prison in a 1 versus 4 now. We've seen him do it before, but this is where the pressure is, and it is so massive on them to try and stop this map from going away from them. But Hachi knows exactly where he is and gets the kill, and Entropy take the map of Oregon.
That's indeed Entropy taking the second map, the second place map for today. So 2 maps in a row in Oregon before they took the bank with also 7-5 score, and now the second map with the same kind of score, 7-5 as well. Oregon in the pockets, and therefore 2 map points, and therefore also match points, series points for Entropy, which is just phenomenal.
Yes. They are now in a sticky situation, Minions. Of course, 2 maps down. They've just lost their own map again. The way that Oregon works is it can go either way, so I'm not surprised to kind of see it go there, because it is the map, the way it can play. Villa is going to be up next, but we're not going to discuss things too long. We do have a desk to break that down. I'll throw it over to Zesht and the analyst, and they will take us through what just happened. See you in a bit, guys.
Chamberlain, what a blessing that you're throwing it over us to us. Before we start, ladies, gentlemen, before we start, I want a single word out of your mouth, Pooble. Just give me a single word.
Minions.
Okay, same goes for you, Arya. Go ahead.
Entropy.
Okay, so now we're going to see if chat is letting us know if we actually can be heard or not, because we're not doing that bamboozling again. So if that is the case, obviously you can let us know. I'm obviously checking Discord as well if that is the case. Sounds good. Chamberlain says sounds good. You know what? If Chamberlain says it, I trust Chamberlain. Good. Let's recap things, Pooble. This was, let's say, the silver lining for the side of Minions. And that silver lining turned out to be an absolute dark, cloud-filled map that didn't let them succeed at all.
Yeah, and part of that goes down to, I was high on the Axie stocks before this. I was saying those stocks are on the rise, invest early. And he also peaked quite early. He was in a lot of engagements, open engagements, to start off the attacking half. And he was really setting the pace for Minions. But no one else really turned up. And when he started to really cool off in those defenses, it looked very grim for the side of Minions there. And they were kind of throwing a lot of these advantage situations. They were in a 4v2, which they did win, but they brought it down to a 1 versus 1 in round 8. And in round 4, they lost that 5 versus 3 because they just rushed their execute. So Minions, they're still not all firing. They're not all firing on all cylinders. There's still a bit of a lack of confidence, I'd say, that is resulting in these just poor performances.
100%. You know, when we talk about Minions, we're on about a team, you know, that they rely heavily on their gun skill. You know, it's a heavy gun skill based team. They're not going to go on the utility. And when you have members of your, you know, of your team that are, the cost is quite low. A lot of them are below the 45% cost, which is not ideal. And, you know, KD isn't great either. No one's kind of really having their hero moments. It's not, you know, it's not great. And then you just have Entropy that are, you know, they're playing Oregon. They've played it before. They've won it once, lost it once. And it's a tried and tested map pretty much for every team at this point. So you're just not, it's not a recipe for success. And Oregon also being Minions map pick and the map that would be most favorable for Minions, things are just not looking great for Minions at the minute.
Hey, they're not looking great at all. And I think, you know, it just has been mentioned. Axie, you know, that I think is a point we need to touch on right here, Arya. The man has been absolute, I'm going to quote from your notes, an opening pick demon. That has been written down right here. The stocks, you know, we had our investor and the former Pooble going there. And I think it turned out to be a quite good investment overall, Arya.
100%. Actually, absolutely being, you know, the key player for that map, 100%. Just popping heads. You know, we saw in the round with Aruni DMR, just 4K. You know, a casual 4K didn't really seem to phase him at all, and he really looked like the player that was just really dragging Minions through, kicking and screaming. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough, but he is the highest, you know, player with the highest stats throughout that matchup.
Right.
And you know, it's just something that we definitely need to keep an eye on. He's a player that a lot of teams definitely should keep an eye on.
It feels like it. It feels absolutely like, you know, The killing machinery is something that works well on the side of minions, but realistically, Pooble, the bigger issue is you can have the best fraggers at all, but if like some fundamental understanding of how to play out those late round pressure situations, if they are missing, you are failing. And this is pretty much what we witnessed after Entropy did that comeback.
Yeah, again, it was just minions. They force these executes when they're in these advantage situations when they don't need to. We saw that 5v3 thrown because they just rushed site with over a minute and a half left on the clock. They could plan that out, plan that take properly, but instead they just feed themselves to Entropy. Entropy just shut them down. We really need to see minions learn from this because going on to Villa is a map where you're going to be starved for time. So you need to be making these good decisions early on to get that good map control like first on. But if minions aren't doing that, they will just get slaughtered on Villa. Simple as.
It actually feels a lot like it. And you know, gents, we're going into Villa right in just a moment. This is map number 3, where technically speaking, Entropy could be the ones that finalize the back-to-back success here, Arya. In talking about Villa, we've already witnessed that in the playoff stage between those two teams, and it turned out to be one of the tightest games we've witnessed.
Yeah, it was an 8-7 victory in favor of Entropy. So Entropy have shown they have played Villa, and they do know how to play Villa.
Yeah.
Whether or not they can replicate, even maybe a broader scoreline of, maybe a 5-7 or something in their favor, it is highly likely, as this map I don't honestly feel favors minions in the slightest. It's a very strat heavy map. You have to have your strat oriented sites, and it just works. If you stratted well, it works. But I don't feel minions are that sort of team. They, as they've shown, they play off their aggressive gun skill, and it generally seems to work. But today, we've just seen a kind of a dial down minions. They haven't, they are missing one of their key players, Zach, who isn't playing with them at the minute. But overall, they just seem, their aggression isn't there. And when they do eventually bring the aggression, it's lackluster. It's missing where it needs to be.
Yeah, and Entropy have this long-term success on Villa. 6 months ago, they won Villa in the finals of Season 4 of ESA Cup to go on and win that whole tournament. So this is looking like a very Entropy-favoured map that we're going into, and it could potentially spell out the series right now on a third map.
It feels a lot like it. And you know what? This is the cool part about it. We're talking about that we're coming close to, the side of Entropy once more taking the lion's share of the over 1 grand, the 770 overall for all the players. What would be your predictions right now coming in with the situation? Because let's be realistic, pressure is not a situation Entropy is used to, considering that they have already won this series before, that they always won this they always won the cup before. Would you say right now, right here where we stand, Pool, that this could be the clear sweep 3-0?
I think it is looking like that. Momentum is all in the favour of Entropy. We're seeing all of those members of that team just hitting their marks, hitting their shots. And Minions, it's really the opposite story, with the exception of Axie, and Alex really heated up by the end of that, but just wasn't enough. We're just not seeing this kind of success we'd expect from Minions, so it's facing down that 2-0 deficit. It's very easily that we're just going to get a sweep here.
I'm going to have to, second your point with saying that. It's honestly looking like it's going to be a clean 3-0 sweep. There's nothing really in the favour of minions here. The map isn't in their favour. Entropy have also played Villa quite a high amount of times, and they've won it as well. It's just, I don't think there's nothing really in the favour here. Minions, it looks like Entropy just might take the walk and take the 3-0.
Right. You know what? Taking a look, because now we have the time to do so, taking a look at the roster of Entropy once more and highlighting that right now on your screen. I think, Pooble, we need to be very clear here. I want to know from you, very particularly, if you would go out and everything turns out to be, a 3-0 for Entropy, who would be your entire season, your entire cup MVP?
Well, recency bias would say that the Yuki stocks are high. But Hachi's just had such a phenomenal season. And he's not been the greatest in this final, but he's been the real reason they've got this far. It's a great roster, but Hachi has really been that standout. So I would probably give it to Hachi, despite recency bias pointing towards Yuki in this series.
Yeah, 100%. Hachi is by far the standout player and has been the whole tournament. Realistically, as we mentioned earlier, he has received the MVP nearly every single game Entropy have played. If you're not the standout player, you're not the star player of a roster, that's just not going to happen.
I mean, we have to say at the end of the game, it's a classic case of it's still a team game. We're having our MVPs and we have people who just absolutely lead the charge. It's fine. I still always find it very amusing when we go into this MVP, and this recency bias is really kicking in, right? Because you're seeing someone perform so well just the last 2 maps, and you're like, yeah, this is the best player I've ever seen. And then in the big picture, it's something totally different. Taking a look at minions, though, we're talking about firepower here, Pooble. And, when we take a look at the roster of the minion side of things, I would like to know from you, and I would like to very particularly ask, would you have said that this team in itself even comes so far? Because once more highlighting, this is the first time we go even into crossplay that far. This is the first time they're attending this tournament so deep.
Well, there's always questions with an unknown quantity, but Minions, they went off to a very good start, flawless in that group stage, only getting to overtime once. And they just continue that momentum going into playoffs. So they've been a really nice surprise, and they've been a very strong team. So I think it's definitely a lot of people going into playoffs would have expected this team to get this far because they are just such high quality.
Yeah, I mean, that's more I mean, I'm positively surprised. You see, it's not like it's a total clean sweep 7-0 kind of scoreline that we're witnessing. Far away from that. Far, far, far away from that. And, as we're heading soon back into our game, as we're soon heading quickly into our final map, I just want to know, one-word answer, Arya. Are we seeing a 3-0, or are we heading into a future 4th map?
My heart wants to tell me we're going to see another map, but my brain is telling me that, Entropy take this 3-0.
Pooble the same?
No, we're not seeing map 4. We're not seeing. I'm sorry, 3-0.
All good. You know what? This is what players are here for. They're here to tell the analysts that they're stupid and they're all wrong. But you know what? Guess what might happen on map 4 if we get that far. Because who else than Chamberlain and Max to tell us if that story will become true?
Thank you very much to the wonderful desk for breaking that down between the maps. Of course, a little bit longer there just because we were waiting on some issues with the hand cams and whatnot. But we are pretty much full and ready to go. And it's just a case of us waiting for our game to catch up and then we'll be live. So we'll have a little minute where we can discuss things, Max. Are you ready and you excited? What do you think? Do you agree with the desk that you think that the Entropy are going to take this 3-0?
I really hope they're not. I really would like to see all 5 maps being played again, just traditionally as we have been seeing in the past few seasons. It's what I'm here for. I have reserved my whole day. I'm just looking forward to just see all of those 5 maps being played. It's just spectacular if that happens. But yeah, there's a good chance that those analysts are right, and that this is just the downfall of Minions, that they're just going to end up second, which is still an amazing accomplishment. But it could be all over here.
I mean, there's a little bit of chat been happening between the maps. There's been a little bit of beef in the Twitch chat. There's been a little bit of beef in the match chat as well. So, some words have been said. Minions seem to think that they can come back a little bit. So I'm hoping that they can at least. I want to see another map at least. I don't want it to end in such one-way thing kind of situation. But then again, it's to be expected from Entropy, at least, because this is the second time they've been here. They are well versed in how to play a grand final. They know exactly what they're doing. They won it last year, of course. They are trying to defend that championship, and they've already beaten Minions as well. So they have that one up on them already. So,
True.
My heart's saying that I think the Entropy will win at 3-0, but I don't want them to. I want it to go all the way. So
exactly, like I already pointed out before, previous 2 finals also started out with this 2-0, so there's a very good chance that suddenly Minions somehow managed to work things around, that they just kind of took a time out, talk to their players all together, just figure out something out on how they can counter Entropy here. But as the map is starting now, I hope this is going to be Minions map. But like we're both saying, and our analysts were saying, we're a bit scared that it won't be, and it will just be just 3-0, but we'll just find out soon. Map number 3, Villa, right here on your screen. And just as always, we're starting out with these opera events.
Yeah, we are ready to go. Of course, it's Villa. It's pretty standard stuff. We've just seen Oregon, and we'll see one of the highest pick maps as well throughout the entire season. So both teams have been on it a fair bit. So there is quite a bit of strategy that will be well known. They both have plenty of vods to have watched on each other. And I'm not surprised to see the Jackal being banned first, especially with it being such a big map.
Yeah, we were talking about big maps before, Bank being one of those biggest ones, but Villa is just also really, really big. The entire basement, which is not being used for any bomb site whatsoever, but is still just so big and has so many opportunities, 3 different staircases for defenders to just relocate themselves. Jackal is a very strong one, but that one will be off the board. We won't see him, so defenders will have a bit more of roaming space. And then again, this is followed up by Diana, just like we saw her being banned in the previous 2 maps. We won't see her for this potential final and third map.
I'd be surprised. I don't think we are, to be honest. It's been a pretty big staple of the day that Ayana is going to be banned, so I'm not surprised that it has been taken off the board. The same with the Jackal, so no surprises as of yet. The Valkyrie, I'm surprised it's been banned in this series, which is a funny one to say because it hasn't been banned yet. So I'm quite surprised that it has been banned now because both teams have left it open. And the thing is I haven't really seen both of them use it, and it's quite funny because it's a very strong operator. Even though it's been open the full day, no one's really utilized it.
No, we did see her a bit on Bank. I'm not entirely sure how much we saw her really in Oregon, but yeah, she's just such a strong operator. And Villa is one of those maps where you almost, if she's being picked, you actually almost see her. There's so many wooden ceilings and floors where Valkyrie just can like to have people throw those C4s, but also again a very big map, so you kind of want to have that overview. And with Valkyrie off the board, it's just going to be a bit more tricky. Like, yes, there's plenty of other options to get that information. There's Mozzie, there's Echo, there's Bulletproof Cams. There's a lot of ways, but Valkyrie is just kind of the specialist on placing those cameras. She has 3. She has the great gun, the Z4. It's going to be very impactful to play this map without her.
Yeah, at least there's a little bit of range when it comes to the operator picks to start with. On the defense, of course, attacker repick, we won't really decide on how that happens yet. But top floor, defense, aviator, and games, and we won't see I don't think we'll see anything really off meta. I think we'll see that shield being popped on the map's table. Not surprised to see it going there. We'll likely see the Zami playing instead of the study and whatnot. So again, very standard stuff. It is Villa. It will come down to the gunfights, and history would dictate that it should be Minion winning these things out, but they just haven't really been at the races as much as we would normally expect from them today.
Yeah, it's about time for Minions to wake up because, of course, their opponent is on that series points. They have won 2 map points. They need to have 3 to win the series. So it's about time for them to wake up. And we're actually seeing something interesting happen. Alizar just getting ready for a run out from the garage, just hopping on the black van. Well, unfortunately, he was expected, but neither of the both parties managed to actually land the shot. So both of them, just a big scare right there, but nothing really happening in the end. Nice attempts. Always cool to see.
Yeah, I like to see it happening, especially given that they need to win this map as well. I like that they're bringing the aggression to them, and I'm hoping that, some teams reacted this badly. They were like, oh, we're 2 rounds teams, we're not going to really do anything, but some teams react a little bit better, and they want to just get aggressive and try and win things out, and it looks as though Axie's going to fall first 5-4 now as the man advantage, and I'm just about to say that, but NT's going to find another one. It's a double entry to come through as NT is also able to get the kill onto Elizard at the same time, and that leaves us in a situation that favours the attacking side of Entropy here on Villa in this opening round.
Yeah, Entropy starting out well, 5 versus 3 with just in under 1 minute. It's a very fast entry for them. Just getting those 2 defenders off the board, both the Frost and the Mozzie left to rods basically, and it's a 5 versus 3 now. And yeah, they just have plenty of time to just analyze the key points from where they can actually go for the attack. However, the Jaeger Prison does manage to find Vessi. That's the edge of the board. Yet still the attackers in the advantage here, but it seems like it's a bit more tricky. That's down 1 player now.
Yeah, Prison's been a nuisance at times during this match, and they haven't been able to continue the form every single round. I'm hoping that they can do it this time. Alex is trying to dispatch some of those track stingers to make sure that if they do need to drop down, they can do. NT finds Brisk though, and now that leaves us in a 2 versus 1 versus 4 situation as NT's on a triple kill this round and looking for the quad as Prison now left with a clutch opportunity. The Azami barricades, they will cover their position at the top of the main stairs. Yuki's accidentally got himself downed from something or other, and now it's looking like Prison is up against it here, and just as of course we mentioned that, Koala gets the final shot and the final kill on the board, and that means that Entropy open up this map of Villa with the first round.
Yeah, the Jaeger needed to ace this round if he still wanted to be able to win, and seems to be very unlikely in this position. And in the end, it's Entropy just getting this first round on the first attack. And that's, again, just Entropy just getting those opening rounds. They've just been doing so well, opening this map after map. And just being already starting with 1-0, well, you already have 2 map points. That's just I must feel very good for Entropy.
I'm interested that they are going back to the same site, retrying it. They seem to have identified where the issue is. Same lineup, nothing really changing at all. So they've jiggled things around though. Rearranged who's on what. Prison now on the Azami and Brisk is on the Jaeger. So they've changed things around a little bit at least. And maybe that is what they've identified. Maybe they just picked the wrong operators, or just someone wants to go, I'll play that positioning. I feel like I can do a slightly better job, and we'll see if that does pay dividends going into the second map. I think that the key point for me is that in the last one they lost that in entry engagement. Axie fell without really having a say on anything, just got swung on essentially. Peaker's advantage comes out on top, and they just unfortunately lose the round from that position. Not ideal. I think now they'll have a little bit more presence towards that master side.
Yeah, indeed. And now we proceed into the second round. We're just going back to the same bomb site again. Something we have seen plenty of times in previous maps. Just a second attempt can just sometimes be enough to actually be a winner. But here, Alizard actually is positioning himself very well, just waiting for anyone to just hop in from the bathroom window. And I mean, it's being droned. Yeah, the drone in the end actually just scouted for that hole, didn't manage to find it, and I don't think any kill will happen there from Alizard. But meanwhile, Anti already getting damaged insanely much. I'm not sure exactly what happened. It could be by the hands of Blame or so, or the Mozzie. But in the end, Alizard with the first kill there on Yuki, taking out the Flores. No more explosive drones coming from the side of Entropy. And then Blame with another one there on Hachi. That's another Entropy member taken out, leaving us with a 3 versus 5 within the first minute.
Much better adaptation here from the side of Minions. I did point out that they probably do a bit more of an extension. They do have two players together here. Vase gets caught out almost inside of China, realises the player's there, but wins it out anyway, doesn't even care, takes the head of Elazard home with them, and now it's a 3 versus 4 scenario, but the HP for Entropy just does not look good at all. Brisk is feeling a little bit of pressure as well, but Axie with a double kill from behind, he's able to rotate round to Master and goes massive as usual. That's what we've seen from time and time again. Can he continue this form through the rest of this map and through the rest of this series and really carry Minions through to win Villa?
Yeah, Koala, the only one left standing who can win the round for Entropy here. He still has time. There's still 1 minute and 25 seconds. He does have a drone. There's claymores. There's hard-breaching utilities, so he can likely still do some damage. But I've seen many times before how these situations end. He doesn't even have the diffuser in hand at the moment, so he really needs to go for those kills. And yeah, with the diffuser, I believe just being left outside in this case, yeah, his chances are getting even slimmer. So he needs to find those kills. He has 1 minute to do so. There's 4 people standing in his way to potentially win this round. But yeah, just a matter of time to see how this will go.
Yeah, it really is. And of course, Alex is just going to play for time at the edge of 90. Has the C4 available. I suspect we're going to see a swing here. Koala knows exactly where he is and not quite going to take the gunfight as of yet. Then eventually does peek out though and avoiding all the shots, both players. Just a back and forward as Koala just teases that they're going to go for the push through that double door up towards 90, but they're not going to take it yet as Minions are going to play the patience game. Shotgun close and exactly will find the spar, but not enough to get a kill. But Brisk is there to collect the life of Koala, and that closes it out for Minions, who get one immediately back and even up the score on Villa.
Yeah, back to 1-1, just evening out those scores, just like every time it happened on each of the maps. 1-1 score, great way to start a map, like I always like to say. And I just see how it goes from here. Like I've been saying, I really hope that Minions will win this map, that we at least get to see 4 maps today, and potentially even that 5th. And it's all coming out this map too for Minions to make that happen. And at least by just evening things out and taking that advantage from their opponents, there's a first step to be made. And the question is, will they be able to continue further on this momentum and bring us the win?
Yeah, quick wee fun fact for you, of course. Entropy won Villa in the grand finals of ESA Cup Season 4. They beat MVG 7-4, like I just said. And can they repeat it and get the clean sweep, Max? What do you think?
Sorry, you were catching out.
Was I cutting out there? To apologise if that was the case. But what I was saying was that Entropy won Villa last season 7-4 versus MVG UK, and I'm just asking, do you think that they can repeat that?
I would love to see that in some way. I mean, it would be great for Story how Entropy just could potentially become the champion for a second time, and doing it on the same map like last season, that would be a very cool thing. Given the fact how Entropy has been performing so far, I do think the chances are, getting bigger by the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they're growing into it a little bit, and I think, well, Minions are anyway. They're starting to get a little bit of a groove here and there. Of course, we've seen quite a bit on Oregon. They just narrowly lost that at the end, and this is the thing when when the pressure starts to mount, you see the teams that are tried and tested, they tend to come out on top, and that's what Entropy have showed us on Oregon, and they're starting to show us inside of this round anyway, as Axie is dealt with early on. Enti gets into the building very quickly and gets that kill, and that's Alex's. And we feeling the pressure inside of Dyna, takes a little bit of damage through the feet holder, doesn't realise there's a player actually rotated in towards Laundry, goes out for the peak, and Vasa takes her head right off their shoulders. 4 versus 3, as Elazard is immediately in for the refrag at least, and that is not let the round get away from them too much yet.
3 people losing their life right below the bomb site, not even where the real action will be taking place. So at least that bit is dealt with, and I believe all the remaining defenders are inside of the bomb site right now. So attackers can actually start focusing on an execute right here, just preparing themselves, positioning themselves around the master bedroom, and also potentially from other sides as well, opening some of those walls, and then just go for their attack on the actual bomb site.
You give it a nice tight angle towards the closet side and knows that there's someone inside a bathroom that will likely peek at some point. Prison's going to play the waiting game though, over towards Trophy, and just wait for anyone to push up towards that doorway. Nades are being cooked and will be sent up from below while they find their mark. At least the first one misses. Enti's going to pull out another one and send it towards the Astro desk, but there's no one there. There's no one in that rotate, so there's no one going to be on the receiving end of those nades. Pretty much wasted, unfortunately. Enti's down though, as there's been a rotate round from Ellis up to the bottom floor, gets the kill. It's a 3 versus 3 situation, and now they rotate back up the staircase towards Astro. They know exactly where he is as he shoots the drone, and opposite just dropped himself back, not wanting anything to do with that. The perspective is just not in their favour. The high ground is not there, so they don't want to push up that staircase. But Brisk has the hold of landing in a long angle from Prison as well, just to make sure that no one can pop through that doorway from closet.
55 seconds remaining. It's a 3 versus 3, so an even man count. Both guys have suffered some damage on at least one of the players, but it's the one Mai was getting injured at first. It's a Prison down on the floor, technically 3 versus 2, as it's unlikely for him to be revived with this little amount of time remaining. Blame also getting damaged heavily, being in a very difficult position, and Alzard, I'm not even sure where he is, but in the end, 1 kill there from Blame on, or at least an injury there on Koala. Prison magically being revived, and therefore it can just go either way. One big bloodbath here. Hachi with a kill there on Blame. It's a 3 versus 2, but the Koala, I think, is also being revived at this moment. I might see it wrong here. No, Father was seeing the revive. Yuki trying to think to go for a defuse here, and just Hachi then only on our player. We can go for the cover here. Yuki with a kill on Prison. That's all coming out of Elizabeth in this 3 versus 1. Gets a kill on Koala. A 2 versus 1 right now. Yuki going for the plant. Hachi on the cover. Will they make it?
Oh, that round there just slips away from Minions. They had a decent foothold in there, but they just couldn't quite get it across the line, and Entropy are able to get that there. It was a bit of a funny round. There was a couple of issues for both teams as they kind of made a few mistakes, and unfortunately for Entropy, they are the ones that make less of them, and they win that round because of it. 2-1 on the round count on Villa so far.
Yeah, 2-1 on the round count. It's Entropy again in the lead, yet this could very much just go up and down the whole time. Like we've seen quite a bit of times before. It's not over for Minions. There's still plenty of options for them to work things around. Also, something we haven't seen today at all yet are those tactical timeouts. A bit interesting, especially towards the grand final. I mean, Minions being down 2 maps. I can imagine if they eventually end up being down a few points here, I think we can expect a tactical timeout to come out. At least it could potentially be a smart call. But for now, it's still too close to have those. But yeah, it will be good to use those, as those can just provide plenty, the proper amount of time for them to just talk things through, analyze what's going wrong, and how they can just do a bit better. So potentially we'll see those later.
Yep, back to the site though, and they're going to just try and change things around and see if they can come up with something different. As Elazar goes out in the roam towards that 90 side of things, just pre-aiming already, even though there's no one in it over there. But it's pretty much the same operators, pretty much the same idea, nothing really that drastically different for them. And I think they'll just try and identify what went wrong in the last round and try and overcome it, and not, they haven't seemed to identify it early enough to say that it's an operator. Maybe it's just a position, or however they approach that round. And Axie isn't going to exactly do that. He makes amends for the last round dying first. He gets the first kill onto Ent. He knew they were going to try and do the same play as the last time, and they're able to get that entry pick on the board in favour of the Mozzie on side for Minions.
Sneaky entry from the Nuke being denied there, and it's just an opening kill going to Minions, which can hopefully assist them further on. Meanwhile, the first attackers making their way inside of the building, exposing the position as they walk through the holograms. Koala, however, the team kill on his teammate Vessi, and then also Yuki falling into the hands of Blame. Koala, however, came Blame and double kill, or at least 2 kills, very quick kills there on the 2 remaining Entropy members, meaning this round will be going to the defending team, which is Minions, and therefore it just keeps going up and down, and we're back to a 2-2 even score.
Complacent from Entropy. That's what it was. They won that first round attack onto that site, and this time they just felt that they could be confident with it. They felt that they could just wander in, not check corners, not really pay attention to Minions, and they were punished for it. That was it. Simple, straightforward as that. Yes, they won the other round relatively convincing. And at the end of things, they did have a good, 2v1 situation. So the first time they were defending or attacking that site, even on Trophy, they did win it in a decent kind of man advantage. But going into that one, they are they just showed way too much confidence. They were pushing in, not really checking anything at all. This came back to bite them, fortunately. That has meant that Minions evened up the scoreboard 2 each. I think that this map might go back and forward a few times max.
Yeah, surely, especially since we're going back to bomb sites we have seen before. Last time, again, that same deployable shield there on top of the, I'm not even sure, the display for the museum or however you want to call it. Yeah, this is just repeating things. In some way, it totally makes sense. You can just repeat them, because if they went well, why not do it again? But at the same time, you also need to keep in mind that Entropy has experienced these defenses before, and they might have been able to analyze how to counter those a little bit better. So, yeah, going back to the same bomb site, totally fine, especially since you won it before, but be careful about repeating the same strategies.
The interesting thing for me is they haven't decided to go to that kitchen side of things. Once they've opted to just stay firmly in the lane of those 2 stronger sites, generally, the Aviator Games and the Trophy and Statue as well. So they're not opting to go for any of the tertiary sites as of yet. I suspect we might see them a little bit deeper into this, maybe in the last round of the defense, but it really does depend on if they win this or not. Of course, Prison at the top of the main staircase, and now these Flores drones will start to push their way through and get rid of those Azami barricades, but Prison will not be too bothered by it. They're just going to hold behind it for the time being. Vasi gets himself downed and unfortunately taken out of the round courtesy of Axie. That's the second time of asking. That is an entry engagement we seem to see every single time. The knock always walks into the clutches of Axie somewhere on this map.
Yeah, being knocked out, that is very, very early on in this round. Is something you don't want to do. And I think that Entropy still needs to start questioning whether they should still do this same kind of performances. Meanwhile, Hachi trying to go for some action here on top of the main stage, getting impregnates thrown in his face, getting damaged quite a bit, and then Present go for the final kill, finishing Hachi off, and also Entropy getting injured and getting finished off by Elizard, leaving only Koala and Yuki left standing in this 2 versus 5 position with still 1 minute and 45 seconds, but down quite a bit.
Oh, beautiful shot there from Brisk. Takes the head of Koala clean off on the balcony. Knew exactly where to pre-fire, exactly what was going to happen, and wins that one out. Leaves Yuki in a 1 versus 5 situation. I just don't see this being winnable here. They get aggressive on the door, of course. It's Axie and it's Brisk with the long angle and a flawless round as a response for Minions as they take another round on Villa.
Yeah, that's Minions finally taking the lead here on the map, where they finally need to start winning as well. So it's a 2-3 score now in the advantage of Minions. Like I said, I want to see more maps. I'm really hoping that we can at least see 2-4 split or something, which can really help Minions to finally win their first map. But just this last round is going to be very important. It's we're going to go to Dining Kitchen. The bomb site is basically kind of like the 3rd choice for many of the teams. There's a 4th bomb site on Villa. You don't really tend to see it that much, really. It's playable, but it's just not a really great option unless you have prepared on it very well.
Yeah, and it generally does see the pulse getting played because of that. Alex is going to hop straight on that. And interesting enough, he's going to bring the shotgun, which we will obviously see. I'll imagine that there's going to be quite a bit of vertical play to come as a result of that. So they've got the Goyo along, just make sure they can delay some time. And Risk on the Vigil on that roam. I haven't seen it as of yet, so I imagine that he will be a bit of a nuisance to try and deal with and try and drone out, especially without the presence of the Jackal. They'll have to try and get on the hunt for them, and I would imagine we would see a Decay, but it doesn't seem that we're going to find that. Maybe just opting to bring the IQ instead.
Yeah, the question is even whether Entropy is aware of those operators being picked yet. They do have the option to change those operators until the 3rd second, the last 3 seconds of the pet race. But as long as they don't even identify those operators being picked, of course, drone work is very important in those cases, and you might not even know about it, and you might not be able to play onto it. So as the action phase is now starting, the attackers are just going to approach the building, looking for the first way in, likely going to gather much more information on the go. From there, going to hopefully pick up some of the roaming defenders and make a proper entry here.
Max, I'm going to make a prediction here for this round. I'm
Okay.
going to throw out just the idea that this may or may not be very explosive. There's
Okay.
4 C4s on site for Minions, so I suspect that there's going to be quite a bit of noise made on this
Right.
one. And of course, Enti's starting us off very early, by the way, all the way up to 90, sweeping through the map, and it looks as though Axie knows exactly where they are. Surely they're going to come at top spots. The player freebie, no problem at all. Thank you very much. Axie again with entry, and Alex has spotted the player in the C4 from above. No. They're on the bed. They're having a little nap. They're able to not even think about the possibility of being C4. The 3-5 though, as Axie finds another one. It's Hasji. He's rotated in, but he's put it to dirt. It's Vasi to find one and immediately pushing in from behind. There's another one from Elizard and Yuki to shut down Brisk. And Yuki is just going to play the top Astro. He knows there's another player around at the side of things, and it's, of course, Elizard. He's stuck his way into the closet and reclaimed all of the vertical.
Yeah, all the work done by Entropy just being undone, really. So Yuki built inside of the building, even dropping down to the floor below where the bomb site is located. Just completely ignoring the top floor from now. Just trying to get some kills on the bomb site itself. 1 minute and 25 seconds. So there's still enough time for him to work with. And at the same time, Koala being on the other side of the bomb site at the laundry room, for where he can potentially open up a wall or walk straight into the bomb site. But the pulse is still in play. Likely using his scanner quite a bit. Not at the moment though, but he will be using his scanner quite a bit to just analyze and find out where those players are. And it will be very difficult for the Entropy members to make a surprise entry here.
I think there's going to be a little bit of a rotate around the back here, and somehow, despite Yuki knowing it was going to come, Elazar comes out on top, but Koala's getting aggressive inside the site and finds another kill, and that's Prison to fall, but the defenders of Minions are able to win that one out, and this looks to be like they are going to get some momentum going here. 4-2 split on Villa.
Yeah, explosive round as you predicted, even though the explosives didn't get as many kills as they could have.
None of them.
But a great start for Minions there, taking out the IQ, the number one threat in their position, first one to go, only making things even easier for the members of Minions, and just having this 2-4 split, the best split that we have seen so far, is just a good one for Minions to hopefully do as good as the attacking team as well, and then hopefully win this map to bring us to a fort.
So far, they've fixed their biggest issue, which is every time they were getting the opening pick on the other maps, they just weren't using that to their full advantage. This time, Axie has been in and amongst it every single time, making sure that they open up this round with a kill and make sure that they get their team set up for greatness in that round, and that has worked time and time again, and this is what they've worked on. Evidently, they've talked about it, or they have a slightly better kind of strategy for approaching it, and they're just reacting better to having that opening pick than they have been over the last couple of maps, and it really hasn't looked as though Entropy have been really anywhere near them on this map at all. But of course, changing sides, things are going to be different. Again, Entropy very defender-sided, type of things, and they like these strats. They like to be a little bit more methodical with it, and they're going to have that mirror downstairs. We've seen it before. We've seen it in the upper bracket final. Can they deal with it? That's the case for Minions.
I was about to see this strategy. We have seen it before. I believe that was 2 weeks ago on a Monday, I guess.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit of time ago. It was like the beginning of May when we had this upper bracket final. So the upper bracket team had quite a bit of a break in order to prepare for this match. But yeah, we're seeing the same strategies again. And last time, I mean, even though it's not a key area to take control over, as it's just one bomb site, one room below the bomb site, it's still a very strong position as those verticals can be created. Just deny a proper entry for the attacking team. It's just a high traffic area as well, so as long as the defenders have control over these areas, it can be very difficult for the members of Minions to go for a proper attack on the bomb site itself.
Sneaky from Axie and Elazar downstairs. Drones out just to make sure they have as much information as possible. Koala has a nice little angle here onto that bathroom window in case anyone does go for the hop in, but they've at least been able to get as much of the vertical play as possible, and they've actually claimed that mirror. No one's playing on that mirror. Was it there just as a bit of bait, because they've used the strat before, and they've maybe just popped that down there just to try and catch Minions out and say, look, we played this strat against you a few weeks ago, but this time we're actually not going to play it. We're just going to show you it and not even play off of it, because Yuki is actually holding onto the red staircase and will likely to play for that rotate late round.
Yeah, Mira clearly falling back towards the red stair area. Can potentially still go for flank eventually, but she needs to be very careful because the position seems to be known. We see yellow is coming out. Yes, they know indeed. And it's Yuki getting the kill. And Elazar, he shouldn't have been able to get the kill. His position was known. They could have potentially, attackers could have decided to push together, but they didn't. And this caused the Mirror just get a kill and get away with it as well. Nade's coming out, not connecting yet. First with the kill of Vessi. It's a 4 versus 4, equal man counts. Yuki, however, being very low on HP, needs to be extremely careful. And then in the 50 seconds, Koala gets a kill on Blame. And just goes on and on. But Nade's just taking Axie out himself. This with a kill on Ahachi. Alex with a kill on Koala. Alex being injured himself. That's all coming out of prison. It's 2 versus 1 position. Does get the Jaeger. Could potentially go for the revive, but it's Yuki playing in study. Having a very nice line of sight over this hallway, being extremely low in HP, so the gunfire will be difficult, but he knows where Prison will be coming from.
Yuki is just behind the desk, and I don't think that Prison knows they've pushed as aggressive as that. Yuki's just going to use that player as bait, and sure, that's going to give away the position, and they know exactly where both people are. There's still a C4 available for Yuki if they want to use it, and they're going to have to try and play around the fact that the mirror window's against them, and it does melee out and hops round towards Study, and Prison now goes ring around the rosy to try and find them and gets the kill. Minions are able to take another round, and it looks as though they've heated up on Villa.
Yeah, about time the minions finally start winning rounds. And how about this round? What a beautiful round this was. A very interesting setup from Entropy, a very tricky one to read into, but maybe minions has had the ability or an option to look into the streams from the past, because we did see the strategy before. So potentially they were kind of prepared against it. Very early on, they managed to take control over those mirror window downstairs and just deny Mira from playing there. And from there, they just were able to put some pressure on the bomb side itself and managed to win the round in the end. So beautiful play from minions here, putting them on 2-5.
Really well done, yeah. Really, really well done, considering there was a few mistakes made there on their side. Of course, they just didn't quite pinch the Mira out and whatnot. There was a few kind of bits and pieces that weren't quite as tidy as they would have liked, but they got the win nonetheless, and that's good for them going forward. Of course, they're now 5-2, and that's given them a little bit of a cushion, a couple of rounds kind of to fall back on if they really need to. Shield's going to come in here from UK on that bedroom kind of on that bed inside the master bedroom, and that's where they're going to pop it, and I've not really seen it that much being used, so I'd like to see kind of how that plays into the kind of how the whole bit inside of that master sort of thing.
This time it's also Capcan and the Frost coming out, two operators that we tend to see quite a bit on a map like Villa. I think Villa is one of those maps where we just see them the most, maybe even, and just so incredibly effective. Like, you have probably heard already so many times, but the higher the rank in Siege, the higher the competitive level of the level of competitive play, the more prominent those kind of utilities are. And there's something just because of the rounds. Very little time towards the end, and then just going to be absolutely destructive.
Hachi's not quite realised where the Tracers came from there, and thinks that they're close, but in actual fact they're quite far back on that kind of hop of the area outside on the little balcony bit. So they're quite far back. They're not really going to get an engagement that close as of yet. And speaking of getting engagements close, it looks as though Elazard is creeping up towards 90 and wants to try and take someone on. And there's a couple of players on the top floor just roaming around, of course, moving around things. Yuki's going to find the first kill, and that's actually dropped out of this round with Brisk teeing up the nade to send it deep there, but it's going to get caught in the animation. It's not going to find anything from Yuki. There's a down on the other side of things as Elazard is in that situation, and it's downstairs, I think. Or, it's in Purple Land, and the C4 though is going to finish them off. It's a 5-3, 5-1, and it looks as though Entropy are just going to bite right back with the aggression of their own, finds Alex and leaves Prison in a 1 versus 5 scenario, but they're all just going to start over peeking and trying to collect the kill and finish the round, but Prison just gobbles that up and takes Yuki's life.
Yeah, at least one kill on the pocket, no flawless win there, or one win there for Entropy. That's denied. And as he gets a second, it's just a 3 versus 1 now. Still very difficult one to come back from, especially with the... okay, I was say the first step, he hopefully checks it for it, but he does. So it's the 3 versus 1 right now, with still half of the round remaining. Quite a bit of time for him to check for the bits of utility that plays pulls. He's still in play. He's on the drone, or he wants to go on the drone, at least the Nomad, but with the pulls in play. He can constantly check where the Nomad is. He doesn't seem to know where he is at the moment. Yeah, he does now. He has found the Nomads, and he can completely communicate the information towards his team. And therefore, it will be very difficult for Prison here to clutch things out.
Yeah, really well. Of course, they have the constant information on where he's playing. Going to send out some air jabs just to make sure that no one can get too aggressive on doorway. The smoke will go out just to waste some time. And the shotgun will play close, doubled up with NT. Doesn't even get past the shotgun anyway. Koala is there to just snatch that kill and finish off the round in favour of Entropy.
Yeah, Entropy winning a round after, I believe, losing 2 or 3 in a row. So at least that's another round going back to Entropy. Putting us in the 3-5, still 2 points behind their opponent, Minions. And Minions only 1 point away from getting that map, or being on map point, and 2 away from winning this map. So Minions still in a good position. It's not too bad that they just lost this round. They can still come back from this. And they still have this advantage to take their time on winning those rounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's been good either side. I think that Minions won't be too worried as of yet. They've had a good map so far. They'll be feeling nice and aggressive and whatnot. And the thing is that was the offside. That was the tertiary site. And the way that Entropy play, they are the side that are more than likely to go to these offsites because they'll usually have something prepped for it. That's exactly what they had there. They had a pretty good spread of the operators, and it looked as though, to be honest, the best kind of piece of analysis you can put onto it, it really did look like Minions didn't have a clue how to attack it. They just didn't really know where these players were going to be. They were caught out so quick how they were killed off, and it's just sometimes, despite it being the off-site, despite it not being the stronger site, it can actually be stronger for some teams if that's their playstyle, and that's what we really see from Entropy. But we're going to go to a different site, back to normality, up towards the Aviator games, and we'll see if they can come up with the goods here.
Yeah, the 3-5 score, it's again here Minions for another attacking round. They've been doing well, they just lost one in the previous round. They did too well as well. So we'll see how things go. Entropy just finishing up their setup, but is Hachi already getting in a gunfight here? I'm not sure. I think it's just from outside, someone pre-firing a window or something. I don't
Oh
get
my
it.
word.
And
Yuki. Straight out the window, knew exactly where someone was on the rappel, hops out, doesn't quite go their way, doesn't even land a single punch on any of minions, and they're going to be punished for that. Piece of aggression. This is the thing with Entropy. They've brought it at the right times. They brought the aggression to counter minions' aggression, but there's an example of when it's not worked, unfortunately. Back to site we go, and we're going to have to see a little bit of a turtle strat, I think, from this time.
losing my words for the previous bit of action that just happened there. But okay, there's one member down on the side of Entropy. It's a 4 versus 5. Entropy just suffered a little bit of more damage there on the cap cam, but besides that, they're just still fine. As we're just now passing, reaching that 2-minute mark. There's still a lot of time for the attacks to work with. They have got their first pick, and they're just looking for more. They're already getting pretty close towards the bomb site. IQ also still being in play. They still look for bits of utility. Goyo canisters being popped, just taking away the bits of utility that are still available for the defending team. And then eventually the ace will likely open up some walls, and then we'll see the execute happen.
I have spied an area of concern for Entropy. They have Vase on a TCSG again, and if we remember back to Oregon, not the most ideal operator to have on that. So we'll see how that plays out later on in the round. But Entity takes quite a bit of damage if they're able to get themselves back to sight, and the wall from 90 is now open up, and that'll put quite a bit of pressure to any players that are around that vault area. Vasya has the longer angle towards the end of the 90 hallway, utilising those feet holes that have already been pre-made, so that if anyone does push up there, they will see those tootsies and be able to shoot them straight in the toes. But it's just a little bit of a stalemate as they wait out to try and figure out where they are going to start this execute from.
Yeah, just a bit of time that the attackers need to take to find some ways. Just also here the IQ just laying there at the bridge, just waiting for the defender to just expose himself to make a mistake and get an easy kill there. Anti just right around the corner, being very low HP, so gunfight there should be very easy to win against him. But at the same time, as long as no one moves, nothing will happen, and that's not a way to win the round. So attackers need to make that move very soon, and that's exactly what's happening. Lots of damage being done here on Vessi. Anti getting a kill on the Axel, but Alex with a kill Anti, and Alex with a kill on Vessi. It's a 2 versus 4, but as Hachi gets a kill, it's a person with another kill on Koala. It's all coming down to Hachi. The Capcam in the 1 versus 3 has his guns, his pre-placed traps, will potentially just still do a bit of damage, and his Blame reclaims the diffuser. He will likely start to attempt to put it down very soon, but I don't seem to know where Hachi is. Hachi finds Blame, does do a bit of damage, but unfortunately no kill, after which Blame is now going for the defuse, and Hachi's position becomes even more difficult.
We have a peculiar place to actually go for the plant, but has plenty of coverage from Study now, as Hachi has to try and decide where they want to go from. Prison has the door held, though, from Study side, so there's not really a push to come for Hachi, and I think it's pretty much gone already for them. There's not really much they can really do. 30 seconds on the clock, and is able to sneak in there as Prison's actually came back a little bit, holding a tighter angle, but Hachi is dealt with anyway, as Brisk has the longer angle from inside of Bar and gets that shut down, and Minions go onto map point for the first time today.
Yeah, and like I said in the previous season, this is the moment where the underdog team, or at least the team that's kind of losing at the moment, starts winning somehow. I'm not sure how it goes, because like you would expect, if a team loses 2 maps in a row, kind of their morale has completely gone down the drain. But it clearly seems like the teams in the past, at least, have been very positive minded. Just keep fighting till the very end, and this has brought Minions to this 3-6 point, where they just need one more round to bring us to the 4th map and to finally earn their first map points. So they have, since they have an advantage of 3 points, they have 3 rounds to do so. So somewhere in the upcoming 3 rounds, they will need to win 1 point. Otherwise, we will go to overtime, which of course I'm not looking forward to. But this 3 rounds, that's where they need to make it happen.
Certainly do. You know, I think though that Minions have pretty much put their stamp on this map, to be honest. I think that this is over and out for Entropy. I just don't see this working out for them. They just seem to be the better team on this map, which is nice to see. I like to see them coming back from that kind of poor start that they've had. They haven't really felt like themselves today. I'm glad that they've at least been able to find the groove, and what, you know, they're looking like they're maybe going to pick up another map here, or for their first map anyway, and you know, maybe that'll lead them to greater things. Maybe we'll see a reverse sweep. I love to see it. That's exactly what we want to see. That's the perfect storyline. You know, we'd love to see it.
Storyline, something we love, and something that we have been offered so many towards this grand final. And I just love to see it. Frost traps just being just in the last bit of seconds that are still remaining for the defenders to be safe. And meanwhile, the attackers are just approaching the building. IQ being very effective about pointing out certain bits of utility that have been placed. Maybe even gathering some information about who they're playing against. I mean, of course, you will also gather information about which operators have been picked. So that's at least a very smart way of approaching the building and being very effective. After which attackers are now ready to put some pressure from the outside and eventually make their way inside.
Yeah, a little bit slower here on this attack here, minions. They just take their time, making sure that they get themselves in the right positions and whatnot. Hatchie's downstairs, of course. We've seen Hatchie give a good and valiant effort to try and clutch it last time, but not to be. Hopefully this time they can come up with something. The Twitch drone has found the first ball. Yuki now moving towards it, and it's going to get caught out here. That's a big mistake on side for Entropy, unfortunately. Alex gets a freebie onto Yuki. He's not paying attention to that repel, and they've spotted out the Thunderbird downstairs. A nade is going to find its mark onto the feet of Koala. Brisk is the one that gets that, and it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy for the side of minions. They take that map in flawless fashion, and we are definitely going to be seeing 4 maps today at least.
Yeah, 4 maps, that's indeed confirmed, I believe. Do you remember the 4th map by any chance?
Off the top of my head, I actually don't know, because I'm not actually expecting it though. But what I will do is in this brief second, I will discover where we are heading. So give me 1 second. But there is, of course, a desk that are going to break it down anyway. But we do have, I do have it in my ear. It's mentioned in my ear. We're going to be going to cafe for the next map. Yes, but anyway. We don't get to discuss that. We're not here that. We're here to just shout at the game and get excited. We do have a desk available that are going to go through that. I'll throw it over to Zesht and our analysts.
Wow. I mean, damn, that was a smooth transition, wasn't it? Who could have thought at the beginning of this series, we sat here and said, you know what? How about this becomes a, free, we can all go home. Should be all easy, right? We were all wrong, and damn wrong we were. So once more before we go into it, and it's going to be the last time I'm doing this, Pooble, I see you're muted, so you definitely have to unmute yourself before you do any nonsense, but you give me the magic word to see if you are there.
Minions.
And the same goes for you, Arya.
Entropy.
So now we're going to let Chet decide if we're actually being heard or not, or if we're all trolling ourselves, as we have done in the past. Well, either way, jokes aside and bamboozling aside, it is a bit of a, let's say, shocker, in a good way, because I'm very much positively surprised of what Minions have actually delivered here, considering that they were down 0-2, not delivered the most convincing series. But at the end of the day here, Arya, they have taken home a map that we saw as a strategical powerhouse for Entropy, but none of that happens.
100%. It's a map that everything was against Minions. There was nothing really showing that Minions would have such a strong set of gameplay on Villa. It just, we saw Entropy. They've won it so convincingly before and so strong. We thought, Entropy wins it. But no, Minions came back to life, apparently. Map 1 and 2, they were seeming that they just weren't there. They weren't hitting the shots. All the players weren't really that active. But coming into, map number 3, the players were reinvigorated. They kind of woke back up essentially, and we just saw a completely, we saw the Minions that we typically do see. We see the aggression that they normally do bring, and everything just seemed to work in their favor.
All right, and this is the point in time where we have to talk about a few strengths, a few weaknesses. We have to talk about what worked so well. And Pooble, you were investing on it from map 2 on. You were putting all your money into it. Said, you know what? If this is my life fortune, if this is my savings, whatever. All in Axel, and it once more seems to pay some good dividends to you.
Yeah, well, Axie investors, you went through the recession on Bank, the depression in Oregon, but they're on the rise once again. He really dictated the pace of that map. We saw anytime he was opening death, Minions just looked lost. But when he was alive, they were just firing on all cylinders. They looked incredibly strong. And I think he's really just a key part there. The aggression he brings, the pressure it adds onto the enemy team. It's really nice seeing the Minions finally win after these good performances. They finally got a map on the board.
Easy. Beautiful. I mean, good that we discussed that. Moving a little bit further though, it has been a situation where, particularly for you, Arya, we have witnessed that this is a great strength, right? But it can also be a big weakness if suddenly that player is missing and is the first death.
Yeah, when you're normally with teams that rely on a sole player to make those big moves, make the hero plays, as we do say, it generally doesn't look the best for those sort of teams. But we've seen over the past 3 maps, Axie he's just gone off insane. But now that, on map number 3, when he actually had the teammates were also kind of backing up that aggression and getting those frags as well, we just seen the absolute powerhouse of the side Minions can bring. They seem to be unstoppable at the minute.
And especially when we then talk about the traits, I think that goes the same way, Pool, right? I think it looked overall like a more cohesive, more team-working kind of Minions. And this is something we definitely want to see them do also in map 4.
Yeah, we had our criticisms in the first 2 maps of Minions getting in these good situations early on, but just letting it slip through their fingers. And, well, this time that really never happened. When they got those advantages, they stuck with them. They were playing as a cohesive unit, not as just 5 gunners. They were a team, and it's really the key to success in this match. They need to be playing as a team. Because Entropy, they have that sort of veteran attitude. They're so good at just playing as a group. That's how they won the Season 4 finals. So Minions really need to sort of adapt to that and kind of mimic that and play more as a cohesive unit to get those trades and not let these easily winnable rounds just slip through their fingers.
And just letting you guys go right now, Yuki as well as Axel, they're both right now in a kill race. The stats provided by Pasta, 31 and 30. We definitely are still looking who's going to grab the MVP trophy from this entire best of 5 series that we're witnessing right now. Let's stray away from this, right? Let's move away from what we have just seen right here on Villa as we're moving over to Cafe. Totally different battlefield, totally different battleground. And when we take a look at the recent kind of games that we have witnessed, when we're taking a look at the Minions also playing that, we regularly see them banning out one of those, right? Or their opponent doing so in the second ban phase. So starting with you here, what is your expectation coming into Cafe?
Yeah, Cafe, we don't have a lot of, we haven't seen them play it very often. So that could mean, Minions are going to have something up their sleeve here, and we could see something quite, surprising coming from them. But I'm going to reiterate the points that we made to start before Villa. Villa, Cafe is, again, one of those strategic maps that this shouldn't favor the side of Minions. But we also saw that for Villa, and they just went ahead and absolutely stormed past Entropy. But now that they're firing on all cylinders, I think, they're definitely in a good fighting chance here coming into Cafe.
Yeah, and I think that Entropy should win on Cafe, but I've been wrong every time. So
yeah,
I'm gonna say Minions win on Cafe just to be right.
So, you know what? We have already delivered our predictions. We have already talked about what might just going to happen. We have given you a rough idea of what's going on. Chat, let us know, who's going to pick up map 4, who actually is taking up that map number 4. Let us know right now. Until then, I would say I have a beautiful casting duo that has been doing a great job for 3 maps in a row. How about we give them a 4th? Let's dive directly into it. Max, Jamboree, please guide us through this.
Thank you very much to the wonderful desk again. We're ready to go with map 4. I think, of course, in the background, our spectators just started up, so we've only got a couple. It's a minute or 2 before we get ready to go. And they broke things down and they really touched on the kind of key points and whatnot, Max. But I'm eager to hear your opinion on what you think is going to happen in the cafe.
This could be the moment that Minions is completely turning around. After not performing too well on the first 2 maps, I mean, they did get close, but it just wasn't enough. This could be the moment that they finally work things around and finally start winning those maps again after again. So if they will win this map, it will be a 2-2 score, and then we would head to the final 5th decider. But I think, by the fact that they just won the map, I think their momentum and their morale went up, which could highly boost them and actually would enable them to win this map.
I hope so, because I want to see all 5 maps. I want to make sure that we didn't all get dressed up for nothing. I want to see every single map. I want to see if we can really drag it out as long as possible and see as much siege before we finish off, of course, for the season. But, I still think that Entropy will edge it in the end of things, because that, the decider map is theme park, and that just is in the background of my mind. I'm thinking, Entropy on theme park is a bit of a daunting task, I think, for Minions. But, we've still got Cafe to go ahead, and like I say, we're just waiting to get started here, so you'll get to see our beautiful faces for just a couple more seconds before we get started with where we are. And the thing is with Cafe is that it's a bit of a funky map, because of course, it's a lot taller than other maps. There's a lot more floors. There's a lot more vertical play to be had. So that is really impactful in the way that this will play out, really.
Yeah, especially the rooftop floor. Like, it's not a playable area for the defenders, but it's one that you will find attackers spending quite a bit of time. Just the top floor is one of those buildings where you actually approach the map so many times just from the rooftop, just stacking up on the rooftop, gathering information, opening those hatches, jumping in from the skylights, entering from those windows. Cafe is just one of those maps with an incredible amount of windows and just top to bottom clearing. And that's exactly what we likely will be seeing here. And as the map is now loading in, we're jumping into this fourth map for today, which is Cafe Dostoevsky, with, again, Entropy on Team Blue playing as a defending team, and Minions on Team Orange as the attacking team.
Oh, I'm excited, Max. I'm buzzing off my chair. I'm really, really excited to get this finished. I think we're getting map 5. I'm going to be honest. I think Minions are going to take this. This is Minions map pick. I think we're getting it. I'm hoping for it. I've got my fingers crossed, like 4 times, fingers, toes, everything is crossed, just to make sure that we can get it, just because I want to see as much siege as possible. Then again, will my voice last that long? I don't know. I did a best of 5 as well yesterday, but first ban again, Ayana. Are we surprised? I don't think we are.
Nope. No, this is the 4th time that we're seeing her being banned today. In general, she wasn't banned that much during the season, but just this today, I don't know, like it might even be somewhat of a target ban then, really, like there's one of these players really likes to play Yana, is really good with Yana, but that might just be it. And then Jekyll, a little bit less surprising. Again, Cafe, like you're saying, quite a big map, lots of verticals, many staircases, quite a bit of ways for defenders to rotate around, and it can just be an absolute mess to keep a track of them. And but Jekyll would be the solution for that one, but that one has just been banned by Minions, so no Jekyll being played, and his accomplice, like the other Spanish operator, Mira, also being taken care of, so no Spaniards today, as both of them are gone.
Yep, no surprise that both those bans, to be honest. Normally the Ayana ban would be like, but I'm surprised we've been banned every single map, though. So for those of you that are just tuning in now, this is the Ayana ban, the 4th time of asking. We're never going to see Ayana, I think, in this series. I don't think we'll see it on Theme Park either if we do get there. Valk with the final ban on Cafe Dostoevsky, a very strong operator on this map. Of course, so many nooks and crannies that you can hide those little Valk cams, and they will not be present inside of the server for this one. But we'll find out where we're going to be going in terms of the site just now.
Yeah, the site just appeared. It's going to be Bar Cocktail Lounge. I think it's a very normal one to start out on. It's usually either this one or the kitchen bomb site. So nothing too surprising here. Cafe is one of those maps where, again, every single bomb site is very much playable. I think the lesser one would be Mining Fireplace, where the Fireplace reading would be the 3rd option, really. But in the end, everything can be played. And we have seen all being played. So that makes Cafe, in my opinion, a really interesting map.
It really does. The thing for me, though, that is a little bit of concern for... Actually, do you know what? It's actually a bit of concern for both teams, right? Because Entropy are on the defense to start with, and Entropy, again, defender-side of the team. They like to have a deep strat book and whatnot, and really kind of play with the kind of anchor holes and whatnot, so favoured for the defensive side. However, Minions, aggressive as ever, they are generally a bit more attacker-sided, so it's kind of like, well, both teams are starting on their favoured side, so should be a banger to start with, at least.
Right. Yeah, indeed. And as the members of Entropy are completely renovating the building, just completely changing it to how they like it to be, putting castle barricades, opening holes, creating new lines of sight, rotation points. I think they are pretty much ready for Minions to come at them. Some windows already being opened, just tiny peek holes, which is really scaring Minions to approach the building, of course. They need to be very careful, because Entropy might already be waiting for them, well, before even reaching the building. So that's one of the things that Minions need to be careful for. But for now, most members have made it safely to the building, and well, like I already said, most of them likely will see stacking up on the top floor first, like on the rooftop, while some also are there on the east side on the terrace, actually.
Always takes a bit of time to set up the takes on Cafe just because of the nature of the map. There's a lot of rappels and whatnot, and you also have to get to the roof, and just the way the map is designed, it does take a lot of time to actually set it up. So you actually end up losing that minute just because of the nature of the map. Vasi gets droned inside of reading, so they seem to know that there's a little bit of a presence in that side of things. Pops a couple of shots around the corner into the shoulder of Elazar, but Axie is immediately there to find the life of Hachi, who's coming down to support his comrade of Vasi. And now Elazar seems to think that there's going to be a rotate round from behind. The red ping comes through, so there's at least some knowledge for Vasi to work with as they try to find the players inside a read-in. But Brisk has a nade with Yuki's name on it, and that is 2 kills inside a minute and a half in favour of the side of Minions.
Yeah, indeed. This is a 3 versus 5 position right here. Attackers have mostly got rid of all the roamers. Just the Mozzie still playing downstairs. Will either need to get some kills from there or stall the attackers as much as he can, or needs to find a way safe back to the bomb site. And all of those are going to be very tricky for him, as his position is now known. Attackers can approach him from 2 different sides, either from mining or from fireplace. And there's Nuk Axie already waiting for him and taking him out. 2 versus 5 right now, with with only Koala and Anti left standing, and every single attacker will soon make their way towards the top floor and make it very difficult for the Entropy members.
Yeah, just struggling here so far in the first round. The proximity alarm will go off and give at least a hint that there is someone at the top of that white staircase. Prison finds Koala on the other side of things and then leaves Enti in a 1 versus 5 scenario. But the Candelas are coming around, a cacophony of sounds just to make their ears ring all over the place. Eventually, the gun of Elazar does collect its victim and shuts that round out for Minions.
Yeah, so again, the team would need it the most. I mean, then I'm talking about Minions, one who's currently still down 1 man point compared to Entropy, are again the team to make the opening round here. So that's a very good thing to see for Minions. They need it the most here. Of course, Entropy really would like to win this map and end things for today, but Minions is not having any of it. Just winning this first round puts them up 1-0 and provides some further opportunities for the remainder of this map. We're now heading to kitchen service. Kitchen cooking, the bomb site, like I already talked about. This is either the first bomb site to play or the second. It's either one of those two. And this is where we now will see Entropy playing. I'm not going to attempt the same one for a second time. Just trying another one first and going back to the top floor later.
Yeah, down to the bottom floor they go. I imagine we'll see a turtle strap for the most part, just with Hatchie out in that lone roam on the top floor to be a bit of a nuisance. Of course, has the Vigil. No Jackal on side, so it's going to be a little bit of an issue to try and find them. And of course, these drones are going to have to be pinpoint precision. I would imagine it would maybe see a Decabe off the back of that. Or, you know what, Minions? Don't even bother listening to me. Let's just go for the Blitz Rush or the Monty Rush or whatever shield you want to go for, because it looks as though that is the situation. They kind of teased it for a sec there that they were going to go for a Blitz Rush with the Candelas as well. But open to just come off of it and instead bring that Montaigne instead.
Yeah, Montaigne kind of signals that we will see Montaigne trying to get control likely over Bakery. I mean, that's one of the reasons to take Monty, really. Or it could be more from the garage side where, I mean, like around Christmas tree, and also like usually you see people like holding up positions. And oh, actually, he's already inside the prep. I completely missed out on that one. Already being in contact with the Thunderburst Koala, while the other attacker came, causing mayhem there in Bakery. Opening walls, throwing impact nades, using all sorts of utility. Yuki already trying to counter them, but unfortunately, you see 4 not doing any bit of damage. And with the walls being opened up within the first 40 seconds, I think the attackers are in a very good position to put an enormous bit of pressure on the bomb site itself.
Yeah, really good position here established. Yuki's already sent out their C4 as well and not been able to find anyone with it, so it's a little bit of a waste. The walls are well and truly open, so but the thing is as well, they've used the ace, so it's not quite in the most ideal situation in terms they have to hop through it. They're going to have to give up at least a little bit of position when they do that. Koala takes quite a bit of damage on the longer angle. Elzard is trying to find someone into the deeper angle and prep there. A red Flores drone will displace Koala as you have to move out in front of everyone, but there's no one really there to capitalise on that movement. Vasi finds one. It's Axie that drops, and the Monte is now going to go on the hunt to try and find that refrag onto Vasi outside inside of that hallway.
Yeah, currently the lead, or at least a man advantage going to the defending team. Of course, the Thatcher has been taken care of, but the attackers have so much control. They just can straight into bomb site and make it very difficult for them to play there. But as long as Anti is playing up top, that could be a problem. He takes a kill there on Blame, but it gets finished off by Alex. It's a 3 versus 4, but as we speak, Elazar gets a kill on Hachi. A 3 versus 3, and now it's an equal man count with both sides suffering a bit of damage. But as I'm speaking, it's Prison getting injured and finished off by Vessi, bringing things to 3 versus 2 with 1 minute remaining.
And only the one gun on side, of course, in the form of the AK-12 in the hands of Elazar, as there is the Montaigne of Alex North, but he's holding the angle a little bit lower here. If he drops this hatch, then this could go either way in terms of the gunfight. Vasi seems to know that that's the position they're going to take it from. The vertical hole is made, and that will displace the warden as they have to move and dance around inside of kitchen to make sure that they're not weak to any of that vertical play. But Vasi's just going to pop right round and lose the gunfight to Alex as he pulls out the pistol and kills them off and brings it to that 2 versus 2 situation.
Yeah, kind of like the rounds have been going up and up, up and down. Though so is this round going. Yuki now getting killed, Elazar leaving Alex all alone, and being the Monty in this 2 versus 1 position, that's just extremely difficult. As a Monty, you only have this much gun power really, and that makes things just very difficult. He does have the shield to put on his back, which kind of covers him to go for the defuse here. The question is, do the defenders know? Yes, they do. It's Koala finding the Monty as he was on 2/3 of the plant or the defuse. And therefore, this round then goes to the defending team, which is Minions, winning another round.
Certainly a choice to stick to the
wrong, it's actually Entropy, sorry.
Yeah, certainly a choice for they wanted to stick the diffuser there. Didn't have to. Could have came off of it and tried to get a kill. But that's what it is. Maybe they just, thought they were a bit closer than what they were. That was a missed opportunity there, I think, for Minions. They had a good position very early on the round, and they just didn't really use it to its full advantage. Unfortunately, let it slip, and Entropy get themselves a round on the board because of that. One each on Cafe Dostoevsky. And I think we're going to go to a middle site here, and that looks as though we are. Of course, Entropy are going to bring out a couple of operators that are relatively spicy. You don't see the Thunderbird often. I like to see it. I like to see it brought, and if there's anyone that's going to bring it, it's going to be Console. It's going to be Entropy who's going to bring the Thunderbird, and also bringing along that castle just to make sure that they can slow down this approach from Minions.
Yeah, slowing down approach is one of the key things to do as a defender, and especially with this bomb site, just being on the top floor is so important. Like I've already said before from previous maps, having top control is just key for this bomb site. Either as a defender, you can use it very well to defend the bomb site from above, but at the same time, if it ends up in the hands of the attacking team, they can make it so difficult for you as a defender to play on site. So therefore, it's just super important to take control over the top floor, and in the process, waste a lot of time as the attackers will likely try to go for it, to establish proper control. So, yeah, very understandable for them to just put so much pressure on the top floor as the defenders, and likely we see the same thing happen from the attackers as well right now.
Yeah, I haven't even seen where they're attacking from, actually. We spent so much time just watching this setup. We don't actually know where they are. I think they've all made their way to the roof. This is the thing about Cafe, is you lose 30 to 40 seconds just because of the nature of the map, because you have to negotiate the way to the top of the map and get yourself onto that roof, and then you can begin your execute. So it's a little bit tricky. You have to play a little bit faster than you maybe would like because of that later on in the round. There's quite a few castle barricades that have to be dealt with, but easy peasy for the Sledge, who is making right out of the round. Yuki! Nasty shot there onto Bresky, who just reacts way quicker than the Sledge could and takes the head right off. And that is the opening pick for Entropy.
Yeah, it could have been a beautiful surprise moment there for the Sledge to get a kill there on the Castle, but Castle, of course, his position wasn't known to the Sledge, and therefore a beautiful kill. Meanwhile, Alex getting inside, getting a bit of control, but a C4 from below. One I didn't expect to see coming, but in the end it's Koala then taking out Alex. That's another attacker of the board. Baku was about to go for a hard breach and make many verticals. A key operator, key attacker of the board inside of Minions was going to really hurt their attack strategy, as they only have the ace now remaining to make those verticals, either with the two breaching charges that he has or with his hard breaching utility.
They know where this IQ is going to come from because they've closed off absolutely everything possible. They don't have the utility to open it up, so Axie's going to have to get aggressive across the cocktail balcony, and does just that. Then moving up to the room just to the left, of course, the cocktail area. Isles up, it's quite a bit of damage through the vertical play, and will have to drop themselves back a little bit and be a little bit more reserved. Of course, Koala is the one on that vertical play. The C4 was gone already from them earlier in the round. There's still a C4 or two, actually, in the pocket of both Vasi and Enti, so there's still quite a bit to play with in terms of the utility side for the defense. But Elzar's, I think, is going to lose this one out just in perspective, because I don't think they realise how far away Hachi actually is in the mining side of things.
Yeah, as we actually expected in a different person, Hachi does get the kill there on Prison, so that's another attacker losing his life. Elshot himself also being extremely low in HP, getting finished there by the C4, but Axie getting a kill there on Koala. It's only Axie, the IQ left standing, gets found by Enti, gets taken out, and that's a round win there for Entropy, putting them in the lead. And just another defensive win here.
Yeah, puts them for the first time in lead, of course, inside of Cafe, 2-1. It's looking good so far for both teams. I mean, both teams have looked pretty decent. They've showed us, why they're in the final, at least inside of Cafe. They've been pretty good. And I think it's going to be balanced. I think we're going to go back and forward a couple of rounds here, at least I'm hoping to. Back to Baron Cocktail, the only round so far that Minions have been able to win. So we'll see if they can replicate that this time.
Yeah, the only other choice Entropy really has is going to Fireplace, mining. Not many teams want to go there, really. I really think it's the lesser option in this case. Yes, it's still playable, but yeah, that's clearly avoided in most cases. Meanwhile, Hachi already being very effective on just finding some of those drones very early on, just denying that early information from his opponents, taking 2 drones off the board, so total 8 drones remaining for the attacking team. And that's just a good start, at least, to just deny those little things. Those little things can be very impactful, and it's just a little effort which will be paying off.
They certainly can. I think Minions will be happy if they're able to get a couple, 1 or 2 more rounds. I think Entropy really want to try and get as many as they possibly can on this defense, I would imagine. So anyone that they can steal for minions would be ideal. But again, this hasn't been the game that we've expected. We've seen a few things that we've just really not expected from both teams, and could still go either way. Could be going to theme park, could be finishing here in favour of Entropy. But I imagine that minions will have something to say about that before we find out. 2 minutes and 30 on the clock, and again, first 30 to 40 seconds of Cafe generally is a little bit slower than any other map, just because it takes quite a while to move.
Yeah, like again, it's just one of the buildings that takes quite a bit of time, and once they finally get the rooftop, then it actually starts happening. C4 is being pre-placed, but unfortunately not finally targeting. A nice attempt there, as Blame was getting ready to use the sledgehammer to open up that hatch, but then the C4 just doing the job for him in the end. In the end, the floor drones being captured by those Mozzie pests. Unfortunately, Mozzie cannot control those, but he still stops them in the track, which is at least something. But I think those explosion drones can be very valuable, and those unfortunately lost that way.
Hatchy down below with a Solus, trying to spot out as much intel as possible, feed it back to the team to make sure they can react off of it. And instead, you know what, he's just going to take it in his own hands, get a kill onto Axie and Elzar there, double kill, free as a bird. He's on the repel and no one seems to pay attention and pay the respect to that, but Brisk might get caught out, just swinging in, does just that. Enti, very quick on the trigger, gets that kill, and it's a 3 versus 3 situation. Hatchy knows exactly where the diffuser is and spots a player going towards the hatch, but is caught out before they can even make enough impact to get the kill. Prison down to about 10 HP and at least downs the player. Elzar's going to try and get that finished off. 2 versus 3s. Prison finds the life of Hatchy, and now it is a 2 versus 3 fully after the down is found.
Yeah, 2 versus 3 fully indeed. The only thing that's not full is the health of Prison. A gunfight easily can be lost unless he gets headshots, of course, but one bullet will take him out, and yeah, we'll see the action already happening very soon. He gets spotted, he gets shot in his direction, but it is the throws his flashbangs, but it is the Warden. Can of course deny those flashes, finds a kill on Elazar's, and then Enti with a kill on Prison, but Alex with a kill on Vasti. It's a 1 versus 1. Both players full HP. Alex, the Heart Breacher, has a Claymore as well. Doesn't have any drones at the moment. I mean, just placed on the floor somewhere, but he doesn't have them in hands. Still one little bit of Heart Breaching utility, but Enti also having the C4. This can really go either way. And with 30 seconds, Alex is playing very aggressive to find a final player. He knows where he is. Just for it being thrown, but he dodges it completely. Goes for the rotates through the breach. The question is, will the other player? No, he doesn't seem to know, but yet the gunfight happens. Both bit of damage done on each side. Enti just kind of a mouse game, just dancing around these walls and open walls. And yeah, just lots of damage being done on Alex. Still alive, still in the fight. As the time ticks on, the time is just gonna finish up. 6 seconds remaining. And he needs to find Alex. Alex is going for the defuse. Where is Alex? He's right behind the thing. It tries to bait him, but in the end, Enti gets the final kill on Alex. And it's a defensive round win for Entropy.
I mean, we get a minute, almost a minute of a ring rosies. Yeah. They just go round and round and round, trying to find each other. Everybody missing shots at the wrong time and whatnot. It is what it is. It could have went either way. Minions, unfortunately, they had the better position in that round, and they just let it slip again. So it's getting to the point where I'm kind of annoyed with them. No, I'm not annoyed. I'm hurting for them because they're getting so close. They're getting so close to winning these rounds, and it's not really working for them. They're not quite getting the final kind of shot, the final kind of clutch and whatnot. It's just not going their way. They had the 3-2 advantage there, and they fortunately let it slip. Alex, as valiant as it was to try to get it one out, but just couldn't really get it done. And now we're in a 3-1 situation, and I think though that we'll start to see Entropy feeling a bit more confident, I think.
Yeah, the only thing we need to keep in mind here was the map pick of minions, for which reason Entropy didn't get to pick the site for a start on, so it's somewhat understandable that the attack is not working to the fullest potential here for minions, and if they can turn this at least into a 4-2, so 2-4 for them, then I do think they still have some potential in the after the roll swap, where they will be playing as a defending team. So just need one more round of the upcoming 2 to still make things a bit possible. But if it turns out to be a 5-1, then it's gonna be tricky.
Yeah, it really is. It really would be if that was the case. I think though that they do still have a couple more rounds in them. Like I say, it's been fine margins in a few of these rounds. You just need a couple of you just need a little bit of luck to go their way, and that sometimes just is the case when it comes to Siege. They just need something to go their way, and it just hasn't really happened as of yet. Hopefully it does in the next couple of rounds so that they can stay within the series. But Hachi, he's going to be on the roam, has the Vigil. We've seen it a couple of times in a few different, players' hands and whatnot. It hasn't been crazily impactful. We'll see if Hachi can come up with a performance though on this round.
Yeah, and again, the slow start of the map, as we have seen every single round. 40 seconds expiring. Attackers are now getting ready to make their first move. Hachi waiting on those red stairs, potentially for finding someone on top of that hatch. We have seen it countless times, at least the attempts. And he's just waiting for someone to come in. Does find a drone as well. Just a bit of intel to be in the night. But this is Alizard. He's already inside. Finds Vessi as well. The Vigil so close. Could easily respond to it, but we don't see any response yet. But Anti, however, does respond to Blame, just dropping into the building from the hatch. Gets a kill there. It's a 4 vs 4. Vigil doing lots of damage there on Alizard, taking him out as well. Anti getting damaged quite a bit either. But now things are finally starting to be calming down a little bit, although it's actually Alex that getting found by Anti, getting taken out, and then Liaxel with a kill of Anti. It's just going on, and there seems to be no stopping to it. It's the 3 vs 2 within the first 1.5 minutes.
May I remind you, Max, that the site is actually kitchen. It's downstairs. It's the basement, and no one's even got a sniff of that. You wouldn't even think there's actually sides to this, as both the attackers and defenders just seem to be everywhere on the map. There was some on the middle floor, some on the top floor. There was that both. He's not paying attention at all. Actually gets a freebie onto Hachi, who just doesn't know anything about it. I think he was on a drone potentially trying to get some intel. Unfortunately for him, that is now left his teammates in a 2 vs 2 situation. And Prison has the gridlock as well. There's no hard breach available though for them, so they're not going to be able to open anything up. They're going to have to be direct with it. They're going to have to funnel through doorways and try and isolate these 1v1s.
Yeah, both having 2 impact EMP nades. Nothing too useful. Maybe the best thing they can do at this moment is just to temporarily disable the rectangles in the guns of the opponents. Could maybe improve the chances on the gunfight a little bit more. But besides that, they don't have too much utility that can really help them. Only those track stimmers to maybe mask the plans or just deny certain rotations. But at time, that's also one thing to worry about. 25 seconds remaining. The attackers need to make a move very soon because the time works in the advantage of the defending team. And as Yuki finds Axie, it's all coming out of Prison, who does find the kill on Yuki. It's a 1 vs 1, Koala versus Prison. And the Prison finds the second as well. That's Koala also taken out. And it's an attacker round win.
What shot that is. Beautiful shot there to finish it off from the gridlock. We love to see it. We absolutely love to see it. That was what I was looking for. That's what I was saying, that they needed just something to go their way. Just anything. They just needed something.
Yeah.
You do get that a little bit of luck there. Players not paying attention to that longer angle, gets the kill, and just that's all they needed. Eventually, they get the round on the board, 3-2 now. I think they'd be happy now if they did lose this round out. They'd be kind of happy, but they want to try and push it to that 3-3 split, I think.
Yeah, like I already said previous round, that 4-2 is like the bare minimum minions probably want, but they will happily turn it into 3-3, which is even better, increases the chances even more for when they will be playing as a defending team. And yeah, with the 6 rounds, we will see what's going to happen right now. It's still Entropy on the defense here, the final round as a defending team, going to that middle floor, which is the library fireplace bomb site. I think it's going to be a fairly similar kind of setup that we saw before. I mean, the last time it worked for them, so let's just see how it goes now.
Yeah, I don't think they'll stray too far from what they showed us the last time. Of course, they got the castle on the top floor. They were very successful when they did do it, and I'm hoping that minions either play a little bit more direct, go straight for the site, maybe bypass that, or at least try and clear this a bit more together. Is what I'm looking for. Play it's a cohesive unit, and that's what I'm looking for. Just to play, off of each other, or using that kind of buddy system. Get the refrags and whatnot. Because they've not really done that to the greatest effect today.
Indeed. It's really up to the minion members to finally win this map as well. To bring us to 2 map points, series points for both teams. And we will see that 5th map being played, which we would love to see. So again, the attackers just approaching the building, looking for their way in. The top floor, the rooftop is going to be one of those key points to take again. They want to take this top floor, as like I've said before, is so strong in the hands of both of the teams, so they kind of want to get the control and take the control from their opponents. And this is what we'll see happening anytime soon. Just a bit of scouting, some utility being destroyed, and from there we'll soon see the entry happen and the first bit of damage being done.
Courtesy of Hachi, of course, gets the kill onto Brisk, and Hachi's been a menace on that staircase. The amount of times that he's popped up that staircase and got a kill off of, or a down or anything, or quite a bit of damage onto someone on that hatch is ridiculous. That's another one on the board there. It's Brisk to fall, who's not been having the greatest map so far. I suspect that when we move to the other side of things, it might be a little bit better. The yellow ping's coming out here for Elizard, who's going to try and react onto that. They're going to come off right at the wrong time as Vase, though, is able to get the drop shot. It's actually Yuki who's came to support their teammate as well. They're going to get downed, but Vase knows that there's someone close, and it's looking like a double down on the top floor, and we're going to get a swing all the way to 3-3. But a C4 from nowhere. Koala gets Alex, and now we're in a 3-2 scenario.
Very interesting fight there on the top floor, but I do believe that every single defender has likely fallen back towards the floor right below. So both Axie and Prison have a job to do. They need to find someone from these verticals to turn things back to an equal 2 versus 2 gunfight or like composition, and then they will significantly increase their odds to still be able to win this round. They do have logicals, they do have track stingers, so there's lots of utility available to them. But you just need to find those skills to just increase the chances a little.
Surely they know. Watch the head there through that garage. Garage? I don't know where I'm pulling that from. That fireplace. I don't know where I'm pulling garage from. I'm just thinking about that's where they're going to go to the bottom floor, but that's not where they are. JP, or Prison is what we're calling him. I keep going to go call him JP as well because I know someone personally called JP, but Axie is going to find himself dead to rights as Yuki has an angle covering towards that drop. Now Prison pushes in towards the reading room and has a diffuser in hand, can go for the plant there, gets the flick beautifully done, takes the head of Koala, knows there's another one to push up the brown staircase but can't quite land any shots, but the vertical play has been reclaimed. Death from above courtesy of Yuki. He's going to try and drop down now and try and put pressure towards Prison, who just has to decide which way do I go. Do I go for the plant? Do I go for the kill? There's 9 seconds on the clock. They're going to go for the plant. They have time to stick it before these players arrive, but no, they're going to go for the bait instead. They come off, try and find the kill. The pressure comes through, the rotate, but it's going to be surely in the defender's hands. Yes, it is. Entropy take a 4-2 split on Cafe.
Yeah, amazing team play here from Team Entropy. I mean, they knew there was only one player left on side. One of the defenders went upstairs, one went for the gunfight, and one went for the flank from the pillar area. Just such a smart way to just completely lock down the remaining attacker, which still magically managed to make his way into Fireplace, but then still in the 2 versus 1. That was just still a little bit too much, and there the final player got taken out. So that's indeed a round win there for the defending team.
So, we go to the defense, we change it up, and, well, Max, let's discuss the picks slightly, because I seem to think that there might be a little bit of a rush up Entropy's sleeve here.
It certainly seems like it. I mean, there's the Lion, there's the Blitz, there's the Amaru, there's the Ying. Like, Gridlock is the only one that doesn't necessarily mean a rush, but is very, very good at denying certain rotations and masking sound. So yes, it does certainly seem like a rush. And yeah, the question is, to what extent is Minions going to be prepared for it? Last time they weren't.
Yeah, worked on Oregon. We'll see if it works this time. This is the time to bring the aggression. As soon as the side switch happens, just get straight in the faces. Don't let them get any momentum at all. Don't let them get comfortable on that side. Just make sure you get right in there and try and win a round out, and then that puts the pressure right on to Minions, and I think that's what we'll like to see. I imagine that is kind of the scenario that we're going to see, and they have stuck them all the way through to the pick phase, so we are going to be seeing the Blitz on side, we are going to be seeing the Amaru and the Candelas on Ying as well, so you'll certainly be poised to make a rush out of this.
Yeah, the rush, of course, still going to be slowed down a little bit as the attackers need the time to actually approach the building. But once they're finally there, the action can happen. Was Edward preparing himself? I'm not even sure whether Amaru, what her job is. I mean, maybe just opening the window already and then just jumping in. But yeah, they're just relocating themselves on the rooftops, on the windows. Hachi already being ready with the launcher in hands. And yeah, just waiting for the moment. Ying Candela's already enhanced. Lion Scan will come at any second, and then the attackers will hop in and cause absolute mayhem.
Peculiar choice there from Hachi there to open that up before they do the rush. Of course, it will not hide the sound cue, but it doesn't really matter because Candelas are going to be absolutely everywhere. Smoke Babes come out as well, and the plant is going down courtesy of Yuki, but there's going to be a C4 to get the down onto the planter. The Maestro cams as well are going to be used. The impact comes through to get the finish on to the planter of Yuki. And the rush does fail. Brisk takes a bit of damage. Minions seem to have been wise to it, but Hachi is wedged firmly inside of Cocktail Lounge. I don't think they know where they are. Elizard finds Vase and we're in a 3 versus 5 because Axie knows exactly where Hachi is and gets that kill. Takes his head clean off his shoulders, and we're in a 2 versus 5 scenario. The rush is dead and buried.
Yeah, such a complete difference compared to the rush that we saw on Oregon. This time his minions doing much better to counter it. Elazar getting another kill there on Anti. Just even Koala all alone on top of the red stairs. Doesn't have any single Yinkandela remaining. Does find Elazar, does take him out. No flawless round possible here for minions. But Entropy, Koala, 1 minute and 10 seconds. He needs to do it for his team to win this round, to still make the rush somewhat successful. But the 1 vs 4 is just going to be extremely difficult. He can still get a few picks. Blame is low. Person is low, has been damaged a little bit, but win seems unlikely.
Horrifying angle. Horrifying to try and challenge that. That's not something you want. There's feet angles, there's head angles, there's one on the door. There's just no chance that they were going to win that, and it gets locked off, of course. Entropy filling at the rush. Minions were wise to 4-3 on the round count on Cafe Dostoyevsky.
Yeah, I must say, at the moment, all the Entropy members managed to make their way inside of the top floor. I was like, where are the minion members? There was no one really there. Like, I mean, Cocktail Lounge was completely empty. There was someone in Freezer, but most of the people were just a bit further away. And from that moment, I thought, okay, surely this rush is going to work. They're just going to easily stick the diffuser and just get a few kills, just wait for all the chaos. Minions just keep running around again, all the chaos, and running back to the bomb site. And I was like, yeah, this is surely going to be the win. But just the Meister Cam, I think, was one of the more valuable things here. Just being able to look through the smoke, just gathering so much information, impacts being thrown to deny the plant. And from there, Entropy was inside and didn't really know what to do. And were in a very difficult position and just got picked off 1 by 1.
Yeah, it was really well played. The C4 really, let's be honest, that's what won the round.
C4 was, yeah.
Like the rest of the round was pretty great. They did counter it, but down in the planter, the blitz as well, because of course if there's anyone else that you down, you still have to contend with the aggression of a blitz, then it's a bit trickier. But they did it successfully, got rid of the blitz, and that's perhaps the easiest way to do it. I'm quite surprised that they even had the blitz on that plan anyway, considering how much coverage they had, because they had the Candelas, they had the smokes as well. So I'm surprised that they decided to leave the diffuser on the blitz, but it is what it is. They'll just chalk that one off, and they'll try and play out from the back here and see if they can get something a little bit better on this attack on towards the bakery kitchen side.
Yeah, Minions indeed here on the bottom floor bomb side. Hachi again playing there on the neck. Not the operator we've seen him play quite often today. Just trying to go for those sneaky entries. But Elazar already getting a first kill there on Anti. That's the nomad of the board. Unlikely that she placed too many of her air jabs yet. Maybe just one, I'm not sure. But it's already the nomad of the board, which is very unfortunate early on loss.
Yeah, not ideal. Can't stop the flanks, can't put pressure on, and just stop people from moving around the map. And speaking of moving around the map, look at Elazar. He is on the top floor, just collecting lives and collecting skulls as he chalks one off on this round. That is Hachi dead and buried. The knock as well, of course, with the nades gone, and that is a very good start for the defensive side of Minions.
Yeah, indeed a good start for Minions, was just 1 round away from evening things out and bringing things back to a 4 vs 4. With the Monty being left alive with Vessi and Koala on the Flores and on the Ace, things are going to be a bit difficult. It's really important that the Ace is going to be able to open up some of those walls for the attackers to make some proper entry and create some new lines of sight. Because the Monty is not too useful at this moment, unless they will be able to make their way towards the bomb site or into small corridors or something. Monty is not able to do too much at this moment.
Yeah, very difficult position to try and win this for Entropy, but Koala wants to try and take the game by the scruff of the neck, though, and Prison says, no, you're not getting anywhere near my double door, I have it on lock. The Monty is going to try and get collected alive, but he doesn't react in time. 1 vs 3, 1 vs 0. Elazar hops in from behind and gets the kill onto Vasi. Beautifully done. Elazar moving around the map at the correct times, gets quite a few kills. Perhaps a few more bullets than what they would have wanted to try and get that one, but enough to get them to even Stevens 4 each on Cafe.
Yeah, indeed, it's back to an even score of 4-4, something we already seen happening quite a few times before on the previous maps that we've played. Even scores, and this 4-4 is also something that we did see. Now there really is the question what's going to happen. I mean, Minions is doing very well on their defense. They just won 2 rounds in a row and kind of made up for their little bit poorer performance during their attack phase. So back to 2-2, having the momentum on their side. I mean, it does kind of forecast good things for Minions here.
Yeah, it does. I think that Theme Park is beckoning currently. I think it's certainly in the ether and it has potential to show up, but we'll certainly find out in the next few rounds. 4 each is where we find ourselves currently. Elazar going 10-6 after 8 rounds on this Solus now, finding the groove. Not quite the greatest half when it came to their attack, but immediately biting back with a double back-to-back rounds to even the score inside of this map. And been good so far from Minions. They're going to go to this middle site and towards Reading and Fireplace to see if they can come up with a defense and continue that momentum.
Yeah, indeed. And again, it's now just up here to the members of Entropy to just make their way towards the building. No spawn picking seems to be happening, so they can just make their way safely. And again, just the climb, the ascent, the ascent to the building starting. Just need to make their way up first, from where they can actually then eventually go for putting some pressure on the building or on the rooms and the players itself. I'll start just chilling here by the piano on the cigar lounge area. Just waiting for people to just get around him. Koala
He's
went and
yellow-pinked.
he's yellow-pinked indeed, yeah.
He's found already. Easy peasy. They knew exactly what it was, knew exactly what the plan was, and now he has to try and get himself out of the situation without dying. But goes straight out a window. He doesn't even care. Goes right for the trade. He knows that he's done for. Knows he can't escape the clutches of the attack. He goes, you know what? I'm going to try and take one of you with me. If I'm going down, you're coming down with me. It's a trade. Immediately happens. 4 each inside of a minute.
Yeah, that's what you get when you put a dangerous animal in a corner. They will attack you no matter the cost, and that's exactly what happened. So that's a 1-for-1, and both teams suffered one casualty there. It's the Ash versus the Solus. Bit of loss on both sides really, but the Ash might be a bigger one here. The round goes on. 1 minute 40 seconds remaining. Attackers are just getting a bit closer, throwing some ace charges. The nice some of the walls where defenders are hiding behind, and Hachi will kill Alex, taking out.
They have the position of where the player is on that balcony, and they will shut them down. It is brisk to fall as Vasi finds that one, but the 2 players left on side for Minions are going to try and double up on the white staircase and try and take the aggression to Entropy on this top floor. The drone comes through and gathers the information it needs, and they know they're getting aggressive here, but the swing comes through from Axie. Can he land a shot in time? He does indeed get 1 kill onto Gridlock, but can he escape the clutches of this attack? He does indeed get himself all the way down to that bottom floor. Prison as well is down there, but this vertical play is well and truly kicking up a notch to try and open up as much of this site. Axie is up against the wall here.
Yeah, with 55 seconds, attackers have plenty of time to just create those verticals to drone out those remaining 2 defenders. I mean, the Frost is so low in HP, can easily be taken out. And then there's Prison still full HP, with also 1 impact still in hand. But yeah, with this time, attackers do have some options here. They can potentially even still open up some walls. Yeah, they still do have 1 ace charge, lots of flashbangs, nades. It's going to be a very difficult round for Minions to clutch out.
Really is. However, again, only 2 to 3, so still doable. 30 seconds on the clock, still time. Prison's in a good position here because they're on the staircase. They're actually safe from the vertical play at this minute in time. The thing is, though, Axie is a little bit weak to it. However, they've managed to pop themselves out into the reading room corridor at least, and they have an angle. They're going to hear that diffuser go down, and this is the key point, though. Do they have the coverage in the swing for it in here? And they don't. Fortunately, Vasi is on the Overwatch, knew exactly where they were, and now Prison has to try and get the rotate round to deal with the vertical play before they do anything, but there's no one on the top floor. It's just a case of wasting time now for this attack as the diffuser is cooking. 30 seconds on that before we see the end of this round, but Koala is going to end the round anyway, just on kills. Deals with Prison coming down that white staircase, and Entropy are able to take the first round on this attack.
Yeah, after losing their advantage, after being made even by 4-4 by Minions, they regained their lead and put themselves back on a 5-4 advantage. 1 round away from the map point, and basically also the series point, while Minions, I mean, they only just lost 1 of their defenses. Will now have another defense. They can go back to a bomb site they have played before on, and that they managed to win before, which is Bar Cocktail Lounge. Yeah, there's a good chance that Minions will be able to come back from this and turn things back to that 5-5 score that we did see before on previous maps. Let's see how it goes. Again, the Souls just hunting those drones, being very effective, just denying that early bit of intel, which is very, yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to see.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see as a cheeky play as did the last time with Elzod. Of course, they were droned out inside of Cigar Lounge, and that meant they had to hop out the window and try and get the trade. They did get the trade at least, which was always good, so there was at least a little bit of profit from that position that they were in, trying to be a little bit sneaky with it this time. I don't think they will try to do the same thing twice. They'll try and smooth around the map a little bit more. They complimented them the round before last that they actually had a good kind of performance with it because they moved around the map and really used it to its full advantage and made sure that they really kind of fooled Entropy in their position, and that's what we want to see this time, using that Solus to see if they can come up with the goods for Minions here.
Yeah, and again, we're just in that endless cycle of attackers just taking their time to get to the building. It just takes so long. Various defenders already waiting though. Elazard is one of those. If any of the attackers would go for the repel, he will hear it, and he potentially could also check it with his scanner. He does hear repel, gets the impact out of the pocket, just waiting to turn it back and go for the run, but he picks the wrong side. Although there was a player there, but unfortunately just a little too late. Not even hitting a single bullet. Nice attempt, but sorry, nothing accomplished.
Not even any chip damage done at all, and not a single bullet connects. They are wasted in impact. Unfortunate. Good try though. Of course, that'll give away the position of where Elzard was playing, but he'll likely move around and go down towards that red staircase and likely put a little bit of a challenge onto anyone that could sneak down there. Hachi onto the repel on that ticket window, and will likely try and put some pressure towards the pixel area, of course, and there is a shield that will be there. Elzard has now made the rotate round towards the museum side and through into the fireplace, and now will likely drop to the bottom floor or perhaps take up position on that white staircase.
Yeah, attackers just making their way in. It's still 5 versus 5 with 1 minute and 45 seconds on the clock. Trying to deal with his shield, and just in time, Blame takes out the explosive drone from the floors, saving his shield a little bit longer, making sure he can stay in that position a bit longer. And gets a beautiful, beautiful one-tap headshot there on Hachi, taking him out, losing the sledge there on the side of Entropy. 4 versus 5 in the advantage of minions.
It's these two playing below, though, that are going to be crucial for this late round. Of course, you've got the Solus playing in tandem with the Mozzie of Axie together. They have the C4 in the pocket of Axie, and it will be used at some point. And I imagine there are going to be some yellow pings coming through, but Brisk doesn't even need them. He just activates the 1.5, and the gun skill comes through. Elzard with an impact onto UK, and it's a 2 versus 5 situation in favour of Minions.
Yeah, 2 versus 5 is very difficult for Entropy to clutch it out, especially with the Maestro Camp still in play. Vessi, however, does increase the chances a little by taking out Prison. It's now double the amount of defenders alive, and as Koala gets a kill on Elazard, and Vessi does do quite a bit of damage on one of the other defenders. I believe it was the Mozzie. Things seem to become a bit more plausible here for the attacking team, especially as Koala gets a kill on Axie. It's a 2 versus 2. They take out another one. It's Alex losing his life. It's all coming down to Blame here. The Lamai in the 2 versus 1. One of his opponents extremely low, but he might still be able to clutch it as the diffuser does go down. It's Vessi on the cover. Blame needs to stop this or take them out and go for the defuse, and this will be very difficult.
Yes, 40 seconds on the clock and has to try and figure it out, but doesn't even get a chance to do any of that as Koala claims the life of Brisk and takes us on to series and championship point for Entropy.
Indeed, championship point. It's Entropy, who of course already won 2 maps before and is now on good track to win this 4th map for today. 6-4. They just need to win 1 more round to end this map once and for all, this competition once and for all, to take the champion title for the 2nd time in their lifetime. But if it's up for Minions, of course, they're going to do everything in their power to win the upcoming 2 rounds to deny Minions from taking the map here and bring things to overtime.
Yep. They need this. They've got no lives left. They've got not any maps left. They have no rounds left. This is it. The pressure is firmly placed on Minions. They have to come up with the goods here. They have to bring something in. They have to get this round or it is over, and Entropy will be the winners of this season for the 2nd time in a row.
Yeah. Everything just seems to be within reach for Entropy right now. They're just 2 points ahead. They have 2 rounds to just make it happen. So even if they lose this round, they still have another chance after that one. So there must be a great feeling for Entropy, just very calming. But at the same time, 2 rounds can easily be won by Minions here. There's no room for error, at least not too much. And they just need to give everything they got, because another map is going to be very, very tiring for both of these 2 teams.
Yeah, it really is. But the pressure is here. It is extremely difficult for both of these teams now. Of course, Entropy is sitting on championship point. They know that if they win this, then they will be the champions. Whereas Minions, they need to win this just to stay in it, just to have a chance. And that could really come back to bite Entropy if they do win this. But we go to the top floor on Cafe to try and start again with this attack, and we'll see if Entropy can come up with the goods in a position where Minions were in a better scenario to win that last round, but they just couldn't convert it. And this is where it's been all day. I feel like there has just been some issue where Minions just haven't been able to connect when they needed it to. There's been a couple of bits of luck that just haven't went their way, and it's been unfortunate for them if they do win this out. Of course, Entropy have been great in their own right, but there's just been a few rounds that haven't quite went their way, and they've maybe slipped up and made a couple of mistakes here and there. But 2 minutes left on the clock, plenty of time for either team to come out on top in this round.
Lots of time. Attackers are just getting ready to just make their first entry to the building, just finding those first players. Flashbangs being thrown, likely to deal with any ADS, but Blame just finding the head of Anti, taking him out. This is again the nomad of the board. A force versus 5 is exactly what Minions needs to just extend their chances to bring things to the 6-5. At least the first step has been made. It's now 4 versus 5 situation right here. Attackers are getting further control. Twitch already being inside. And yeah, just trying to put more and more pressure. But the deployable shield is still up, and it's going to be very difficult to deal with. Ashe, she still has one of her S charges, can use that to deal with it, but the amount of flashbangs is going down. And yet, no, the shield survives.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful play from Brisk there, who's going to hear that frost trap go off and is just going to still remain patient behind the shield. He's putting a wonderful performance inside of the pixel position. Axie's going to find Koala and finish off that kill. So 2 versus 5 situation. Yuki has to get aggressive onto that main area just towards that. Another one here from Prison is Hatchy to fall. Yuki in a 1 versus 4, but the flick from Elazar, flawless round of the response. They want to stay in this map. They want to try and bring this back. They want to see theme park.
What a beautiful high IQ play there for to deal with the Flores drone. Of course, the Flores drone was in very close proximity to the shield and being activated and would have destroyed the shield, but the impact just from far enough to do enough damage to the drone, but no damage whatsoever to the shields. A beautiful way to just go save that position, save that valuable shield to play behind, and just saving the round there for Team Minions. 6-5, Minions saying, not today, not right now. There's one more round to go. If they win this one more round, it will be 6-6, and we'll be heading to overtime, which could potentially even end up into an unlimited overtime. But for now, this final round is going to be decisive.
This is the round. This is the big round. You've got Entropy with the pressure of the championship point. You've got Minions with the pressure that they could lose it, that they need to win this. They have to win this one. You know, Entropy don't. They technically don't have as much pressure because if they don't win it, it's fine, they still got another map, they still got overtime, they still got another chance to win it, whereas Minions, they are firmly up against the wall, they've got nothing left, they have to win this one, or they are going home, and we have a new, well, I'll say new, we have another season of Entropy being the champions, but I don't think that's the storyline for today. I think that we're going to see, at least overtime on this map. I think I'm begging for it.
I'm hoping to see it. I mean, a limited overtime. I mean, first of all, overtime is there for a reason. We haven't seen it yet. Would love to, even more so, to see it as an unlimited overtime, and especially if it goes to, I mean, Minions, so we can see that 5th map being played as well. We just will see it happen. First 15 seconds, attackers are just making their way towards the building, just droning, getting information. But so is Liaxiel. It's the Mozzie just using one of those hack drones to just gather information, checking to see if anyone's on the repel. I mean, so far there's no one. Later, maybe Koala could go there, but for now, no one's been found there yet.
2 minutes and 20 seconds here to decide who is going to come at the top of this series. Axie's rotated around towards Reading Room Corridor and knows that there's going to be someone looming to try and shut them down with this roam game. Of course, the bottom floor is the site. The drone just come through and does find the position of Axie, and it's just a case of following that up and see if they can finish off that player. And now Brisk, who's a great performance behind that shield in the last round, is now out in the roam here towards the Minions, or towards the mining side there. Try to say Minions. Is Vasi going to find Brisk? Not quite on the round and not quite having the impact that they had in the last round.
Yeah, 5 versus 4. Blame was taken out before. Also, the Mozzie getting damaged a little bit. I believe it could have been by the bug, but it's a 5 versus 4 right here. 1 minute 35 seconds. I think I'm just looking for some information, trying to find someone. Mozzie still playing here in Reading Room, just trying to find, or at least waiting for any attacker to come his way. In the end, drug stingers are being thrown in his direction, so the position might be known all at the same time. It could exactly not be known. He does find someone through one of the holes that have been made, does a bit of damage there on the game up, but yet still no kill made. C4 comes out, doesn't connect, and just go on and on, but no kills being made.
All the kills coming across the board here. A trade comes through, and it's actually going to be a team kill, 4 versus 2 now, as Alex and Prison have it all to do on side for Minions to keep it alive. The hopes and dreams of winning ESA Season 5. It looks as though Entropy are wanting to finish it now. They have the position. They have so much control. They have an opportunity to try and win this one out. And this final push, Alex goes for the flank round, but is caught out from the track stingers that gives away his position. They go on the hunt to try and get him as Vasi trying to get the kill, but Prison has a shotgun close Alex inside the kitchen service. He knows they're going to drop the hatch here. Alex inside of reception gets dealt with. It's a 4 versus 1. The pressure on Prison, but at the same time, Entropy have the pressure here, and it's a shotgun to the face for Enty, but it's over and out. ESA Season 5 goes to Entropy again. The pressure on them, and pressure does make diamonds. They shine brightly for the second time, and they win it. 7-5, 3-1 on maps. Season 5 champions, Entropy Gaming.
4 maps, all it took for Entropy to win this championship. No 5th map needed. Great play there from Minions to just at least do as best as they can. They got so close, especially on this last map, but unfortunately not good enough for them. It's Entropy indeed taking the title here with a beautiful play.
Yes, what a game. What a game. What a game it was. At least we got a good finish. We got a big finish. We got close. It was a bit spicier than we thought. I'm just waiting for our producer to throw it over to our cams. Hello. Hello. It's not yet updated, but we'll come through in just a second. But, of course, we do have our champions decided, but we do have a desk to break that one down. It is over and out from me and Max. I think we've had an enjoyable day, Max. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I've enjoyed myself. Absolutely. We'll see you guys in the next one, at least in our desk. We'll take over from here. Ta-da.
I am muted. I had an epic moment. I fucked it up. Whatever.
Whoa!
Let's go.
Whoa! Hang on.
We have to talk about the following. This was nothing else than a beautiful back-to-back moment that we have just witnessed. Entropy not only do it in Season 4, they do it in Season 5. And this deserves the biggest of props, the biggest of congratulations. It is amazing what we have just witnessed right here. On my side, obviously, we've just taken a look and laid back look at what just happened here with Pooble, as well as nobody else than Pasta. And you know what, I'm starting with you, Pasta. You've been, lurking in the background. You've been doing a little bit of maths here and there. Give me your thoughts on that entire series, because it looked like for a second we might get that last map skirmish, but at the end it was a convincing 3-1.
Yeah, absolutely. It was certainly a series. There were quite a few moments where we were in the green room, and I was slightly annoyed at what we saw coming through. There were a couple rounds. It's still etched in my brain on Villa, Yuki jumping out as Frost.
The Astro window, that's still replaying in my head constantly. But for the most part, there's been some fantastic kills, fantastic plays, and it's actually something interesting is the MVP of this map was actually Elizard, despite Minions losing just by far and away the highest rating with 1.3, which is wild.
It very much is wild. It very much is wild. And getting into it, we bring our good old guest in form of Pasta here. But Pooble, we've been witnessing this game throughout the last 4 maps, taking a very close look at it. What was it for you that right now decided here on this final map that we've just witnessed, what actually gave Entropy this advantage to secure and succeed over on this map number 4?
Well, I think that loss on Villa, there's 2 ways you can take that. You can either see that as a wake-up call, or that can really rattle you. And going into Cafe, it seemed like it might have rattled them. We saw Minions do quite well early on, but Entropy, they just brought that aggression, and they really just wanted to close it out. They took that loss in their stride. They didn't want to send it to a map 5, and they just came out very confident. We saw a new kind of play style. They were much more aggressive than those previous rounds, just matching that Minions style of play, and they were winning out a lot of those gunfights. It did get quite close, and that does kind of reflect the more high-risk, high-reward aspect of that play style. But Entropy, they still came out on top. They still were hitting their shots, playing objective well, and it was just really nice to see.
And I'll directly go just quickly past it, because we need to talk about then the point of the improvement from Oregon to this map. There were a lot of more gunfight situations that were leading to a lot more success.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw again just more aggression. They were a little bit. They were aggressive in Villa, but they were quite overconfident. It seemed almost like Entropy thought they'd already won, but
yeah.
This time, they were choosing that aggression in much more applicable situations. They were pushing on early and then playing much more to the clock later on. They identified their win condition changing as the round went on, and we saw that with their player positions. We saw them adapt on the fly.
Great. This was one of the most important things we talk about. It's very crucial in my eyes right here, dear Pasta, to take a look at, an MVP kind of situation. You were informing us about the kill race situation. You're informing us who's taken the most frags out of the series. How about you update us on that part and, who so far has been the best player?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the kill race, Axie did still win it, 40 kills over the series. Joe, you are delighted by that, but it was actually series MVP is Yuki, it makes a lot of sense. A 1.11 rating overall across the entire thing, 38 kills to 30 deaths overall, and a 59% cost. Just everything working out in their favor, +2 on the entry as well, and even getting 2 plants down as well, which has really helped the team. Just all in around an outstanding player, and it makes sense. Yuki is the MVP of the grand finals.
And for me personally, it seems very deserved. It seems absolutely deserved, considering what kind of frags he brought to the table, what kind of great clutch situations he brought to the table, how he assisted his team. Now, Poobel, you've been with us the entire split. Obviously, same for Pasta. Give me your, most important highlight. Give me the one thing that really left you on the edge of your seat throughout the entire split. Like, damn, I didn't expect that to happen. This was the most insane thing.
It's got to be that Villa win for Minions. It looked on paper like a map that would surely go in favor of Entropy, but Minions, they just really began to heat up on that map. They were getting their kills, getting those opening picks. It was just incredible. So we genuinely were considering in the green room that, okay, Minions have got this in the bag. The comeback is on. Then Entropy just shuts it down on Cafe.
And same for you, Pastor. What do you got ready for us?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that I thought exactly the same, because me and Joe and even Newsash, we were having that conversation, looking at it and going, this seems like it's over. These next few maps should realistically favor Minions, just with the way Villa went. But I'm a little disappointed we didn't see Theme Park. I think that's a very, very fun map. But in the end, we got traded to 4 banger maps, and it was just an outstanding showing from both teams, but great entertainment.
Right. And if we're wondering what are we actually waiting about, you should stay, because we're obviously having an interview with one of the players or the manager of the Entropy side. And I think, obviously, you want to hear the winner's perspective. Quickly, just to mention that. Wait a second. Production said something to me. Hold on. He said let's stall. Absolute trolling, literally. Either way, no, it's all good. It's all good. Getting back into things, right? I think we can go to the win condition side of Minion a little bit here, Poobel. We've been mentioning how this team pretty much all the time convinced us that their firepower can outclass their opponents. Would you say that this strategical weakness, that depth weakness, was something that actually cost them the win today in this series?
Yeah. Absolutely. We see that overall, just putting all of your investment and kills doesn't work out consistently. And if, as we saw throughout the series, if certain players don't turn up, you just lose rounds you should be winning. And we were hoping they would adapt from that. They would change. We saw glimmers of that on Villa, where they were playing for plant for time. Then Cafe, they kind of went back to their old ways, just trying to force out kills, win rounds off of getting 5 kills rather than burning down the clock or getting the plant down. Because that can just massively favour you. Even if you're in a man disadvantage, playing that clock, playing the diffuser, it puts so much pressure on the enemy team and forces them to make mistakes. And Entropy just quite frankly didn't make many mistakes this series, and which is why they won.
Yeah, and we saw round number 10 on this map specifically. It was a 2 versus 5 that Entropy won, and Koala got the plant down in that situation, and it was all down to Brisk, who, let's face it, had some brilliant openers inside of that round. They pixel angles from Pixel Spot and the bathroom over towards the cigar windows. But looking at that, it was a 2 versus 5 because they could isolate those gunfights. Their positioning was just almost perfect, and that was a change that we saw from Oregon, where they were quite often out of place and they didn't quite know where to sort of have themselves. This was a stark contrast to that, and it leads to rounds like that 2 versus 5 that we saw coming through.
I couldn't agree more. Pasta pretty much summarized that pretty much well up. It could have been a great series. It could have been all going the way of Minions, but at the end of the day, it didn't. And this is where it left us with. So with that being said, dear ladies and dear gentlemen, this has been the ESA Cup Season 5 with, if you want to say updated, if there's a season 6, how is it going to be planned, what's going to happen, you should definitely follow the socials of ESA. But till then, I want to thank everybody involved, from the production to the casters to the analysts, and obviously you viewers out there who make all of this possible. We're going to see you next time for season 6, so you better follow in. You're going to see you next time. Until then, stay safe and bye-bye.